Welcome back, everybody. My name is Alex Anthony, and today we're going to be doing Cut and Called, episode number 5. This is going to be a Lucky Lady live stream that I did not play on, so you will not be seeing me today. But I will have several other episodes in the future that I have played on. I have accumulated right now like at least 20 to 24 hours worth of footage of me playing that I have not uploaded yet, so keep an eye out for that. I will be on future episodes of this. But I really wanted to cover a lot of the casino in general and the players, and I didn't want it to be just about me. Really, like this is more about the streams and about the whole thing, and it will feature me sometimes. We'll put it that way. Yeah, I believe this game actually took place about a month ago on around July 4th. It might have actually even been the 4th of July. It's a very long stream. We actually have 16 hours worth of footage to go through today. So this will be very cut and called, as in you're going to probably see me doing multiple different recordings and just stitching it all together. So I'll probably be dressed different times and this and that. But yeah, we're going to go one video, one recording. Let's get into it. This is a Super Eddie and Bruce Lee game. I will also be skipping through and not showcasing the double board PLO bomb pot hands or the subsequent Cucaracha hands that follow. So it's going to be all two card today. So I will go around the table and talk about the players that I know about, and we'll just kind of like go from there. So in the seat number 9, we see right now we got Mom, who was featured on our last stream, I believe. They did very well, played very well, ran very well. But I've heard that they're a little more of a wild loose player, so maybe we'll see some crazy stuff from them today. Looks like Straddle from Mom, UTG. Then seat number 1, I don't know seat 1, looks like Dylan. Now this hand I actually watched already, and I don't know if Dylan's cards got read correctly. And if they did, then he's just a wild player. So Dylan raised to 35. Puerto calls, who I believe we featured at one point. I don't think we I think he came in at the very end of the last time we played. The very end. So he flats in the SB, it looks like, with the 76-0, and Mom will complete effectively out of the straddle. So going 3 ways to the flop. Also, the production is like a little spotty. Like it doesn't always show the bets, and it doesn't always like change camera angles, because there's literally one person back there doing all this. Like this really still is a bit of a work in progress. I think it goes check, check, check around on the flop. I don't see any bets go in. And now it looks like Puerto is going to lead out with his third pair gut shot on the turn. Very reasonable play. So we got to cut him a little bit of slack, is all I'm saying. Like we can't expect perfect production value from in a situation where they are very limited. Now, right here, I can't tell if Dylan is that a spade out there instead of the 6 of clubs? Because Dylan goes for a raise right here, which is just so weird. That's why I thought maybe his hand was misread. So Puerto bets looks like maybe 40 to 50. And Dylan makes it 215. So Puerto makes a pretty sticky call, I would say. Honestly, he's just like kind of trying to get there, I would guess. And then he checks in the dark. And that's just kind of indicative of my hand's like not that great. / I'm trying to get there. Pretty much what he has. But Dylan having literally just like the random nothing is so. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's very, very, very possible. It's just less likely. You don't really see this kind of thing with that type of holding. Usually there's some kind of equity, like the 6 was a spade and they missed, or something like they really just went at it raw here. If these cards are being read accurately, and Dylan's just got ace deuce of spades right now on this board with the jack diamonds river is what I believe it is, then yeah, that's crazy. So that's why I'm like, not so sure about that one. I will also be skipping through, going as fast as I possibly can just to get all of the hands in and as quick of a manner as possible. And I guess I should even go 2x speed. I was like, I wanted to go keep it at normal speed, but we're going to go 2x speed. And I will actually keep the background noise on. That's kind of one reason why I had up 1x speed, just so that the voices didn't get jumbled, but it's all good. Mom is being a gentleman at the current moment and buying everyone around and or offering to. They seem like a very nice player. Like I got to meet them briefly the other day, I think on Saturday, and they were very cordial, as they are being right now. So in this hand, I believe we saw Dylan lead out on the flop, limped pot. Limped pot, it looks like straddle. Oh no, straddle pot. Everyone completes. He checks, then bets out on the ace high flop with his. Now this ace deuce makes sense. This ace deuce is reasonable because it just is. It tracks, So bet 25, fold. I believe Mom flats here, and then we're going to go to a turn 6, which gives Mom the open-ended now instead of the gutter. It goes check, I believe. I watched a little bit of this already. Like just kind of getting ready for this actual production. Goes check, and then Mom is going to dunk out 40 on the river, get snapped off by the ace deuce from Dylan. Makes sense. Kind of looks like what it is, but also Mom could very easily have a king there. So there's kind of like, it's one of those weird runouts where your hand looks like a bluff, but you also could conceivably have the strong hand, just because like a lot of things did miss. The wheel cards did miss, the hearts did miss, the Broadway did miss if you had like Jack 10 or Queen Jack or whatever. So it's a fine spot either way. All right, big hand coming up here. Like I said, I watched a little bit of this already. So we got a raise from the 4 seat. That is going to be IGT. IGT raises. And then we get a flat from the button from Leo live streams, which I thought was a little bit interesting to kind of slow play the ace king suited here. I don't mind it. It's certainly a play that I have made and will make in the future. The thing that I don't love about this hand that actually happens right now is that Mom actually goes for a very speculative squeeze to 150 with the king 4 suited. IGT snap calls with the 8-8, and then Leo just calls as well with the ace king, which I don't love overall. I would probably like, this is like a great time to back raise jam because he doesn't have a ton behind and he is in a situation where like he kind of can't go wrong. He probably has one player dominated and he might even get the other player to fold, like maybe a small pair or something. So like they're not super deep, and IGT ends up shoving this flop when check to, and Leo then calls with the ace king suited, which it's not like bad. It's just you're kind of in a very neutral EV situation. You're not really going to be making a whole ton of money here with a call like this. So, but you'd have like enough equity though. But you do have enough equity to call, just because you got the Broadway, you got the backdoors, you got the overcards. So it is definitely possible. They run it twice and end up chopping. IGT hits straight on the first board. Leo is a king on the second board. And if you saw those percentages, they showed that they were 50-50 right there. And I actually checked, and this stream software does take into effect card removal. So when you do see the percentages, it will take into account cards that have been folded. So it's not like theoretical equity, it is actual realized equity given all the information that we have. So we're going off of like max information, whereas when you run that type of thing in a, EV calculation, you're not going to factor in the cards that were folded this one time because you never know what the cards that were folded were. So if you see the percentages on any of these streams that ever look a little like off to you, 90% of the time it's because of the dead cards that have been factored in. And then maybe 10% of the time we just didn't know our numbers as well as we thought we did. But yeah, the ace king suited there actually has about 40% equity, which instead of the 50% that it showed, which is still enough to call there. It's just not, once again, not quite as slam dunk as a call. So it looks like Phil. It looks like Phil raises with TT in first position to 25. IGT flatted. Mom 3-bet to 125. Phil calls. Mom's got the QQ, and Phil has the TT. This is actually one of the last hands that I saw when I was doing my recording, and I actually don't love this bet from Mom here. Mom's going to bet 75 into about 250. I think check is actually really cool here. So here's the main problem with this hand. We've talked about this a million times. Queen X boards favor the caller in 3-bet pots more so because they're often going to have more Queen X, like King Queen, Ace Queen, Queen Jack, Queen 10, things that just didn't want to fold but weren't good enough to 4-bet. Pretty standard. In this spot right here on this exact board of King 8 Queen, you have the range advantage on the king. Like, let's break the board down card by card. Range advantage wise, king hits you. You're going to 3-bet more of the King X, the Ace King, the King Queen suited, some of your King Queens, and then having a hand like just more Ace Kings because they're going to probably jam on you. So like really it's the Ace King that like kind of solidifies why that king on there is good for you. Now, the queen should in theory be a good card for our opponent. But in this exact instance, when we double block the queen and there's only one left available in the deck for them to call with, very few kings in their range to call with, I actually don't mind the check here. I think that Phil is going to show up with a lot of hands like maybe the only hands that we're giving a free card to are Ace 10 and Ace Jack, 4 cards for free, potentially. That's fine. That's like 10% equity tops that we're giving up. But think about all the times he has like deuces through jacks, and he either hit the set with the 8-8 and is going to bet himself, or we now let him set up on the turn, or the river. Probably the turn, because we're going to probably start betting on the turn, like, regardless of what it really is. Like, if it's a deuce, maybe we can check again, but you know what I'm saying? Like, we're usually going to start putting in some money at some point. But if we can let one of those smaller pocket pairs that he probably raised called with pre-flop, or maybe a suited ace that can then now, like, hit an ace on the turn or something, if we can let one of those hands catch up and now we can get some value out of it, that I like a lot more than just betting in this spot in a relatively decent spot to just, like, straight up take it down with our exact holding. It's kind of interesting because like when we don't have queen here, you can expect our opponent to flat us with a lot of queen X holdings when you bet 75 into 250. But when you hold queen and you block all that, it's actually much harder for them to flat even once. So I don't mind when we have that board. It doesn't look like we have it so locked up, but you really got that so locked up, bro. You really got that so locked up. I mean, especially look at stack depth too. Like homie in the 3 seat only has 2 white chips, it looks like 2 stacks of yellow. So he doesn't have anywhere near and then he's shuffling about $50 worth of chips. So he's got about 450 right now. And that pot was already 250. So no rush to getting all in. Absolutely no rush. It's easily a 2 street hand. Even if you bet 75 on the turn, you're now looking at a 150 more, 250 in the pot, now 375 left. That's just a pot size jam. So you can easily go bet turn jam river. So there's pretty much no reason to bet that flop when you're at that stack depth with that locked up of a hand. In this spot right here, it looks like Bruce Lee's with the ace, Puerto with the 7-7. So we got, sorry, this is really hard to follow, Loki. Straddle. And then raise from Bruce Lee, I assume? Okay, yep. To what, though? It's hard to see. So we'll see what Puerto puts in. Okay, so Bruce Lee raised to like 60. 50 or 60. Hard to tell. Looks like 50. Pretty small raise, my friend. Pretty small raise. I'd like to see you bump it up bigger there. Excuse me. Bruce Lee's a pretty aggressive player, so he can get away with raising bigger there. I would like to see a bigger raise. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ways. 4 ways. Gonna see bet. Once again, can't see because seat 1 is kind of like in the way. Not in the way, but like, the production is not changing the camera angle. So it looks like 130, 120, 130, 130. Turn is a jack. So Leo is the only caller, I believe, with the open-ended, and it's kind of unfortunate for them that Bruce Lee blocks all that. And then they jam. Is that? That's not Bruce Lee. They're in Bruce Lee's seat. That's not Bruce Lee though. They're in his seat, but that ain't Bruce Lee. You know what it was? Is that person right there was in the 7 seat before, whoever's there right now, and they switched into Bruce Lee's seat. So okay, that makes more sense. That play actually would have been perfectly reasonable, and no, that does make sense because I think Bruce Lee would have raised bigger pre-flop. I think he would have made it like 70 or so because it was a straddle pot, and he's out of position, and he's just like a solid aggressive player. So I feel like that would have been more his sizing. So that's like what I mean by kind of like makes sense. All right, so we've got straddle to or double straddle looks like to 20. Then so Eddie straddled, Puerto double straddled. Mom raises to 80 with the double 4s. Okay, so I forget what homie's name is in the 7 seat, but we'll figure it out. But the 2 seat, or who was in the 7 seat, I should say, because in the 7 right now is Jack. In the 2 seat right now, under Bruce Lee, looked like he was gonna call, but he didn't. Eddie jams with the 350, and then Mom's is gonna snap him off with the pocket 4. That's funny. Mom is gonna snap him off, and that is gonna be Eddie on the first. They're running it twice, it looks like. And that will be, looks like Eddie's going to scoop unless the river's a 4 on the second board. Scoop for Eddie. Winning 2 flips is very hard. That's basically a 25% chance. But it couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Shout out to Super Eddie. It's kind of funny because Eddie and Mom are friends, so it's like they don't really want to be doing this against one another. It's hard when you get to be, friendly and cordial with players because then you end up, playing a lot of pots against them that you may not want to, but just kind of like is part of the business. All right. Looks like Eddie, Puerto straddles under the gun. Dylan in the seat to the, okay, so that's Dylan in the 2 seat now because they didn't change the names yet. So Jack, no, it's Jack folded. Who called? It says cut off Dylan. So maybe 1 over. My bad. Maybe it's 1 over is Dylan who flatted, and then the 2 seat also called. Flop goes. Oh yeah, that's right. Dylan's the 1 seat. Goes check to them. Very aggressive player so far. Maybe that first hand with the ace deuce was accurate. Who knows? Super Eddie got nothing and is going to check to Dylan, who's probably going to bet and take it down because they've been playing very aggressive so far. Very aggressive so far. Nice play from Dylan. Let's keep an eye out on them. They look like someone who is looking to push the action, which is always fun. Always fun and always good to know about for if you come across that player. All right, straddle from Jack. Mom will min raise UTG with the Jack 5 offsuit, or is that a double straddle? That's probably a double straddle, knowing Mom. That makes a lot more sense. Jerry, who is, I don't know who Jerry is now. This is weird. Okay, maybe is Jerry the 2 seat, potentially? I think Jerry might be the 2 seat now. Officially, that's like their name. They got it in there. Jerry will flat with the A7-0. Phil is going to call with the Jack 8, A7 suited. Phil's going to call with the same suit of Jack 8. Everyone's in, it looks like. IGT with the Queen 8 suited, Super Eddie with the King Jack off, Puerto with the 8-5 off, and yeah, everyone's kind of called the double straddle. So Mom is going to bet out with their 2 pair. Super Eddie getting coolered. Oh no. So wait. Yeah, Mom bet, and then Super Eddie raised. So Mom bet 35 into like 140. Super Eddie then raises to 125. Reasonable. Oh, no. My bad. Phil raised to 125 with the Jack 8 suited, and then Super Eddie comes back over the top, cold 3-bet on the flop to 300. That is, okay, now in a straddled pot, with the way these guys play, like, I guess I can see that being okay. Because low-key, like, if Mom doesn't have the Jack 5 here, he's good. He's golden, And mom can definitely have non-jack 5 holdings here. He can have like flush draws. He could have also a weaker jack, maybe just like a 6-4, a 7-4 with like a single heart. Like mom could definitely bet out like that. So I don't hate this play from Super Eddie based on the way that these games have played. It's just I think that I just kind of want to preface this because at a lot of tables and a lot of settings, this is way too aggressive. This is way too much action, way too aggressive. In these games, I promise you, this is like kind of fine, kind of standard. I mean, he's only got about 320 behind, so like 600 total. The pot was already like getting up there. So SPR wise, right now on the decision point, he's got an SPR of like a little over 3, close to 4, but a little over 3. So like raise get it in is like not unreasonable on a board like this against players like this. He just happens to be up against mom, who's got the jack 5, which is like unfortunate for him. I'm sure he's not going to fold, and he's just going to kind of get shaboinked. He's going to get shaboinked by moms. Is what it is. So Phil thinks better of the situation, and then Eddie realizes that he's literally just been 4-bet on the flop, and it kind of is what it is. If he has a big draw, then he knows he's going to go with it, and he also knows that he has some man. If he had King of Hearts instead, that would be way easier. Did they chop it up? Eddie hit the king on the first one. Wow. Lucky. Nice answer. I'm not sure what they're talking about right now. Mom says, I apologize, wasn't intentional. I think maybe, just like the way that he looked like, he might have looked like he was only calling when he jammed. That's the only thing I can think of, because like I saw it said mom went all in, I thought he was just calling, because like watch this action here. Like when Eddie raises, mom like kind of puts out chips and then like maybe says all in. Let's just watch real quick to see. Oh, no, he says all in. I don't know what he could possibly be apologizing for. Interesting. I think Eddie asked him, do you have 2 pairs? And mom said no. Interesting. So this is why I'm saying like Eddie and mom are friends. Eddie said, do you have 2 pair? And mom said no. And then he said, okay, I do have 2 pair. Interesting. So like basically this is live poker, y'all. This is I don't want to say the politics of it, but when you establish certain relationships with players, it's almost like a truce. It's like, hey man, I'm not coming after you unnecessarily. That's effectively what Eddie is trying to say to mom right here. He's saying, I'm not coming after you unnecessarily. Do you have a big draw or basically he said, do you have me beat or do you have a big draw? When he asked, do you have a set? Do you have 2 pair? When mom said he doesn't have 2 pair and he doesn't have a set, he's basically saying, I have a big draw. Eddie took him at word value. Mom was playing poker, both reasonable takes. But if you want to establish that type of trust with someone, then you don't lie to them. If you don't want to establish that kind of trust with them and you want to just like play poker, then you do whatever the hell you want. So it's really more of like, what do you value more, the person or the poker? And that's a decision you have to make yourself. You can vary here. I'm gonna keep playing here just because I don't want to. There's a big hand going on, and we'll let the hand play out. Wow, Phil flops the set, but nothing to really get him paid off on. Well, Dylan's a very aggressive player. Holy sh! Oh Jesus! Wow, Dylan's a very aggressive player. Let's get back to that politic thing in a second. This hand's way more interesting. Those are both interesting concepts. But so we got, what was the raise? It was raise 20, 3-bet to from Dylan to 90. Phil with the cold call. This all tracks. And then Leo is going to overcall, it looks like, with the 9-9. Beautiful. And then flop comes J5-2. That's a familiar flop. We'll get to that at some point. Y'all see. It's a beautiful flop. Love that flop. Wow, top set with that flop. This is an interesting spot, y'all. Remember this hand. The person with Jack called before the flop. They flop top set. The flop is Jack 5 deuce. And the person who was the 3-better pre-flop makes an egregious overbet all in on the flop. Remember this hand. This is going to come up in like 20, 30 episodes later, I promise you. And it's a funny one. It's just interesting that the dynamics are so similar. I mean, effectively, they're really just betting like 300-400, which is like around what's in the pot. But they, wow. And Dylan even goes runner, aces and isn't good. Goes runner, aces and isn't good. But yeah, that jam on the flop is just so aggressive. But Dylan is a very aggressive player, as we've seen so far. At first, I thought Jack was like stunned, but then they're yawning. Like I look over here at this point, and I'm like, oh my God, their jaws on the ground. So yeah, getting back to the interpersonality of live poker, there's so many ways where you can like battle somebody. You can like 3-bet them a lot. You can check raise them a lot. You can never show them your hand. You can do everything that's like aggressive and badly, or you can do the exact opposite. You can like kind of play passive against them. You can limp more when it's their big blind. You can limp more when it's their strat, like over limp. I usually mean like you can raise smaller when it's theirs. Like you don't have to bomb it. Like you can make it like 2x or 2.5x. You can treat certain people at the table better than other people without, cheating effectively. Like soft play is one way to word it, but it's really more of like, picking your fights. It's almost like which bear do I want to aggravate and which ones do I want to keep friendly. So like, do I think that this person's going to go wild crazy, or do I think I can gain more from civility? And you guys will see, also keep that in mind too. There's many times where I have personally benefited from someone being just nice. There's remember this for several future episodes as well, but I get into several hands with people. One in particular I'm thinking about right now where I get bailed out. They basically make a huge, I'll say remember this part, and then I'll say it again when the hand comes up. This is the part I was talking about. But they bet huge on me when they have me ultra coolered. Like basically it's like they river a boat with the same card that I river the nut flush on, but they bet like 3 to 4x pot and basically tell me like, hey bro, I got it. So if you suck, call. But I'm telling you I got it. And like we were cool, we're friendly, like they got my number, we're chill. And I'm like, all right, I believe you. And I folded and they had it. So it's just kind of like, it's the benefit that you can get. And I've talked about this story too on my other channel, and I mentioned this several times. Like, there was one hand where I literally saved like a $1,400 stack because a guy was just nice. He's like, bro, I don't want to take your money. You've been kind. I got, basically he had aces pre and I had ace king suited, and it was button versus small blind. And I was ready to jam on him. We'll put it that way. He's like, dude, I don't want your money. I don't want your cash. And I'm like, okay. So these like relationships that you can form can be valuable. There's just certain players who you're going to have to, and now once again, we're not not like betting the nuts against them. I mean, sometimes you'll even see these players do that. They will not bet the nuts against each other because they're just like that good of friends. I'm pretty much not that good of friends with anybody. I'm gonna be betting the nuts against anybody. But like I mentioned before, maybe if it's like my good friend and they're getting crushed that day, maybe I will size down a little bit. I try to do things to show two things: that I'm not there for every single nickel and dime to try to squeeze it out of the community. I feel like that's very greedy and very like selfish and stingy, and you don't want to give off that kind of energy. But at the same time, I'm here to make my money, and I am a poker player. I'm a for-profit player. I'm an advantage player, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And I'm here to take your money. I'm not here to skin the sheep. I'm here to get some wool and go on home. I understand that pigs get fed and hogs get slaughtered, and I am just trying to get fed. That's it. I'm just trying to eat a little. I'm just trying to roll up, eat a little, leave, come back, do it again, and leave enough on the bone for anyone else that comes by, and or so that people don't feel like they're being just completely crushed. And I'm not saying that I have like some incredible ability that I can like just turn it on and I can just start crushing people. What I'm saying is when I'm in a position of advantage, I don't always have to push it to the 100% maximum advantage. I'm okay with taking 95%. I'm okay with taking 90% and leaving a little bit of 5 to 10% goodwill on the table that will then in the future potentially pay off dividends to multiple people. You leave 10% equity on the table one time, you may get that advantage, that 10% back from 4 or 5 different people. So you get back 40, 50% equity because you've just happened to be kind to the right people at the right time, or people have seen you be kind or generous. Like, take a look at Eddie right now, his little good luck charm in his hand. Where do you think he got that from? Where do you think he got that little good luck panda from? Exactly. It's these little things, You never know when a little good luck panda is going to earn you some goodwill. Honestly, and even right now, like, let's just talk about this. I've been invited to Super Eddie's game on this Wednesday, and Bruce Lee asked if I wanted to come by on Saturday as well. So like by just being nice to people, I'm being chill and such, but just getting the invites to the games that are not public, that's a plus. That's a benefit. Now I get to play in literally situations that not everybody gets to play in. That's a very kind privilege to be privy to. So I am a huge advocate of just doing what you can to kind of like grease that social wheel that kind of just keeps this whole thing going. All right, Jack raises and takes it down, it looks like. Oh no, Dylan's going to call. Dylan is a gambler, bro. Flatting with the 52 off. They don't call pre-flop trying to hit, I'm sure. They call with ill intentions post-flop. So they check. Jerry's going to bet. Jack will probably flat, like just float. Oh, he raises. Wow. And Dylan just snap calls. Dylan's like, yeah, whatever. I call. Very interesting. So I think Dylan is actually now trying to hit against a better hand. Because Jack's representing aces, kings, queens, ace 10 at the weakest, basically. And, king 10 maybe, queen 10, like a solid 10 at the weakest. So Dylan may actually be trying to hit against that. Really? He's going to lead out. So weird, bro. He gets the best hand to fold on the flop, but bro, Jack is representing those hands. So he really read. That was like almost massive. Like if Dylan knew what was going on right there, that was very masterfully played, bro. He got what's the guy's name? Jerry to fold the best hand, and then bluff Dylan off of and then bluff Jack off of potential overcards because he knows that overcards are more likely than the 30 combos of overpairs. Like, tens plus is only 30 combos. That's not a lot of combos. You can get 30 combos with just your your ace king and ace queens. That's 32 combos right there. So if he puts them on just overcards with any other bluffs in there at all, then that's an incredible play, man. Like, this Dylan guy has some chops. We'll say he's got some chops. He's got a lot of really cool moves that I bet work very well for him. He's the kind of guy who would build up a stack when no one's getting the nuts, like when no one has like the top sets, and in that spot, like, when no one has the top pair, he's just going to stack pot after pot after pot. It's a very impressive style. It's something that I hope to be better at myself in the future. I'll put it that way, because I'm such a standard, taggy kind of player when I'm in a lot of these games. Like, I don't really pull a whole ton of moves that are, you'll see a few that are a little weird, that aren't, the worst in the world, but aren't the best in the world. No, they're closer to good than they are to bad, I would say. But I do some non-standard stuff in some of the streams that you'll see me play. But yeah, it's like, I just don't get super out of line because historically, I just get paid off, bro. I just get paid, man. So it's easier to just value bet thin. I mean, my entire online club dub low limit strategy has been based off of value betting thin, so thin that I am sometimes owning myself. And I do translate that to live as often as I can as well. So a little bit of a crazy situation here. I think we're going to cover this hand, and then I'm going to have to cut this recording. I actually do have to go, but I wanted to get this stream started and going. So let's see what we had here. We got, is this button straddle? I think it's button straddle. Yeah, mom straddles from the button 100. I'm like, how did this pocket so crazy? Super Eddie flats with the 95 suited, which I don't love because like these hands usually get crazy. Someone who gets like an ace, a pocket pair, it's usually all in because now the SPR goes from, reasonable to unreasonable. It goes from deep to short immediately. It's basically almost like a tournament in a way. Just because the stacks are so like 10, like 5 to 20 BB. So Eddie decides to go all in with the 95 suited, which I don't recommend you guys doing, but he just wants to gamble, have some fun. Puerto looks like he may also want to gamble, have some fun. He called the hundo, and now he's being faced with a full stack decision, basically, because mom's got him covered and everyone's kind of all in. It looks like it's just so very clearly an all-in situation. So does Puerto want to risk his stack right now is what he's deciding. Let's skip ahead and see. He does. Leo is all in, and then mom, of course, with the 56 suited is going to gamble. And yeah, it's actually, Leo's got pretty crazy equity here. 43% four ways is like absurd. Please only go once, guys. Just go once. Wow, dude, no way. No actual way. No way. A four-way chop because of the four-way all-in? Are they really running it twice? Don't run. Y'all are... Dude, they're making the dealer do this. Y'all are actually insane. Y'all are actually insane making the dealer chop this and figure this out. All right, so we're going to let the dealer figure this out. We're going to skip ahead 17 minutes. Guys, if you're ever in this situation, please just say once. Please just say once, bro. Because, like, the little equity difference, man, it's just nothing. It's nothing. Just rebuy if you lose. And then the dealers have to split it so many ways. There's, like, no difference. Look at how long this is taking for them to figure that out. If you're at the table, it's like your time to go get up and take a bathroom break. Plus the dealer change, that's an actual 10-minute delay. That's an actual 10-minute delay. So we're going to end this one right here. They're going to play Cucaracha and Bomb Pot. That's why I'm like skipping ahead right now. So when we get back, we have about 10 hours left of this recording and then another 4 hours left of this exact stream. So still 15 hours left to go. That's all for this current moment, but we will be back. It'll take you guys 0 seconds and I'll be back in a few hours. Welcome back, everybody. I know it's been only a moment for you guys, but it's been a full day for me. Went and saw the Odyssey yesterday. It was pretty sick. But it looks like Bruce Lee is going to be coming in for Eddie's seat and things are going to be switching up a little bit. So let me try and get a few more, hours chipped off of this today before we go play on the live stream tonight. All right, so we've got a pretty full set of hands right here. Puerto with the single straddle, Leo with the double straddle, and then mom will flat UTG hijack now with the hijack, but UTG now with the $20 with the ace 8 offsuit. Then you got Dylan with the jack 10 offsuit, Jared the king queen offsuit, Bruce Lee with the pocket nines, IGT with the king jack offsuit. So you got like 6 ways here, and IGT is going to actually kind of be a little bit of a spoil sport and just jam all in, no post flop for these guys. That's perfectly fine way to play your hand. I'm just saying it's whenever you have a hand like say the ace 8 suited, you usually, or even like Bruce Lee's pocket nines, like you usually like to see the pop be like a little bit smaller. Although for Bruce Lee's hand, it's actually kind of nice because you want it to either be much bigger or much smaller. You want the SPR to be like 1, or you want it to be like 15 to 20 so that you can like hit a set and then double up. But having it be like where your pocket pair just has inherent value, that's always nice. So Bruce Lee's sitting in, getting a nice queen high flop for him. Does not connect with anyone's overcards. There were 3 overcards against him, and they all whiffed. So it looks like Bruce Lee is going to get a... Is he going to get a double, or do they run it twice and they chopped? I think I heard the word chop. Looks like the dealer is chopping it up. All right, straddle from Jack, folding around. Dylan in the HJ is going to raise it up to $40, continuing with their extreme aggression so far. Dylan in the 1 seat has been pretty much the most aggressive player at this table so far. Bruce Lee and IGT are going to call it their King Queen and 10-8 suiteds. Checking over to Dylan though, and he is going to c-bet a King 8-4 monotone in clubs with 1 club. That's like his only out right now. Bruce Lee with the top pair, good kicker. How will this play out? Dylan's very aggressive, so he's going to probably keep betting. Bruce Lee's going to probably call down because he's... Oh, yeah, I was going to say, I thought I saw him falling. For a second when he took his little thing off, I thought he was going to fold, but no, he is an extremely aggressive player. They just went once, and he hit the club on the river? Wow. Wow. Double barrel, calls it off, and gets there. Dylan, incredibly aggressive and very lucky. Incredibly aggressive. I was actually thinking about their play a little bit in terms... Mom put the mic over there and said, what's it like being that lucky, I think. That's funny. But yeah, even though Dylan was very lucky that hand, I was actually thinking about people like him between yesterday's stream and today just because of the content that we reviewed. And they actually are very successful, people like him, in live because they kind of just don't give a shit. They really don't. They're going to go after like any weakness that they sense whatsoever. And truth be told, there's just a lot of weak holdings in 2-card poker that they're going to be able to take advantage of. So even though people like Dylan can be very reckless, there's 2 things. 1, they get people to fold a lot. A lot. So they're going to just pick up a ton of pots. And then 2, they get to realize their equity more than the average player. You saw that they had the 5-deuce offsuit right there. Not many people are going to get all in, go to the river with the 5-deuce offsuit when on those rare times when it turns out to be the best hand and just happen to, get there. But if you're playing aggressively, you bet the turn, then you called the all in, you're just going to see more river cards. You're going to realize your equity more often. So that makes them very hard to play against, very hard to win against. You just have to kind of like get good hands against a person like that and or be willing to call them down much, much lighter. So the variance is going to increase. And then the times when they actually start piling on good hands, like have good hand after good hand, they can go on some pretty crazy runs. So they can go on runs several ways. They can go on runs when they're running hot. They can go on runs when everyone's folding. They can go on runs when they're just getting lucky with like suck out lucky kind of, when I say running hot, I mean like you get aces, they get kings. But then you can get lucky like he just got like 5-deuce offsuit versus the 9-9 on the, you get 3 clubs and you get another club, bet, and you just happen to get there in the end. Like that's a different kind of lucky in my opinion than kind of running hot. That's more like, you're taking your unfair share of equity at that point. And then when you have the additional fold equity, like those little 3 things, like that can be very profitable. So keep an eye out for them. And I'm always interested to watch people like that play, because it just kind of shows you like what you're allowed to get away with in a live setting, which plays so much more further from an actual GTO type world than like as far as possible, basically. When we play online, even on Club Dub, sometimes like you get into situations that are like relatively close to like what could possibly be happening in solver world. In live poker, it's really, really hard because the solvers, like, they don't really attribute for a lot of the factors that we have. Like even simple things like how someone looks at their cards and like what frequency they might do this or that with, a strong hand or a weak hand, any of that kind of stuff. But then you get into the side games, then you get into the depth, then you get into the multiple straddles. There's a lot of things that like just aren't solver figured out right now. So this is like one of the least solved forms of 2-card poker, is like with all this kind of extra stuff going on too, like with the bounty game. I think right now they might have actually I don't think they have the 7-deuce going right now, but those types of variables always can, they can make things go from normal poker to wild very quickly. All right, they got a say hi to Zoe, everybody. She wanted to join the production. She said, my belly hurts and I want to be up with you. So she's going to be up with us for a little while. But yeah, they're going to do a cucaracha and bomb pot. So we're going to skip through that on the dealer chain. I just have no interest in trying to follow. The action can be very tough to follow normally. It looks like they're actually picking up pretty decently here, but we have so much to get through with this stream in particular that we're going to omit these hands today. If it's a short stream in the future, we'll do the side little extra games and hands. But for right now, we're going to stick to just the 2-card hands. So Dylan straddles a 10 from UTG, and it looks like it's just going to get kind of called around. 7-3 suited, 6-6, A7 off. No one's really got anything. Is Dylan going to put in a big raise free? He puts in a sizable raise. Not that big, honestly. He just makes it to 60 from out of position. Thins out the field a little bit. Puerto is going to jam his A7 offsuit. And does Dylan snap call? Dylan snap calls with the Queen 8 high. Dylan snap calls. So he's just there to gamble, too, it seems like, Wow, bro. Oh my god, dude. And then Puerto then gets there. Crazy. Crazy. The poker gods were doing everything they could. Wait, I'm sorry, what just happened? Are we reading this wrong? Oh, that was a king on the river? Wow, that was a king on the river. So he actually did get there. The poker god. I was gonna say the poker gods were doing everything to give it to Dylan, and they took it right back. But no, they gave it. They're giving it all to him right now. They gave him the 5 deuce offsuit. They gave him this on the turn. That's wild. And then at least Puerto wasn't reading it like that, like I was. That'd be a heartbreak if you see it. So it's an ace. Cool. Oh wait, no, it's actually a king. Oh wait, no, it's actually a king. Dylan playing extremely aggressive, a little reckless, but running very good and playing pretty good too. They are, for all intents and purposes, great action. You cannot say that they're not good action. All right, so we got some real hands up in here between Phil, Jack, Mom. Let's see how this action goes down. So IGT raises UTG to, or +2, sorry, +2 to with the 98 offsuit. Puerto calls. Jack is going to 3-bet to Buck 50. It's going to fold around, probably going to fold around and fold, low-key, if I had to guess. Just because both IGT is solid and Puerto is not bad enough to call him down with the king 7 off. Like, maybe if he gets super tilted, I don't know how they play, honestly. I've only watched them for maybe a couple hours total, but I don't picture them being like that. Like, maybe a little loose, a little splashy, but not like just gonna, because they just rebought too. So when someone just rebuys, expect them to play like a little bit more reasonable, unless of course they have that tilt in them from having had just lost a pot. All right, no straddle on this hand. It's gonna fold around to probably Jerry, who'll put in the raise, and then Phil will either come back over the top or call. Did Jerry just open jam? Wait. What just happened here? Puerto raised to 115 with the 5-2-0? Is there a 5 deuce game going? 115 with the 5 deuce. Oh, okay. And so Jerry chips it in over that. That makes sense. I don't know what the hell I was seeing there. Phil's probably going to fold now, if I had to guess. Maybe. I think I can see call, I can see fold, but like it's just kind of like rough to have to that huge raise in front of you. They probably don't think it's 5 deuce offsuit. Then they've got someone who jams as well. Like they could easily be behind ace king, queen queen, king king, ace ace. They do fold the ace queen. That makes sense. And then the 5 deuce offsuit is considering it now. Like I was just saying how I didn't think Puerto was like crazy, but maybe they are crazy. Who knows? Because to open to 115 with 5 deuce off and then to consider calling for like 4x more basically is pretty crazy. And when people are in this exact moment right now, I would love to know what he's thinking about. Like, is he thinking, do I want to gamble? Or is he thinking, what does he have? Because, like, does it really matter at the end of the day? Is he trying to put him on ace high and see if he has more equity? Or is he trying to see if he has maybe a bigger pair and he has, like, really no equity? I would love to know what they're considering there in those moments. Straddle from Bruce Lee, and then re-straddle from Puerto, who picks up the 8-8. Then Leo live streams from first to act is going to have the deuce-deuce. They're just going to call. Dylan will raise aggressively on the button with the queen 8 offsuit. And then if I had to guess, Puerto, in the straddle now, probably just going to jam, right? He flats. Okay. I don't like flat. I think jam is better against someone like Dylan who's like raising a ton. You can probably just get them to fold a lot right now, or not. Sorry. You can probably just get it in good a lot. I'm sorry. A lot of people like Dylan would probably, who are aggressive would fold, but they may actually not fold to Puerto because Puerto's only got like 400 total, like 500 total to start the hand basically. So they just called off with queen 8 offsuit to them. So yeah. Big bet on the turn. Dylan is such an aggressive player, bro. Puerto flats and has his hand making it look like he's ready to just call the all in. And then he shows the 8-8. That was really actually very watch this again by Puerto. It's actually kind of astute. And he's doing a bit of a reverse tell where he's like, bro, I don't really want you to shove, but I'm gonna call. He probably would have called anyway, honestly, like based on his mannerisms. But he's really preventing his opponent from putting him in a tougher spot right now. Like just like the way his hands are on his chips, he's like, yeah, you're gonna go all in, I'm gonna call. Let's go hurry up. I'm tilted, yada yada. And that induces the check back, which is in fact what Puerto does want. He does not want this guy to shove on him, with the ace out there, with the 10 out there. There are some draws that brick, so I guess I could see, a world in which he maybe does want to get a few more. He actually genuinely is ready to call it off. And once again, I do think he probably would call it off right there, but I did actually really like the way he kind of, he made the situation a little bit safer for himself by looking so ready to call, I would say. All right, straddle from Puerto. Jerry is going to raise on the button to 40, fold around, and take it down. Straddle from Jack, raise from Tamam, 3-bet from Dylan, just a 3x with the 10-9-0. a cute little 3-bet. And I don't mean that in any disrespectful way either. And I truly mean that because I think that his once again his style is very good. And the cute aspect of it is that it's going to help show him two things. It does two things. It clears out the field really well because people just don't want to cold call 60. They see a 3-bet, they think stronger range automatically, so they just don't want to flat call that. So you're going to get a lot of people to fold. You're also going to get the PFR to tell you pretty much exactly where you are at in the hand. Well, let me rephrase. They're going to tell you where their range lies. Is it one of these uncapped, really strong hands that has aces, kings, ace, queen in it still? Or are they just going to flat represent like suited ace, suited connectors, medium pocket pairs, Broadway, suited and unsuited, and like that type of hand that can maybe be bluffed off on a future street. Jack might cold call with a 6-6 actually. He does. Wow, dang, this is crazy because Dylan and Jerry are both feeling like, yep, I got the nuts. Especially the way that Dylan's been playing. I'm sure they feel like they're nutted right now. And then Dylan bets, Jerry raises, Dylan jams, and they both have the same hand. Chop it up. If I see this correctly, it looks like seat 4 is straddling effectively their entire stack for the $100 straddle on the button IGT. They've got $16 behind. They are basically all in blind. Mom is going to stick it in and gamble with them with the 10-7 suited. Phil with the ace-7 offsuit only has $600 and he folds, bro. That's probably a jam. Like, and I know I can see the cards. Obviously, I can see the cards. But so C4's got a random hand. You're crushing that. Mom is not the most, tight player. Like, they're willing to call with hands that are a little ridiculous sometimes. So, like, I could see them calling here with a suited connector with a pair much smaller than your 7 itself. So when you do get called here after you jam by Mom, I think that you could still even be flipping some percentage of the time. You might even be good with if they had like a good king, a queen jack suited type hand, they might not even fold. So I like to just jam it in here as Phil. You effectively are starting this hand with 6 BB because when it's a $100 straddle, like the SPR will just drop like that in that regard. And IGT somehow gets it in dominated when Phil could have gotten it in dominating Mom, which is kind of funny. We're going to run it twice, which is their choice. I'm just going to probably skip ahead because when people run it twice on small pots, I find that to be a little like silly, Like I think people are people use like the size of the pot as like a reason to run it twice, but I use it as like the opposite. The pot's super small. I feel like running it twice is like kind of silly, but some people, they're like, it's a small pot, we can just run it twice. It's like, okay, but it's their money, they do what they want. I do usually also like, I don't really care about the size of the pot per se. I will often let the person who I get all in with decide. Like that's just typically the way I go. My real standard is I will let the person decide unless I know I'm way behind. If say like I jam on a bluff and they call, then I'm saying just once, because I truthfully, and this may be like wrong, but it doesn't make a big difference. I just want to like reduce the amount of time that I have to sit there with the worst hand, like knowing that I'm going to basically lose. I don't feel the need to stretch the whole thing out. So this is a pretty big situation. So double straddle. Okay, Dylan double straddles. Jerry opens suited ace deuce. Bruce Lee flats. Jack 3-bets to 3 hundo and is going to take it down. A lot of good playable hands here. We got Jack with the ace king, Leo with the king jack, Mom with the king jack, Dylan with the ace 9 off in the straddle too, and IGT is going to jam it up with the ace 7-0. They're going to get snapped off by Jack's ace king. Hopefully they run it once, and IGT lost, and they bounced. Puerto is going to switch into the 4 seat. All right, Mom with the ace. Super funny, bro. He's talking about gambling too, and like how much he likes to gamble. Right now, leading up to this, I think some of it probably got cut off because I'm editing. And then he picks up aces and he just says, "Gamble, gamble. I like to gamble." Dylan's gonna call with the jack high, man. The jack 6 off. Mom checks, knowing that Dylan can't resist. Dylan puts out a bet with their with their bottom pair. Mom jams it in their face, and Dylan wisely folds. Now, I honestly would just prefer to check call down with Mom's hand and Mom's situation. I think that that's generally going to be your best play, just because Dylan's such an aggressive player. Like, they're probably going to blindly fire it in against you. Like, they have a hand with showdown value that can just check down easily, Looks like Jose is coming in on the 6th seat. I like Jose. He's a nice guy. I played a lot with him at the 2-3 non-stream game up in the, regular kind of section. So even though this is the first time that we've seen him on stream, I've played many, many hours with him. Very loose. Actually, no, maybe we have seen him on stream once before. Maybe we've seen him on stream once before. But he is very loose, pretty passive, lots of limping, lots of calling. Not the most aggressive kind of jamming type player unless his stack gets down to that kind of like how where IGT was, where he's kind of like jamming whatever at that point. All right, Puerto with the raise to 55. A couple of limps in front of him. And now it is on Mom, who they called? Mom called with a 10-4 off. And Puerto is going to sorry, Dylan, then 3 bets with the Robbie, and Puerto's gonna call. Is that what I'm saying? Because at first I thought I saw Puerto just jamming it in there. Did he jam it in over Dylan's raise? Because the camera's not showing anything. Okay, no, they're playing post flop. They're playing post flop. I guess check on the flop maybe. Flush draw for Puerto. Dylan is sick of blasting off, and he doesn't want to get snapped by Puerto, who's kind of a sticky player. Now they're just showing the board. Okay, what's going on here, guys? What's the action? Looks like Dylan bets huge on the turn. Puerto to decide. Dylan betting about 200 to 300. I cannot tell how this pot got so big. Okay, maybe there was a bet on the flop and a call, but like once again, they were not showing us the camera angle. So I think what's his name? I think Dylan jammed the river. Puerto called with the pair of 9s. I think that's what I saw. Very interesting hand that we didn't get to like get all the information from, but I basically am pretty sure I saw basically like, Puerto raised pre, Dylan 3-bet. Puerto probably check called the flop, then probably check called the turn, then probably check called the river if I had to guess. Or maybe they called in position, but either way they I think they just flatted on all 3 streets post flop and just got there. Dylan now severely handicapped in their stack size. A player like them, very good, but you know, they are going to go on streaks. They're going to go on streaks. They're going to have a mountain of chips, and then they're going to maybe need to even rebuy after having that mountain. Same thing with a player like Puerto, who is just in a lot of hands. You know, when you're in a lot of hands and you're realizing your equity a lot, you're going to go on big runs, and you're going to go on time after time where you're just kind of like rebuy. So these guys are certainly riding the wave. Looks like an open to 40 from Jack with the Queen 10 suited, and then Mom is going to put an aggressive 3-bet, but not very big though. Like the hand that they chose is aggressive, but the sizing that they chose was relatively tame. About a pot-sized raise, maybe even slightly smaller. Flop goes check bet because Mom got that open-ended straight draw, which is very nice to have in a 3-bet pot like this. Did Puerto cold call pre? What am I saying here, dude? Is there something here with 5 deuce? I'm pretty sure it's the second time we've seen Puerto play 5 deuce. First time it was offsuit. Second time it was suited. I think. But yeah, something going on with 5 deuce right now. So check, bet. I think this is gonna. I was gonna say get through for Jack, but I guess yeah, Puerto's coming along with the bottom pair. Wow, extremely aggressive if he does. Extremely aggressive. Oh, he does have the 1 button, but still, just one. Very, very aggressive play. And he turns 2 pair. Wow, this is gonna be all in. Look at the smile on Puerto's face. He's got a big smile going right now. Mom puts out the 250, and I think Puerto's just gonna probably jam on him. Bro. Although Puerto's a very passive player, like they really don't put the aggression on very often. So like they might make an unfavorable call. Like they're getting the jamming chips ready, bro. But you gotta put in the jam, Puerto. You gotta put in the jam, dude. He's towing that line. So there you go. He's towing that line of like when he counts his chips out, it looks like he's calling low key. But this betting line that we have at Lucky Lady is not a real betting line, dude. It's honestly not. It is not a real betting line. As in like if you cross it, you're not like locked. It's really more of like it's there for just for the sake of being there. I think Mom might actually fold here to the jam, not being as crazy gamble as they wanted to portray themselves as, but they're really just worried right now if they're drawing completely dead. If he saw Puerto's hand, he might actually call. If he saw Puerto's hand, but I think that he was just really worried. I mean, only the 6 high on the heart, very reasonable. I think he was trying to. They say something about 5 deuce offsuit, so maybe there's a bounty game going on for 5 deuce offsuit. All right, so Leo with the 45 looks like 35. Okay. Raise. Mom's gonna flat with the Queen 5 suited. Dylan will. Wow. I mean, Dylan just went from 2K to down to nothing, bro. I can't say that like they didn't show us some very impressive stuff, but yes, their reckless style came back to get them. But I'm also kind of surprised they didn't rebuy. You know, maybe they're just like a complete ride the wave type player where they're like, I'm gonna take my short stack and build it back up, and I'm only gonna rebuy when I bust. Which is just, I mean, nothing about how they play is how I play, so I shouldn't really be surprised. For me, it just feels like awful because like live poker moves so slow, especially like to have any less than the max buy-in feels bad, and to have any less than like we've talked about this, but like I'll get like as low as maybe like 20% sub the max buy-in is like the biggest number before I absolutely have to reload, or to probably just coloring up if I had to guess. Leo ended up folding. Dylan had the king on the flop, and mom gambled with him to get there. And Dylan is now going to ride that wave from 143, probably up to like 400 or so. Oh, it looks like they also reloaded now, so they're at 900 to start this hand. Phil with the QQ up top. Puerto with the 77. So Jack raised with 10-10 actually to start off. I didn't even see that. Call, 3-bet, call. Jack's going to probably call as well. Dylan will probably call because he's super aggressive. Wow, Dylan is thinking better of things. Dylan an hour ago would not have folded that ace-8 offsuit right there. But he does realize how difficult it'll be to maneuver post-flop. Oh boy. Jack with the set on the flop. Phil is not going to give... Puerto, are you really going to call on this flop, bro? Just fold, dude. I love an action player, but man, even I'm rooting for them sometimes. Just like, be reasonable, dude. He's got backdoor straight, backdoor straight, and set outs, and that's it. Did he just jam on him? Oh, okay. He's only got 500. Good bet, I guess. I mean, you can probably bet a little smaller and just get it all in on the river. It's still a pretty dry board, and you're up against a really loose player. But yeah, I don't mind just jamming there either. It's not like it's like a terrible play. We come in with Jose getting ace-ace from the 5. Jack raised from UTG. Dylan 3-bet from, late position. I can't really tell exactly the position where the button is. But then the interesting part about this hand is Jose cold calls the 3-bet, allowing Jack to come along over the top and cold call as well. And then I actually don't really love how Jose plays this hand. Is he just kind of jams all in on the flop. For some reason, I don't think he knows exactly how aggressive Dylan is. If he's been like here watching Dylan, then I think he probably would have checked and tried to let him bluff at it. But this is a great spot to just kind of check down and let the person who 3-bet you like just keep bluffing, even if you don't really know them necessarily. So didn't love this play from Jose. Dylan ends up folding, and then we move on to the next one. Got a double straddle here from Dylan with the ace-jack offsuit. Actually, spoiler alert, I'm just going to kind of plow through some of these hands because I know that the outcome and they're not even super interesting, but it just, few calls, Dylan jams, everyone folds. Really nothing super interesting there. This one was a little bit wild, just showing the good luck. So I think it goes straddle, double straddle from Dylan. Then Jose calls. Leo raises to 150 with the ace king. Mom cold calls. Jose calls. They get multiple waves post flop. Mom flops the 10. They run it twice, and then there's a little confusion, but Mom ends up scooping with the 10-5 suited, which is just super lucky. We've seen some excellent run good from Mom in this stream. This hand, you got Bruce Lee going to raise up with the ace jack offsuit over a limp and a $10 straddle. Jack will 3-bet to 200, and then Dylan is going to actually cold call the ace-7 offsuit here, and Bruce Lee will jam his ace-jack off over all of that, kind of like locking the pot in a way. So it's a bit unfortunate that Jack isn't really able to like c-bet/defend, because then like the aces kind of gets there, and you know, Bruce gets there, Dylan gets there, Dylan ends up losing, and Bruce Lee scoops the pot with his better kicker. Next hand, we have a straddle from Jerry. Phil's gonna limp UTG with the ace-6 suited, and then Mom raises up with the 76 suited, and they go heads up with Phil ace-6, and then I think it goes bet jam call from Mom to Phil jams to Mom calls. Super loose call, honestly, by Mom. Looks like they truly were just here to gamble a little bit, you know? In that spot, at least. One thing I was talking about when I realized that I was muted is it looks like Mom is a very gambly player for like some of these small amounts. Like when it comes to these small amounts, like they are very gambly. But then once the stacks actually get pretty deep, they do seem to play some really solid and very, theoretically sound poker. All right. We've got a 6-way limped pot. This is actually a super basic pot too. Yeah, I did see this one before. It's just like Puerto hits top pair, bets twice, takes it down. Really very uninteresting hand. All right, you got the straddle on from Puerto with the $10 with the jack 8 suited. Bruce Lee flats in first position. Mom raises with the king 4 suited, and you get 2 calls. You've got a check on the flop over to Bruce Lee, who bets. Puerto calls once, I believe, and then full. Oh, you know what they do? They check it down. They end up checking it down. Bruce Lee hits quads, gets a nice little high hand. Good for him. Nice little hot run. You absolutely love to see. I think he got like a little $100 bonus, $200 bonus, or something like that from the casino from hitting quad queen. So good job, Bruce. And now we've got some bomb pot and Kukarok action we're going to skip through. All right, first hand of 2 card back. It looks like a big one. Straddle from Bruce Lee with the 8-3-0. Jack picks up ace-ace, raises to 50. Mom calls, Dylan calls, and Puerto is going to 3-bet with the ace-king offsuit. Jack's going to jam it in his face. Puerto is going to snap, and I'm guessing Jack is going to hold. I can't admit. Wait, what? Okay, so I guess mom is just in gambling mood right now. 8-5 8-5 suited. 8-5 suited. And they are going to call all their money. Very very interesting. Okay. I have seen mom with monster stacks several times. I did not know how punty he could be. This is quite wild. This is quite wild. He is already getting his rebuy ready. I have never seen someone put their rebuy on the table before the hand was even remotely close to over. And he is like basically ready to lose. Asking to go twice, mom is. That will be Jack with the set of aces, hitting the case ace on the flop. No more set of aces. 5, and mom hits on the second board, bro. This dude is lucky. This dude is lucky, bro. That's crazy. What was his equity? Just out of curiosity. So going into the all-in, 17% equity. So to walk away with 50% of that pot, going into a 17% equity is crazy, bro. Such a gamble. Such a gamble. So basically, Jack and mom are going to chop up Puerto's stack because they are all three about 1,500 effective. So Puerto gets stacked. Jack and mom will each get half of that. Absolutely crazy. Unfortunate spot for Puerto to be completely dominated by Jack, and then unfortunate spot for Jack for mom to get so insanely lucky. But that is poker, as they say. All right, we've got looks like a non-straddled hand going up in here. So Jack's gonna raise to the queen jack suited, but then mom is gonna 3-bet to 140 with the QQ. Dylan will cold call with the 10-8 offsuit. You know, how can you not put in 10% of your stack with the 10 high? Puerto is going to cold call with the 96 offsuit. What is this game today, bro? This is a very, very crazy game. If you can get some good hands going today, bro, you can make a lot of money in this game. If you can go on a nice little streak, you can make a lot of money in this game. All right, so Super Ready calls, Bruce Lee calls, Jack calls, mom calls, and no one's got the ace on an ace high board. That's crazy. Checks through. Who's got the equity? Mom is still really in the lead here. They just need to like not get bluffed off their hand a million ways, you know? It genuinely could check down because it's almost like protection of the players. Everyone is protecting everyone else from anyone bluffing. You got to have a real set of cojones to bluff in this situation, you know? And that queen is going to take it down. The queen is going to take it down. Mom is definitely running hot, dude. Not only did they win with the a5, but then the queen won 5 ways on that board. Very fortunate for them. All right, Jerry's going to raise to 20. Phil calls the a7 suited. They're all going to go 5 ways. Quick takedown. Looks like nothing super interesting happened here. All right, mom with the $10 straddle. Dylan raising it up 4.5x with the 10-9-0. Jerry cold calls with the 86-0. Phil is going to probably call with his 77. Yep, he does. Puerto with the queen 9 offsuit. Can't see him folding that. Not the way this game's been going. Super Ready going to call. Mom going to call. And they're going to go 6 ways to the flop of queen deuce 7. Phil with middle set, mom with the flush draw. Sorry, Phil, mom's getting there today. Sorry, Phil, it just is what it is. Okay, so I'm sorry, Phil bets Puerto. Oh, top pair for Puerto. No, he might get stacked here, bro. Puerto might get stacked here. Is he gonna jam or is he gonna call? He's gonna call. Mom is just gonna call. Let's see what the turn brings. Wow, boat up. It's actually some decent chance for Puerto now. He's not completely drawing dead. He can hit the queen on the river. Mom is effectively drawing dead, and not effectively. He is literally drawing dead. Phil with 94% equity, charging the most. This is honestly, he bet 300. He bet 300, which is like still a very good charge. Wow, and mom actually folds on the turn. Interesting. Okay. Nice hand to Phil. Unfortunate for him that he couldn't get paid a little more, just given like how crazy this game is. He easily could have double, tripled up, you know? All right. Jose, looked like they switched seats. Now they're going to call, who raised? Super Ready raised, king 6 suited. And it looks like he is in the lead with the best 6x holding currently. Jose going to bet out with his ace high, probably take it down. No, he gets called by who? Dylan and Eddie? I'm confused. At 140, go fold, probably. Yep, makes sense to me. Nice hand, Dylan, bluffing on the river. Another good, solid, aggressive play from Dylan. They're kind of finding their mojo again after going through that up and then big up and then big down. Now they're trying to find their big up. Bruce Lee maybe heading out, maybe getting up, maybe switching seats. Hard to tell. All right, we got raise to 20 with 4-4 from Eddie. A couple of calls. Dylan's going to 3-bet with the ace queen suited. Puerto is going to cold call with the jack 10 suited. And Eddie's going to come along with the 4-4, it looks like. Or is he thinking wiser of the situation? Jose Jose is in there with the 52-0. They must have a 5-2 off game going today. They must have 5-2 off going or something because that's been multiple people playing 5 deuce. They gotta have 5 deuce off going right now. This is a private game, I think, so they can do that. So Dylan flops best with the ace high, and looks like bet probably go fold. Puerto calls, sorry. Drawing with the gut shot. The gut shot that Dylan is blocking. How much did he bet? He bet 255. Knowing that Puerto is sticky and he might just call again. Wow. He's looking like he wants to, bro. He's looking like he wants to. Puerto, man. Very, very gambly. Very, very gambly. Yep, he puts it in. Not surprised in the slightest. And if Dylan's smart, yeah, he checks. Oh, well, the diamonds do get there. But wow, and Puerto checks behind Jack high. He checks behind Jack high. The diamonds get there. That's his only chance to actually, win the pot. That's his only chance to win the pot, and he decides to forego it. He says, no, I'm going to lose with Jack high. Crazy. So when he bets there, dude, his range has to be just insanely strong. When he does bet there, his range has got to be like insanely strong. 2 pair plus straights, that kind of thing. All right, so Bruce Lee out, JM in. Shout out to JM. He's actually a very nice dude, very cool dude. It's kind of like, I don't know how to word it. Like, if you just look at him as a default, when I first met him, he's got the sunglasses, pretty like basic style, which to me usually means that like they're just there to play poker. He seems like he knows what he's doing. And like, I don't want to say people like that can be intimidating, but you just don't know until you know. But he's actually an extremely nice dude. So shout out to JM. Didn't really catch too much what's going on here in this hand. Looks like it's a $20 pot that Super Eddie has now bet $140 into. No, there's a little more than that in the middle, as we can see. He gets called. Okay, what happened this hand? Okay, so it was raise pre to 20 or 30. So it looks like Jack raised, but he's not even on the list of hands right now. All right, well, this is a little bit scuffed. It's all good. So Eddie's got the big open ender. Puerto's got nothing and he folds, and Jack has the mystery hand. But knowing Jack, he's probably got something decent right now. So Eddie's going to bet 300. Kind of confidently, kind of like fumbling around a little bit, like a little half. Oh, sorry, it's Jose he's up against. Okay, well, who knows what Jose's hand is right now because it's been kind of like discarded from us. Jose could have anything right now. He could have a weak hand. He could have a strong hand. Really tough to tell. Nice hand from Eddie. Right. JM opens to, I think, 3x because it looks like an Eddie straddle with the 88. Super Eddie's going to flat with the 74. And we got a 9-7-6 flop. Both players hit a piece of it. Looks like a check call. Probably check down spot where second pair beats third pair. All right. Looks like the straddle is off this hand. Open limp from first position by JM. It's going to start calling around. Surprised to see JM call with such a weak hand from first position. Mom is going to raise to 5x and take it down. Oh, and Dylan's going to Dylan's going to 3-bet to a hundo and not take it down. Mom is going to call them. We get a flop of 2 spades to connect with Mom's ace 9. They are going to check and potentially jam. Or check call. Okay. Check call. And then is he gonna? I was gonna ask if he was gonna lead a non-spade turn. So he goes check on the turn. And then Mom is playing smart. He's playing Dylan the way they gotta be played. He checked the river, and I was probably gonna check jam on him if I had to guess. Just check raise small. Wait a minute. Dylan actually hit the straight on that turn. And wait. Did Dylan check back the straightening turn? That's got to be the most backwards play I've seen all day. Dylan is such an aggressive player. He knows how loose Mom is, and he checked back that turn. Extremely lucky on his end because he could have really gotten crushed here. The absolute Yahtzee card for Mom gives his opponent the straight, and I didn't even see that it connected, bro. I'm silly here sitting. He bets, and what does Mom only raise to 300? It looks like. Yeah, he could have gotten so much more out of this, bro. He only raised to 300. Oh, Mom could have gotten so much more. If Dylan bets the turn, or if Mom check raises bigger on the river. That's crazy. MOM. How do you spell luck? MOM. Very fortunate turn card, but I guess in a way unfortunate that they did not quite win the most. But man, their variance extremely positive, bro. I wonder what one has to do to get such a streak of cards. Dealer change, bomb pot cucaracha, switch through that. All right, we got Michael in the box. Shout out to Michael. And no real hand, it looks like. So who's gonna want to steal this pot more than than the other players. Jerry will raise in the cutoff with the King 9 offsuit, which was the best hand anyway. They bump it up to 25, and you're probably going to get just a bunch of folds around. Here's Jack going to defend with the 98 off. Jack will defend. Probably check, bet, fold. Jack is a solid player, but they're not super aggressive enough to be check raising 9 high here, from what I've seen. All right, looks like we got mad straddles going, bro. Is it double straddle, triple straddle? Double straddle, triple straddle. Action starts on Phil. Super Eddie with the Queen 3 suited, gonna flat call the 40. JM actually mucked his ace. What was it? Ace 9 off? Pretty strong hand in that situation, bro. He could probably cold call there, just like flat, low key, if you don't want to put in more money. Dylan is going to complete call. Jerry is going to jam it in. Jerry's jamming it in. So Jerry jamming to win about $100. Pretty cool, pretty standard. I like it, actually. I like it. He saw weakness. He saw weakness, and he pounced. I like it. Oh, it was a 3 bounty situation. Oh, it was a 3 bounty situation. So very nice play from Jerry out of the triple straddle, jamming. The triple straddling in and of itself, when you got the 2 bounty, is like really good, a very good play to be in that position, because normally you would have to straddle to 100 if you're not under the gun. You know, the minimum straddle amount from random position is $100. So that was actually a pretty good play, man, on their part. They won a lot of extra. Even they won more than just the $100 that was in the pot. I think they won 20 or 25 from each player. But even just the $100 in the pot was like kind of cool, you know, to just to jam over and to really try and put max pressure on aggression play. But very nice hand from Jerry. All right, Dylan's going to raise to 85 here off the $10 straddle, it looks like. Dylan's such an aggressive player. I really enjoy watching them play. Really one of my favorite player types to try to analyze, because whenever you come across people like this at your tables, it's always so confusing to know what the hell they're really doing. You know, hold on a second. Their hand didn't read, but they showed it to the camera a little bit. King? It's King something. King something. Almost looks like he slammed it down like he wanted to get a little more action. He gave it one last look like, damn, man, I wish he's got paid. All right, we've got a straddle from Jerry, looks like, and then Phil flats, UTG, new UTG, I should say. That's just how I define it. With the King 8 suited, Super Ready is going to call with a 10-7-0. Jose with the mystery hand this hand. Mom is going to raise up to a hundo, 10x the BB with the Ace 9 suited. Worked out for him last time. Why not this time? I would wager probably folds around, but you never know. Eddie, you really going to get that loose, that aggressive, that crazy? Okay, bro. Do it up, brother. Good luck. I mean, sometimes people just want to give action, I guess. But obviously that's a fold. Oh, it's probably because it's Mom as well. He just wants to give action to Mom, knowing that he'll probably check it down with him. Maybe things of that nature. But yep, that is it's a bit of a gift from Eddie to Mom. Mom just said my whole poker strategy is just to get there. Well, it is working very well for you, my friend. So whatever you are doing to help fuel that, please keep it up, because it is awesome to see. All right, Eddie is going to open to 30 from early position. We're going to get a couple of calls. Mom out of the SB, Dylan out of the BB, Jerry out of the third blind, Puerto from +1, JM with the mystery hand this hand. It looks like, if I had to guess, like JM's range, you know, pocket pairs, suited connectors, Broadway type hands that weren't good enough to 3-bet, like all those hands in that category that just weren't good enough to 3-bet. So like, you know, 9s, 10, or sorry, like 9s to 8s and all that stuff below. He called pretty quickly on this board here. Who bet? Jerry bet multiple ways. Dylan bet. Jerry called. JM could easily have like king queen here. He could easily have, say, pocket 9s with the 9 of spades. So queen on the turn. Jerry, you gonna keep betting with your raw? Oh, sorry, Dylan. Sorry. Dylan, you keep betting with your raw? No. So now Dylan's gonna pretend like something changed for him, and then JM gonna muck, probably with a smaller pair, probably not with the king X, but maybe a weak king, could be. Dylan gonna fold, and Jerry is gonna show the low hand. Looks like we got a straddle and a double straddle coming from Eddie. JM first to act, folding the ace deuce. Fold. Surprised that Jose folds the jack. Sorry, the 7-5 suited right there. Just kind of like no problem. Just I'm out. It's a pretty solid hand. Dylan is going to call Jerry. Sorry, Dylan's gonna raise. Phil now with the ace going to 3-bet. Getting 3-bet by someone like Phil is scary, because they don't play a ton of hands, and they don't play a ton of hands super aggressively. Dylan, though, has this thing about him, which I'm guessing right now, which is off what I've seen right now, probably too proud to fold straight away. Even when they're in a situation like very low SPR now, hand that has very little equity, some people just have an ego where they don't want to ever fold after they raised pre. And Phil didn't make it that big, so I can't really picture Dylan just like mucking his hand right now. He's like a lot of people just don't, they won't let someone see them fold to a 3-bet. They just view it as too weak, I guess, or something, or I don't know if they even thought about it like that. Now that's like not what I love, honestly, from what's his name, from Phil. Like, knowing how aggressive Dylan is, this is the perfect spot to check back, bro. You got a really dry board. There's like, if you're beat by 6x, you're beat by 6x already. So who cares? What free cards are you really worried about giving off here, man? I mean, maybe someone has like 8 outs at best with an open-ended straight draw with like a 7-5 or a 7-9, but short of that, you know, and that's only 16% equity, 20% equity that you're going to be giving them for free. Whereas you can like beat a lot of things. You know, if they have a King X hand, Queen X hand, Jack X hand, you might want to let them catch up. And knowing once again how aggressive a player like Dylan is, you can just let them bluff at you. You know, like you've played with this person already, so I would take this back and try to represent Ace King, Ace Queen, and make it look like you want to fold. It's just like not that bored, you know. And plus, you are representing such a strong range before the flop. Dylan is a really aggressive player, but they're not dumb. They're not like, I'm not saying they're a great player, because I was about to say they're not bad. It's like they might have done a couple things that are bad today. I'm not really 100% sure. Honestly, they've played very well based on the flow of the table. They just ended up getting kind of like, they ran into it a couple times, but now they're already building it right back up and straddling on the button for a hundo. Wow. Super Eddie picks up the Ace King offsuit. That's always really nice. Puerto's gonna cold call. Eddie's gonna look at his hand and probably make it $400 if I had to guess. On you, Eddie. Never mind. He jams for, they say for $600. We saw his stack. I think it's a little more than $600. Dylan. Oh, he has multiple buttons. Is that what it was? Got it. Was it one button or multiple buttons? I think Eddie just showed Puerto his hand, and Puerto is still considering calling. This dude's crazy. Okay. I'll say, bro, it's like, if you see how bad a shape you're in and you still call, like, that's wild. That's absolutely wild. From Eddie picking up the dead money. Yeah, I can see not wanting to just go like 4x and then having to play post flop with like a really ridiculous SPR where you basically have to like jam like on most boards. I can see calling though. I can see maybe calling. Dylan is on the button with that loose aggressive image. Like, think about that. I didn't really consider that. Maybe limp re-raise over Dylan is probably smarter, you know, because he sees the action. He might just jam himself, bro. He's a very aggressive player. He might just jam himself. So I actually might prefer the slow play with the Ace King there if you think about it. I didn't really even consider that at first. But that could be a rare situation for the slow play. And then at that point, maybe Puerto even calls, bro. Maybe Puerto even calls, then you get it in 3 ways. All right, so straddle to a hundo on the button by Jerry. And then who opened? Or who raised from that point? It looks like Mom raised all in, and it folds around. Mom just jams it in. Why not? No hands, no cards. It's like straddle, raise, re-raise, and I got no cards. Puerto 3 bets. Oh no, sorry, he's calling it all in, I guess. We have no idea who has what. It is a 2-time all-in, sounds like between Puerto and Mom, and Ace? Am I looking at? Is that Ace from Jose, maybe, or Mom? I can't even tell, bro. That looks like from Jose. Okay, for about, yeah, 250 or so. Jose gets ace 2 times already. Nice hand, sir. All right, we have got no straddle on this hand. Open raise to 20 from Dylan with the queen 10 off. Jerry has the 87 suited. Gonna 3-bet to 80. Very aggressive play against someone like Dylan, who is opening. I guess they're from later position. So Dylan is going to call, not come back over the top, which is like what you're kind of worried about. And then 2 players who, like, Dylan's been aggressive the whole day. Jerry's kind of like opening up a little bit now, and the flop goes check. The turn goes bet, probably fold. Maybe just a peel one with the gutter. Very speculative, honestly. Like, the only thing he can really go for at this point as well is like trying to bluff spades on the river. Goes, I think Dylan checks, and he's giving Jerry a chance to bluff it off on the river with absolutely nothing, with king, queen 9 spades, and Dylan is almost certainly going to snap it off if Jerry were to bet, which he thinks more wisely of. All right, yeah, I'm going to turn down the chat the sound a little bit, just because they are talking quite loudly next to the microphone. All right, straddle from Mom, double straddle by Dylan. Puerto in first position, or sorry, not in close first position. Third to act is going to call with the 69 suited. Mom will complete with the deuce. Dylan will probably raise with the 53 because he's he just checked. I'm very surprised. Very, very surprised. He just like ran out of gas for one hand. That was the one hand that he plays passive tonight. Puerto is going to bet his flopped bottom pair, which is the best hand, and take it down. We got straddle, double straddle. Wow, Dylan picks up the king queen offsuit in the double straddle. Phil was going to call first position with the king 9 suited. Puerto will raise at 3x with the queen jack off. Mom's going to flat with the 54 suited. Dylan will call with the king queen. I expected a 3-bet, honestly, because they are just so aggressive. They seem to go in like waves, you know? And then Jerry, are you going to jam it? He looked like he wanted to put the whole thing in the middle with the 10-6-0. He completes or calls the raise, I should say. I'm sorry. And then we go 5 ways to a Jack Deuce 3 two-tone flop. Puerto flops the best hand with 49% equity. Queen Jack high, Jack with the queen high. And no one else really has. Oh, sorry. Mom has the open-ended straight draw going. He's got a little 30% equity action. All right, so it's gonna go bet from Dylan of all people. Aggressive. Puerto jams to 315. Mom's gonna probably snap with the open. He folds the open ender. Wow, I guess he was just worried about Dylan behind. And then Dylan calls with the king queen high, binks the queen on the turn. How disgusting is that, bro? Binks the queen on the turn. How disgusting is that? Oh, I'm sorry. Not disgusting, because Puerto had him covered or dominated with the in that spot with the queen kicker. I'm not even thinking right now. Not even thinking, but like what a ridiculous kind of call from Dylan there. It's a lot of that's like that same type of energy where you're pre-flopping, you raise and you don't want to fold to a 3-bet when you probably should. When you're in that spot post-flop where you bet and you get jammed on for a smallish amount, you like probably should fold, but you just kind of don't want to. You don't want to be seen folding. Some people just look at folding as like so weak that they just can't associate themselves with someone who folds. You know, as weird as that is to even like kind of think about or say. That's just, I think, the energy that some people kind of put out there. So this is a non-straddled pot that got min raise, or no, Eddie's probably straddled. It just says raise. Eddie did straddle. That's definitely not. He definitely did not min raise from under the gun with the 65 offsuit, especially. But this was open by what was this? Was this really just open raise? Because it says 3-bet, but yeah, because I think Eddie min raise, but he didn't. So Jack with the one is going to go 110 with the 5 deuce offsuit. I think it has to be a 5 deuce offsuit game going right now. Has to. Puerto with the 33 calls, and Super Eddie with the 65-0 is going to call. That's wild, bro. I don't really see that happening very often. This actually is going to probably go check bet fold, and Jack's going to win. Probably going to go check bet fold, and Jack is going to win the bounty. Nice hand from Jack. So just good to note that the first oversized raise that we ever saw from Jack was with the steel type situation. Bomb pocket garage switch. Click some real hands here. Dylan, Jerry, and Jose are all picking up some Broadway, with Jose having the best of it, dominating both Jerry and Dylan. Ace King versus Ace Queen offsuit and King Queen offsuit. Super Eddie raises up front with the 98 suited. Gets called by Dylan. Jerry is going to 3-bet. And Jose is going to probably call. Jose only called with the Ace King. That's not surprising. Once again, he's a relatively passive player overall. Like we already saw him cold call a 3-bet with the Ace. So it's not completely surprising that he would just kind of call with the Ace King as well. Super Eddie flops top pair and actually outflops everybody else, being the only player to not have a Broadway type hand. Jerry jamming it in. 235. Eddie pretty much snaps him off with a 98. Jose folds the ace high, and Dylan's going to probably fold his queen high, if I had to guess, but who knows. He does not like being seen folding, but he's not like the last player in the pot either, so like it's like a slightly different dynamic. Running it twice, and it looks like Eddie is going to Scoopy. Eddie with the scoops. Jerry is out. It looks like they played pretty solid, pretty decent overall. They played very aggressive, and they kind of had like their one buy on their one time. Like, I'm done, I'm out. That's never really been like my preferred style. You know, like if I'm ever going to play poker, like I've never really played until I'm just like out of one buy and then leave. I usually either rebuy and then leave later, or I would have left before that point. Is Bruce Lee back in the game? Is this what's happening now? Because I know that these two guys are hosting the day, so they might just be getting up and giving other players a chance to play while they're here, and then like filling the seats when they are, are open. Almost like prop players, but not like paid by the casino. Just like kind of helping out their own game stay full, as this is the Super Eddie and Bruce Lee private game. Okay, 0 straddle on this hand. We've got a bunch of limps. Dylan's going to raise on the button with the 94 offsuit. Extremely loose, extremely aggressive, and they might even just take it down. Nope, Puerto's got 6 high, so he's going to call. And Jack has a suited Jack, which is only lucky for him. Puerto with the bottom pair, Dylan with the middle pair, going to continuation bet. Dylan is just such an aggressive player. Doesn't matter if they have showdown value, if they don't have showdown value, if they have like a value hand, they are just betting the flop a lot. Like their flop bet stat must be huge. Puerto picks up a little bit of equity with a gut shot on the turn, but bricks out. Dylan still with the best hand. Rivering 2 pair, now going to probably go for a sizable river bet. If I had to guess, he goes 240. Pretty big bet, honestly. Puerto thinks better of it and lets it go. But Clubs did miss, so it is conceivable that we could see him put in a speculative call. Clubs did brick, and it is kind of a fishy line. Not fishy, but it's like a little sus. Like, what do you have here on this board that goes bet check bet for value, you know? But yeah, Dylan's flop betting frequency, very high. Turn betting frequency, actually kind of low. River betting frequency, once again, extremely high from what I've seen so far. Jack gonna open it up with the Ace J-O from, it says UTG. Oh yeah, from UTG. Okay, yep. Mom's gonna call with the King 3 suited. Dylan with the mystery hand called. Phil flatted, and Puerto is going to 3-bet aggressively with the King 9 suited. Very interesting. Everyone calls. Jack calls, Mom calls, Dylan calls with the mystery hand, and Phil is in with the blockers to Jack. All right, Puerto, first to act as the 3-better on a 10-high board is going to check. That's smart because someone probably has you beat. Dylan checks back too. I was curious on his holding in the flop. I think if he had 10x or better, like 9-9 maybe even 8-8, he would probably consider betting. He's, once again, we've seen his flop betting frequency very, very high. Mom now with the turned bottom pair, nothing else to really go with it, is going to take a stab at this pot. It's a pretty sizable pot. It's a pretty sizable stab, and it looks like it's going to work. It looks like it's gonna work. I guess it wasn't really that sizable stab. You only really bet like half pot. Yeah, like a little bit under half pot. Just a bit under half pot. And he takes it down. Nice hand, Mom. Sensing weakness and pouncing. JM picked up a couple of ladies here. Let's see how this plays out. We've got a raise from raise from the cutoff from Phil. Puerto is going to flat. Phil had the 10-9 suited. Puerto with the King Jack offsuit. Super Eddie calls out of the small blind with the 85 suited. JM out of the BB will now jam it in. Jam it in. This probably is going to take the pot down, bro. Honestly, it's a little too much. It's a little too much. It would be nice with a hand that's not as strong as this, honestly. I would have... What? And Puerto's going to call. Okay, well, I guess he's... That actually could have been what he was trying to do, trying to target Puerto specifically. He's only got 275, who thought he might just call. That's actually not terrible. Not terrible if he's just trying to target this exact one player right here, right now. I do not hate it. I do not hate it. So... But if everyone was like a little bit deeper here, then I think I'd probably prefer going like, normal amount, like 200 or so would be a good 3-bet size. But as played with the size of the stack that you had, and maybe you just like got to read, this guy just wants to kind of get all in. That is actually a fine jam. Get some equity going, win $300 instead of potentially having to play post flop. So nice hand to JM. Puerto is going to come in for the rebuy. Looks like 800 or so. Mom straddle, Dylan double straddle. Action going to start on Bruce Lee, who then... Sorry. It looks like button straddle from Eddie. Button straddle from Eddie. Jack, what do you pick up? With the King Queen suited, going to make it 250. This is such an interesting spot because when you get jammed on, you almost like kind of have to call versus a lot of players because you're putting out so much money already. So very interesting spot. Mom also with the King Queen suited. Their variant is spades. Jack has the hearts. Phil has 2 jacks. He's got to jam it in. Phil's got 2 jacks. He has to jam it in. It's taken him a while. Don't call, bro. Please jam. He calls. Phil calls with Jack. That's a really bad play, unfortunately. He could put max pressure on right now, and I would really like to see a jam in their spot. $100 button straddle is kind of crazy, kind of loco. Puerto ships it for 5. Oh, sorry. They say he's all in for 300. No, he's all in for 5. No, is it really just 300? I guess all in for 300. Which locks the betting now. Now locks the betting, so you can't come back over the top or anything. I would have just jammed, bro. I don't like this play, unfortunately. Now can you jam with the overpair, bro? And Super Eddie... See, and this is why, bro. You let Super Eddie get there. He's in. Eddie called pre with the 85-0, with the 85 bears. And now your overpair is drawing damn near dead, brother. That is crazy. To go from like 70% equity down to, or he probably wasn't 70 pre-flop, he was probably like 50 pre-flop. What was he pre-flop? 50 pre-flop, yeah. Down to 3%. From 50% equity 5 ways down to 3% is wild. All because you didn't jam pre. Eddie flopped it and takes it all down. Puerto is out, it looks like. Phil is out, it looks like. And Eddie just won a mountain of chips. And I think I remember hearing this day about this. But I think Eddie here, like, shout out to Eddie, guys. I think it's right now. It's her birthday, the dealer's birthday. Elena, I'm 90% sure. Sorry if I'm misremembering her name, but I'm pretty sure Eddie, he tried to give her a $500 chip and they wouldn't let her accept it. And then he gives her $575 as a tip for that hand / a happy birthday. Wow. Shout out to Super Eddie for a damn near $600 tip. That's what we just saw right there, folks. $600 tip. Absolutely baller. Absolutely baller. Bruce Lee, very next hand, is going to pick up the ace, raising it to $45. Going to fold over to Mom, who will call with the 22. Dylan will call with the 73 suited. And let's go 3 ways to a 9-9 queen flop with a flush draw. Nothing really much here for Bruce Lee to get paid off on. He's going to bet and probably get a couple of folds. Once again, guys, like when Dylan's in the pot, like I'm checking to them, bro. I'm checking them and letting them bet. They've shown so much aggression so far. Bruce Lee, you've been here for a lot of the game, so you should pick up on that tendency from your opponent. It is easy to get kind of like, I don't want to say scared, but it's like you don't want the board to get any worse. But at the same time, I'm just going to let them bluff at it. Like, there's some people who I just let them bluff at it. Like, I know that you should be betting for value and this and that, but because they are so aggressive, you just kind of lose too much equity when you bet yourself. But once again, nice hand to Eddie, and what a generous tip / what a gentleman. What a gentleman. I think Eddie is giving change to Puerto for a 1K. He's getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus 4 white chips back. Eddie got the 1K chip out in front. Beautiful 1K chips at the Lucky Lady. A nice bright teal, sky blue teal, like a Mexican, not Mexico, what's I say? New Mexico turquoise kind of teal. Like a really just beautiful shade. All right, smallish pot here that Dylan just bets pretty big into. Takes it down with the 10, sorry, with the king 10. All right, non-straddled hand here. We've got Phil limping UT. Oh no, sorry, not Phil. Who switched over to that spot? That looks like because Phil did bounce, I think. Or is he still, did he come back? Am I tripping? No, Phil's back. Phil's back. All in with the ace king offsuit. They both just probably went to go grab more cash. It looked like both Puerto and Phil were leaving, low key. But they both are back. Eddie with 2 1K chips, actually. 2 1K chips just sitting there on top of that big stack. That makes more sense. I was like, I thought he had more money than that. All right, Phil flops top pair, top kicker. Can he hold against Puerto? Can he hold against Puerto? Today, Phil, I feel like he can hold, yeah. Puerto does not have super luck going for him right now, and he would need super luck. Phil is gonna start the comeback. Right, straddled pot, JV. Jose is gonna call first position with the king jack offsuit. Dylan will raise out of the small blind to only 5x. Kind of surprising. Such an aggressive play, but with a relatively small opening size with the ace-6 offsuit. Puerto is going to call with the 75 off, and Jose will tag along as well. We get an 8 high flop, 2 tone with a 3 and a 4 to go with it. Dylan's gonna bet out with the ace-6. Puerto's gonna call with the gutter. Dylan's gonna check, as he does on the turn a lot. Puerto's going to check back. River is a 7, which gives him the best hand, and Dylan's gonna try to check down his ace high, but see that he got rivered by Puerto. Maybe his luck's turning around, maybe not. Let's see. Always a frustrating hand from Dylan's perspective, because it's one of those spots where like you could have bet the turn and either gotten value / maybe get in the fold, but you just don't know. And with a player as wide as Puerto, you don't know if he's got the 3, the 4, the 8, the 10, all of which are probably calling again. Any myriad of flush draws, but you know, you have him and then you let him slip right through. Dealer change. Time for a time skip. Back to 2 cards. We've got a straddle from JM, it looks like, because whenever it says raise from first position, it's usually a straddle. That's just like misread by the action. Then a raise to 35 from Phil. Get a couple of calls. Puerto and Dylan. Flop's gonna check around. Turn pair to the 3 on an 8-6-3-3 board. Phil will then bet and take it down with the ace jack high. Good hand, Phil. I just saw they got the bounty button. I kind of completely forgot the bounty game was even being played. I think only one person has won it so far, if I had to guess. If I remember correctly, I should say. All right, non-straddled hand. Oh, sorry, straddled hand. It just says, because it says once again, Mom raised UTG to $10, which is not accurate. Dylan calls. Phil is going to open to 3x, which is very small, on the button with, to 30 with ace jack offsuit. He's going to get 4 calls. JM with the 55, Mom with the 69, Dylan with the 85. And the 9-6 jack flop is going to favor Mom with the top and bottom pair. Dylan is going to bet out 70 with his middle pair, backdoor flush draw, and gut shot. Mom is going to call, look for a safe turn, and probably put in a lot of pressure. They are a relatively aggressive player, but they do play smart. Dylan checks back his 5. Dude, I haven't seen Dylan bet a single turn, yet he raises pre and bets the flop so much. So it's like, if you're going to call one of his flop bets, know that you're going to get to the river like a lot of the time. And then Dylan did, in fact, get there, though. He did, in fact, get there with the 85 on the 7 turn. So nice hand, Dylan. Maybe your luck is turning around. Yeah, I haven't seen Mom win a ridiculous pot in a while. So, once again, it comes in waves. All right, we've got this is a 5-way straddled hand that somehow didn't get raised. Did Bruce Lee not raise first position? That's weird. That's weird. Not first position. I'm sorry. The first act is what I really mean when I say that. Interesting. So maybe they're going for like a raise or something, or like a limp raise because Dylan's so aggressive, perhaps, and it just didn't pan out. But they Bruce Lee then bets the flop on the Queen Jack 10 with top pair, top kicker. Mom floated, I guess, which is weird with A7 off. Then hits bottom pair and folds in the turn. Kind of a weird hand. All right, Jack raises on the button. It looks like just folded around to him. Bruce Lee's got Jack Deuce offsuit, a single button. Going to try to win another bounty button. 2 mystery hands here. Only concede Bruce Lee's Jack Deuce offsuit. Both Dylan and Jack are in the dark here. Dylan now is going to lead out on the turn after the flop goes check through. Queen pairing turn, and no idea what they had, but that's also one of the first turns we've seen them bet in a while, so it could have actually been pretty strong. Who knows? Right, a few players missing from the table. Looks like a little lull in the action. So Jack raises with deuce, deuce. It looks like Bruce Lee and Dylan both call. Bruce Lee is going to lead out, bet when he hits type play. Dylan is going to flat with his gutter backdoor flush draw. Very aggressive play very loose play, I should say, from Dylan. And then it goes check bet. Fold. Bruce Lee wins another pot. Puerto is back in. He's going to straddle first in. Jose calls in the cutoff. Mom on the button. Mucks. Folds around to Puerto, who's got the 52-0. Ooh, they asked to chop, I think? Or take it... I don't know what just happened. Chop and see a flop? Chop and see a flop, it looked like. Puerto didn't want to try and win the bounty, which is weird. Phil now with the 52 off. Jack raising with the mystery hand from UTG. 220. Looks like no straddle on this hand. Mom going to call with the 53 suited. Dylan with the 93 off on the button. Going to call very loose. Phil has the... Wow, Phil's got the 52 off, and he flops the open-ender on the 7-6-4 rainbow flop. Puerto has top pair with a jack kicker. And he's going to bet 75, call Mom's raise, who flopped the straight. I didn't even see it. Mom flopped the straight. And Puerto now turns 2 pair. Oh, God. Oh, Puerto, who has where did he get a 1K chip from? He has a 1K chip. I don't know when he got that, but this is going to be bad for him, bro. This is bad for him. This is crazy, bro. So he calls the flop, and then he's going to get hit on the turn with the 7. And unless he boats up, he's getting stacked here probably by Mom. What's he bet, 250? Does Puerto call or raise? He probably just calls, right? He probably just calls. I don't see him jamming here. He's not like that aggressive of a player. Calls with the big stack. Calls with the big stack. He says check dark, I think. And then Mom has 1K in the pot. And then, yeah, I was going to say about a pot size bet left about 1.3x pot. Puerto knows, bro, that it's tough because the flop got raised. So he could easily have had 2 pair or a set. Or a straight as well. Very big cooler situation for Puerto. I feel like I might have seen this hand before, like when I was like just watching casually. Like this hand like kind of seems familiar to me. But I think he calls. Yeah, he does like a very delayed call. He does a very delayed call. Yep, I remember that. I remember Michael telling him that's a call at that point, just so he doesn't like think he can take it back once he like kind of crosses a certain threshold. Dirty spot. Very tough. Nice hand from Mom. And on to the next. Looks like no straddle this hand. Mom raises to 20 with the mystery hand. Phil is going to call with the ace-3 off. Puerto with the 86 off. JM with the jack 10 off. We're going to go 4 ways to a queen jack 3 all clubs board. Mom is going to... Oh, sorry, I thought they were going to bet. They were reaching for chips. They're just still stacking up there from the last pot. Checks through. JM's going to bet with his middle pair 0 club hand on the turn. 5 of diamonds. Mom will flat in position, and then we're going to go to a ace of spades river. JM's going to check here, I'm sure. Mom is going to then react to that, probably betting when they have an ace themselves, and then probably checking back a lot of their other showdown value. Oh, maybe they bet 45, bro. They have to have ace-x a lot at the time here. And if that was a bluff, that was a great sizing. Oh, is that second button alert? Second button alert. I forgot about that. They did win the last hand, technically, yeah. So they easily could actually have put out a bet there at the very end, just with a little bit more bluffs than average. Yeah, when the ace hits and someone checks to you, it's like very common weak is weak, you know? Very common weak is weak line. Okay, this one was raised to 40, probably over a straddle if I had to guess. Dylan with the mystery hand now and the raise. Puerto calling with the king 8 suited. Jack gonna call, sharing the same suit in his 7-6. Jose has the ace of the same suit, gonna call, and Mom is also gonna call. Very big pot, very loose hands here with the king 3 offsuit and ace deuce offsuit. Dylan's gonna bet the turn when check 2 again and take it down with the mystery holding, but we can probably guess they probably didn't have like a ton. They've been playing very, very aggressive. So we got straddle, double straddle. Puerto is going to raise on the button to 70, and Dylan in the double straddle will actually fold their 10 high. That's like their threshold. Straddle from Dylan. Puerto is gonna call. Super Ready is gonna call. Both of them have suited queens, weak suited queens. Jack with the 6/6 is gonna call out of the SB. Mom raises to 60 with the mystery hand. Dylan with the Jack 4 suited calls from the straddle position. Puerto calls. Super Ready calls with their suited queens. Jack's gonna call with his 6/6. And we're gonna go 5 ways to the flop. Jack bottom set. Can he make anything out of it? Doesn't look like anyone really has anything on a king 9/6. Two-tone, 7 on the turn. Doesn't really bring anything in for anybody. Super Ready has a gut shot, and that's going to take it down. Unfortunate for Jack when you flop that set and you can't get anything out of it. Although it's nice to just straight win the pot. But when you flop that set, you're looking for that double up. You're hoping for that double up. You're praying that you get all in and hold. Puerto is going to open limp ace-ace. Don't love it. I would like to raise and try to get 3-bet because it's, the kind of table where you easily could. But it's going to limp around, check, and go 6 ways to the flop of king, jack, queen, all diamonds. Bruce Lee with the 10 of diamonds in his hand. Mom with the ace of diamonds in his. Puerto has black aces. So they are not loving their life / this situation right now. Although the 4-4 does check down, and Eddie's going to river trip 4s. Is he even in the hand? No, he's not even in the hand. So Puerto now can actually bet kind of confidently, kind of comfortably. The straight didn't get there, the flush didn't get there, and now you beat king jack, king queen, queen jack on the off chance that your opponent has it. Who bet on the river? Bruce Lee bet. Oh no, it looks like Bruce Lee. Oh yeah, it looks like Bruce Lee bet and then Puerto raised and then took it down. That's what that looks like to me. Right, 0 straddle on this hand. Phil first act. Gonna call with the what's their hand? Where they at? Did they change their name to Felix? From Phil to Felix? Okay, Felix. in the 4 seat. Super Ready calls. Jack's gonna raise it up to 30 with the KJO. Jose is gonna call on the button with the A9-0. Bruce Lee is going to call, and then Felix Phil is going to jam it in 672 with the ace 4 suited. Pretty aggressive. Pretty aggressive. All right, straddle from Puerto. Dylan will raise out of the SB. Puerto's gonna be the only caller. Ace Jack versus 8-3 suited. And Puerto outflops on an 8-7 deuce rainbow board. Dylan will c-bet $40, earning trips. And Dylan's going to bet into Puerto, even though Puerto's the one with the trips. And Puerto is wisely calling down, not raising. I mean, he's not the type we just saw with the 7x in the last hand, too, that he's not likely to call down. Now, Dylan might just be sick of giving up here, bro. He does check. He does check. Puerto going to go for a bet of 150 on the river. And Dylan is probably just going to muck. Puerto doesn't really have enough behind to try to get him to fold. He called with ace high. Interessante, Dylan-san. Interessante. I would have not looked Puerto up right there. We have seen numerous, he's the guy who he checked down nothing against last time. So we even said it when it happened. When this guy bets the river, his range is going to be strong. We saw him willing to check down nothing. So he's not the kind of person you can bluff catch when the draws get there. Because just too much stuff is going to be in his range, and he might even put you on the draw. But this time he actually tripped up on the turn, didn't have just no equity, and was able, won the bet, even though the board got a little scary. So yeah, you really can't call there with the ace high. It's kind of like missing the plot, really, of the player you're up against, who is showing you incredible tendency to call. He checked back nothing at one point. Checking back nothing shows that someone's willing to lose a hand. They're not the kind of person who's aggressively bluffing at every hand. Jose is all in with they're playing Cucaracha right now, or double board. I don't care. I think that's double board. Another dealer change. Shout out to Brian in the box. All right, we've got fold around to Dylan, who raised to 30 on the button. Bruce Lee is going to flat with the 86 suited. Felix with the 65-0 is going to call, and then Puerto comes along too with the king 6-0. 4-way flop on the king or queen jack 6. 3 players with a 6, but Dylan with the jack is going to bet. Puerto's going to call, and now we've got a third pair versus second pair situation. Puerto's going to now lead out on the turn 75. Dylan's probably just going to flat, if I had to guess. And then Puerto checked in the dark, and Dylan checks back and takes it down. A bit of a blocker bet, try to get the showdown type bet from Puerto. Maybe save himself some money when he's behind. Instinctively, he probably felt not great about the hand, but he knew he had some equity, perhaps. Playing a bomb pot now. I think they were just kind of doing, they do it on every dealer change, but it looked like they had 2 dealer changes in a row. So I'm going to just skip through all the bomb pot, all the Cucaracha. We simply don't have time for it right now. Plus production doesn't quite keep up with it as well all the time. So I'm just going to kind of, for the most part, skip through those hands and focus just on the 2 card. Speaking of which, let's get the beginning of this hand. All right, straddle from Mom. Dylan's going to flat with the mystery hand. Bruce Lee's got the bounty hand, raising the $60. Folds around to Eddie called with the king 7 off. Very surprising. Like, maybe he's trying to give Bruce Lee action. And then Dylan will call with the mystery hand as well. Let's go 3 ways to a queen 10-4 monotone. All spades flop. Bruce Lee does have 5 of spades. Dylan's still with the mystery hand, though. Super Eddie is going to bet out on the turn, getting an open-ended straight opportunity. Dylan snap calls. Bruce Lee snap calls. Eddie rivers the straight, bets 50 on a non-spade completing card. Dylan mucks, and Bruce Lee is going to raise, trying to represent, gets snapped off by Eddie, who then eats the muck. Who just gets his card mucked right to him. He gets the pot, gets this, gets that. Nice hand, nice hand, nice hand. Nice hand from Super Eddie. You can't blame Bruce Lee for trying. The straight gets there. He could very easily have a king. The spades miss, though, so it does look like he could also have like the busted spades. But yes, very nice hand from Eddie, and you can't blame Bruce for trying. Straddle from Felix. Puerto's going to call with the 96 suited. Super Eddie's going to call with the Jack 10 suited. Dylan King 4 offsuit. Bruce Lee 32 suited or 32 off. Felix will check his option on the Jack 9 suited. We go to the flop 5 ways. 9-8-7 rainbow. Puerto is going to bet out 45, I think. Yeah, and then Super Eddie raises to 150 with the flopped nut straight. Wow, Eddie is on a roll today. On a roll today. And he kindly bets all in and shows Puerto his hand before Puerto has a decision to make. Eddie is absolutely a gentleman. If there is one thing that we have seen, from ourselves personally, but through this stream alone, it is that Eddie is a very kind person. All right, Puerto straddles. Eddie's on 2 bounty alert. Mom is going to call. Everyone's playing defense. Felix is going to raise with the king queen off. Eddie's going to let it go, so there will be no bounty implications this hand. And Felix is going to take it down. Quick and easy. Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes it's a huge crazy all in. All right, we've officially gone through 6 hours of this 16-hour stream, and I'm going to have to take a break soon because I need some food. But you will see me pick up back with this very shortly. So it's not going to be any, doesn't matter for you guys, no time, because I would love to get this all up and going. All right, straddle from Super Eddie. Quan, new player to the table, will raise with 10-10 from the hijack. Mom will call with the 98 suited from the cutoff. Bruce Lee has the mystery hand this time from the small blind, and Super Eddie with the 43 off out of the straddle. Jack 9 flop rainbow, and it's going to check around a Mom who's going to bet with his bottom pair. Quan, or it's going to fold around to Quan, who will probably call 1. We have no idea about this player, but if I had to guess, probably going to call 1 just because their hand is, And then I would also bet that this hand probably checks down a lot of the time too. Mom is breathing quite heavily. They might be a little nervous. So check back on the turn, and then he bets 200 into him on the river. Not afraid of the jack, which I like, I respect. Nice hand from Quan so far. And I can only assume Mom is thinking about call or fold, not actually raise. And Mom pays off. Quan takes down a nice one, and welcome to the table, Quan. Probably a bit loose of a call in the end there from Mom, but they are just trying to feel out the new player, which is a very reasonable thing to do, like try to get a vibe from them. All right, no straddle this hand. JM gonna raise from UTG with the AKO. We got a bunch of, oh wait, was it double straddle this hand? Sorry. Oh, no, my bad. It was just that big raise from JM, my bad. Gotta see call, $20, call $20. So we got call 25. So it looks like we're gonna go 6 ways. Puerto's got the 3-3, Super Eddie with the Robbie, Quan with the ace-8 suited, Mom with the 8-5-0, Dylan with the ace-4 suited. No one hits anything. JM's ace-king does not connect. My bad, I guess Super Eddie does hit the middle pair that is in the lead currently, and hit turn and river's a boat. Turn's a bottom pairing card, and the river is a jack. Does Eddie muck his hand? No, he shows. Okay, he shows. Oh, okay, he said he didn't see his hand. Got it. That makes sense. All right. Non-straddle hand, and then I'm going to take a break. Bruce Lee raises out of the cutoff to 25. Puerto 3 bets to 77 with king 7 offsuit. Interesting. Super Eddie with the mystery hand is going to cold call out of the BB. Felix will call as well with the $52 with the Jack 10 suited. Bruce Lee folded as a PFR. Puerto first to act is going to bet 55. Super Eddie with the mystery hand is going to quickly call. They probably have at least a pair. And Felix is going to jam it in. 431. And Eddie looks like he's really considering it. Interesting. He looks like he was genuinely curious. All right, so let's take a quick break, and we'll be back in just a second. Okay, back from a break and back into the action. So we had new player who was in on the 8 seat. All right, just getting right back into it. All looks like Puerto is going to raise on the button with the unknown holding and take it down. All right, it's been about a day and a half since I've been back here, so I need to remind myself if we got Dylan, and I've also played on the live stream since then. So like my brain gets kind of jumbled up between like who I was playing with, who I was commentating on, who I was watching, this and that. I actually played with Jack. Funny enough, when the hand comes up, when I talk about it, I play the hand with Jack. That this stream recording of me going over kind of helped me play. So I am I'll mention that when it happens in the actual stream when you guys see me play the hand with him. But that's actually kind of cool last night. And it's really funny too, the dynamic of me doing these commentaries and also playing in the game and like getting to know these players a little bit better. So holy cow, Mom had a crazy night last night. Had a crazy night last night. And as you can see here, they are bumping it up. And I think something about Mom, dude, they just have like incredible they're what's the word I'm looking for? I was gonna say dynamacy, which I know is not a word, and I was gonna say bombastic, which is also not really what I'm going for, but they're dynastic. Like I don't know how else to word. Like they are such a roller coaster player, like so up, so down, so like just incredible swings that they go on. It's really fascinating to not only watch but to be near, and they'll definitely help influence action and such like that too. Like they're just a very they are a catalyst at the table. You know, like when they are there, the game just is different. It simply is different. So Quan now with a better two pair versus Mom. That could have gotten pretty scary if the turn ace didn't come. I think that could have been even worse for Mom. But what a nice guy. Mom is such a nice dude. It's kind of like crazy to like watch players and then get to know them and be around them, and then like, you know, because what I'm doing right now, of course, we're on 2x speed. We're not really seeing everything. We're not really experiencing every moment. But when you're actually there in the room with someone, very different, and they're a super nice person. All right, David is in the box now. They're doing the Bampa and Kukaracha. Gonna skip past that. It's actually funny thing. I saw David come in on the live stream last night after I played. It's really cool that the dealers and floor can actually play at this casino. So the dealers of the casino and the floor of the casino can play at the casino after they're done working. I've even seen them play on their like after their shift too, which is actually a super fun dynamic. All right, we're gonna go to the swap 4 ways. This is a limped pot. Yeah, limped pot. Nothing really special going on here. Everyone's got a little bit of something, but nothing great going. All right, we're about 6-handed here. Felix with the ace king offsuit. Straddle from Puerto. JM's gonna limp from first position. Kind of surprising. James more of a race fold player I would have expected. Jack called as well on the button. Felix is gonna put in the big raise. It could be the 5 deuce, but no, it's just the ace king this time. All right, Mom raises to 25 from the SB with the JTO. Puerto's going to call out of the third blind with the 95 suited. He's going to check on the flop. Mom does. It's surprising. I would have expected a C bet on a board that is that favorable for his range with the gutter. He probably didn't want to barrel on that flop and maybe get a little bit of information by Puerto, seeing what he does in position. Always a smart play when someone will kind of like let you get away with it. All right, Puerto with the best hand out now with the ace 3 suited. Quan's going to raise out of the cutoff to 25 with the queen deuce of spades. Mom will flat on the button with the queen deuce offsuit. Felix calls from the small blind with the king 7 suited, and Puerto will complete the action with the aforementioned ace 3 of hearts. 8, 10, 5, all spades on the flop. Quan with the only connection hits the flush, bets and takes it down. It's kind of like the sets we were talking about with Jack before. It just is like a pain in the butt when you flop such a magical hand, but you get no action. It's like, ugh. It feels like a waste, but in a weird way. I was thinking about this too. You're really not trying to get lucky in poker. You're trying to get lucky in poker and have somebody else. Let me put it this way. You're trying to get really, really lucky in a hand where someone else gets really lucky. You know, where like they hit their miracle hand and you hit a slightly better miracle hand. And that's really where a lot of this money does get transferred around. And that really is where a lot of this money gets transferred around. There's like kind of two places. It's those big hands when they kind of collide. And then when I don't want to say when egos collide, but when people are just like, nah, I'm winning this pot. And then someone else is just like, no, I'm winning this pot. And they both don't have anything. And you see the big bets and the big call downs. And that's like the other big source of call it transfer of wealth in the poker world / on the poker table. Puerto taking it down with the bet on the river. I don't think he called down. He bet kind of like turning his hand into a bluff unknowingly. I don't know, man. When people like that bet like that, it's just so weird. We talk about this all the time. This is why you have to learn to read the energy of a player and not just their hand strength, necessarily like their hand range, because hand range is hand reading in terms of like, do I have a strong hand or do I not, is so subjective. So some people think they have a strong hand when they don't. Betting third pair there on the river, I don't think he's bluffing there. Honestly, I really don't. It's just like a spot where you're really only like you are turning your hand into a bluff, but it's not a very good bluff because you're not going to get many better hands to fold. But the definition of a bluff to me is, will a worse hand call you? So like if no worse hands will call you, then you are inherently bluffing. It doesn't have to have the other element of will better hands fold. That's the definition between a good bluff and a bad bluff. But a bluff is trying to get other hands to fold, and if no other hands are going to fold and no worse hands are going to call you, then it's not a value bet. Like, because that's basically what it stems from. A value bet is betting with the intention of getting worse hands to call you. That's it. Simple. So if you can't do that, then you are bluffing. And a lot of these bets just kind of lie in the middle of like they're not for value and they're not really a bluff because no better hands are going to fold. But at the same time, with no worse hands calling, that does turn the hand into a bluff. Felix with another nice Broadway holding. Puerto with the unknown cards. I wonder what happens at the table when like we don't get a scan. Like what exactly triggers it. I wonder. I'm gonna try and like see if it happens to me when I'm on the streams and be like, what do I do to have it where like I'll watch other players or this or that. I don't know. So Jack out flops everybody. Felix didn't raise with the ace queen, which is kind of weird. He only called out of the hijack. Yeah, it's pretty bad. You're gonna want to make that like 50-60 out of the straddle situation, you know, so that it allows people like Jack to come in here. And now Mom has turned his kicker, which is tough for Jack. They have the nothing really. They check. Mom's actually probably going to put in a small value bet. No, they don't. They just decide to check it back, realizing smartly that Jack is not the type of player who is going to like pay off super wide, super thin there, probably. Like Jack is a pretty solid player. They're pretty like standard regular, I would say. All right, we got the straddle and double straddle on this hand. Triple straddle from Jack on the button. Very smart play. Very smart play. Basically forcing everyone to did Puerto, how much did Puerto make it? He made it 130 and Jack just mucks. I think that is honestly a fine play. Jack's a pretty solid player. He could still call with worse given the pot odds. Actually a pretty solid play and raised by Puerto. Just unfortunate for him that Jack doesn't show up with anything on the triple straddle. Also a bit unfortunate for Puerto that he's not like really the raise aggressive type player. Like he's more of like the call down type player. So when he does start raising big, alarm bells will naturally go off. All right, three ways. Felix with the ace 10 suited on the queen 3-6 flop, hitting the flush draw. Bruce Lee's got middle pair. Will he call? No, he folds to Felix's raise. Playing the nut flush draw aggressively, I like it. Cool, because you can get value from weaker flush draws as well as your fold equity. The rare value bluff, perhaps, you know, where you can get like an 8 high of spades to call you, but you got like that 6 to fold there. The very rare value bluff is always nice to have. JM's going to raise with 76 suited. Mom will flat on the button with the 86 suited. Clubs and diamonds respectively. Bruce Lee is going to flat out of the SB with the bounty hand, 5 deuce offsuit. Felix then completes out of the BB with 93-0, which is just too loose. You can't do that. You got to raise the ace queen and you got to fold the 9-3, Felix. Got to tighten it up a little bit. Bruce Lee trying. Wait. Did Bruce Lee bet and take it down? Bruce Lee bets out and takes it down. He just leads out. And now this is actually a Bruce Lee play because Bruce Lee does play hands like this. He'll play his middle pairs like this. He'll play his top pair like this. So people know that this is not just like some BS. Like he actually often has something right here. And does Mom fold too? Wow, Mom just mucks on the flop with the backdoor straight draw, backdoor diamonds, middle pair. Kind of surprising. Bruce bet 75 into 85. Yeah, I could see it. I could see it. So nice bet, Bruce Lee. Take it down. Win the bounty. I think it's $10 from everybody. At one point, I thought it was 20 or 25. So if I spoke about that earlier, I was mistaken. But after playing in the games and seeing it, yeah, like last time I played, they did 5. Sorry. They did 7 deuce off. The time before that, they did 6-7 off. So the bounty hand can change, but it's usually $10. So if I said anything earlier, I apologize, but I do have the graphic on the screen now. All right, we have got a raise from Quan out of the hijack. Bruce Lee is going to flat on the button with Jack Deuce offsuit. Crazy lose to a 6 BB open. Then Super Eddie is going to come along with the 55. Puerto with the bounty hand. Quan hit bottom pair on the flop, turns trips, and now Super Eddie's going to bet out with his pocket 5s on the turn. Don't like to play Eddie, unfortunately. It's just too loose 4 ways. I kind of get what you're doing. You got 2 pair, and you're like, well, everyone checked back the flop. So, and now he checks the turn, putting him not on a jack, not on a 10. So I guess it kind of makes sense. I can see Eddie's logic and Eddie's reasoning for calling down here. But I just think in general, it's too optimistic, personally. I just think it's too optimistic in general. It's going to be, you're going to run into just random stuff, man. That's the problem with playing live is just because the person checked back the flop doesn't mean he doesn't have, aces or kings or like a top pair type hand. He could just very easily have had something. So for that to work, that has to be raw bluff, and it just didn't feel like raw bluff. Doesn't look like raw bluff a ton. So yeah. Oh, see, was it seat 9? 1, 2, 3? No, seat 1. I'm pretty sure I recognize the dude. He's pretty chill. I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but cool dude. All right, Quan Rays, it looked like. Pretty, was it? Yeah, Quan Rays with the bounty hand. Super Eddie defends the 98-0. Quan's going to bet because you have to if you're going to win with the 5 high. Eddie is going to float from out of position with the gutter. Turn pairs the king. It's going to go check and check. Then Eddie checks the river, bricking everything. Quan is going to bet 90. Eddie's going to look, probably fold, and everyone's going to be paying Quan a little bit of cash money, if I had to guess. Yeah, everyone pays Quan $10. And 2 bounties. Good for him. Good for him. And Quan picks up ace on 2-button alert. Holy. Now he raised way too small, bro. Here's the problem, dog. He raised a 40 from UTG. Nah, fam, you got to raise like a hundo here because everyone's going to call you to try and prevent you from winning. Not everyone, but like, because think about it. If you lose the bounty, you're only going to lose $20. If you lose this hand, you're going to lose 40. So it really doesn't make sense to defense that much. But you can represent a steal here so good so that if someone does have like anything reasonable, they're going to give you action. So you can represent a super wide range here, even from UTG. So I would raise it to like 100 here, like 80 minimum, 75 minimum. Oh man, he could have gotten someone to jam over him. He could have gotten this. He could have gotten that. That's crazy. But he's gonna probably get a good handful of calls. Gonna probably get a good handful of calls. People expecting him to have a pretty wide range here. So like that's the real problem. He's gonna go to this flop like, yeah, I did not see it going any other way, dude. Yeah, 6 ways to the flop. Exactly. Now you have to. Now your aces are at a 39% equity, but it would be nice to have them be a little bit better. Still in the lead with the ace. Now he's gonna get. Is everyone gonna check around? Is gonna check around to Puerto, who's going to bet with the nothing. The gutter and overcard. Jack is going to call with his flush draw. Now, if Quan was... Okay, he does raise. I was going to say, if Quan was smart, he would probably just start ripping it in right here. And I like it. Because now this also looks like making a move, trying to win the bounty game, all that good stuff. So I really like this here. And I probably like to see a jam on any non-heart turn. And he has the ace of hearts too as backup. Wow, what a beautiful situation to be in. Jack will probably overcall here. He's a smart enough player to know when he's getting the price. Like, that's just the vibe that I get from him, is that he's just studied enough to understand his equity. Picks up a nice little chunk on the turn with the 9. Does Quan only bet 200? Oh, he bets 300, but still, that's not enough, dude. You have to jam basically here. Puerto's with 700 left, and then the pot was 1K. You just got to jam on this turn. It's a beautiful brick turn, honestly. Like, I'm not really sure what he would be scared of, but 300 is a terrible price. You got to jam here, especially with the dynamics that are in play. Wow, bricks out. He checks. No. I mean, I get it. He wants to let someone bet missed hearts, but man, he could have gotten paid off by Jack. Probably, maybe, who knows? Wow, that's crazy. Although Jack shouldn't have paid him. And Puerto, if you lose, I think, over $100 in the hand defending, you don't have to actually pay the bounty. That's like the rule that we've been using. So I don't think they should have paid there. It's like it's assumed that you're going to give extra action trying to defend. So it's like you kind of don't like have to pay twice on the defense hand specifically, like the third bounty hand. But that's crazy to wake up with that. And dude, he's got ace queen suited now. It's really wild the streaks you can go on in live poker because it's so hard to get a run of good cards that when it actually occurs, it's like this person just seems like they're in a different realm. It seems like they're not only playing a completely different game, but they're just in a different dimension, even though we're all at the same table. It's like they're just getting hand after hand after hand, and you're just sitting there folding and watching, or defending and getting destroyed. I mean, dude sat down like an hour ago, is up like 3K, and is just crushing everybody. Flop stop pair, good kicker. Puerto with the royal flush draw. Can't get there, dude. Like, Puerto does not have super luck right now, bro. Puerto needs super luck. He does not have it, and he's going to call off here. Guaranteed he calls off. 125, he can't resist. He's shaking his head. He's like, why'd you have to give me a pair, bro? I can't fold. You know I can't fold. And you're going to make me pay you now? How greedy can you be? And he said very. He said extremely. You can't even have missed clubs. Top pair, good kick. Like, it just shipped another pot. Crazy, bro. Crazy. Yeah, live poker is just insane, man. I played on the stream for like, God, let me see how many hours can I just add up total, like 50, 60. Never had a run like this. And it really has just been, like, for the most part, pretty decent cards. I mean, he did win the bounty hand with the 5 deuce off in like the middle of that. So it's not like just all luck, but man, it's a very nice life when the poker gods make it happen for you like that. Did he get 6-6 with... Basically, he's trying to win 5 hands in a row now. This would be his 5th hand in a row. And he somehow does not flop a set. But he bets out. Interesting. Earning himself a turn card, which will not be the... And a river card. Wow. His luck has officially ran out. And it going back to mom, the luck is not surprising in the slightest. He calls off, tries to win the second bounty. Does not happen. And that is the first roadblock in their last 1 hour. Dealer change. Skip forward. Back to some 2-card action. Looks like a limped pot to start it off. KP in the 3B. That's what I think Seat 9 will probably be going as. KP, I haven't seen that name yet. It's 5 deuce off, bro. That's 5 deuce off is the game. Checks around. That's a board that is kind of tough to hit, but I can understand like the caution. Quan turns the best hand and bets it. Super Eddie with the decision. It's really funny. Jack is sitting in the 7 seat and he's eating the seafood pesto pasta, which I have not seen this part of the video yet, but I was sitting in the 7 seat last night, and for the first time I was like, oh, let me try this seafood pesto pasta. Looks pretty good. Small portion, but very good. Very good. It seemed on the menu was like $20 or something. You know, like if you're not playing, you have to pay like $23 or something, and would not have been worth $23. I'll tell you that much. Like it was good to eat and it was good for free, but it was not worth 23. All right, everyone deliberating, not really sure why. Quan with the best hand again, 8-8 on the button. It just looks like homie's running over the table, but really he's been hit in the face by the deck minus the 5 deuce offhand, which is still kind of like running good because that's a bounty hand. It just shows you, or it just gives you like extra incentive to play. So it's not like it was 7 deuce off. It's not like it was 5-3 off. It was the bounty hand. So not complete garbage because it has extra equity built into it. Bruce Lee is not going to call this turn yet, right? I'm like, you're going to call it. There's nothing to call there, bro. Good check back and bet on the turn by Quan. He's also playing very well as well. Minus that turn bet when he had the aces. That turn bet's got to be a jam, homie. Turn bet's got to be a jam. No cards? Okay, no cards, no graphic. JM's all in. And he had, who had 5-5 and who had a6? I want to assume that JM had the 5-5, but I actually have no idea. When did they get on the flop? Oh no, that was 5-5 going to Mom. Wow, okay. The Mom luck is back up. Lock that seat for JM. He left his little turtle. He ain't going nowhere without that. All right, we've got a, raise from Quan with a queen deuce offsuit from UTG. Wow, really feeling the streak, huh? Maybe some winner still going on now. Maybe some, oh wait, no, they did not, or did someone lead out? It said that they raised pre. Okay, that makes way more sense. I don't know who raised pre, but now we got a bet from Jack on the turn. We'll just go from here. With the open ender and third pair gets called by nobody yet. Felix is thinking about it. Probably going to float one. Super Eddie with the 72-0 lets it go. And the Jack on the river will seal the deal for Felix. He ain't going anywhere now. He's tanking, which is tough for Jack. He probably wouldn't have bet on the river anyway. He does have showdown value. He can just check back. So, but once he starts tanking, I don't think Jack's going to bet himself / call a bet either. You're right. We are 5-handed at the moment. Quan with the 10-9-0 will call. Bruce Lee will call. No raises yet. Super Eddie with the Robbie. And he raises to 50. So we're going to go 4 ways. Jack's got the unknown card. No, Jack's not even in the room, bro. I don't know why you guys have Jack on the screen. Quan is going to check his open ender. Bruce Lee will bet his middle pair and flush draw. A lot of outs. Now 2 pair for Bruce Lee. Gonna bet out small, though. Really small. Not getting quite enough value. And not really charging enough either against draws, I would say. He bets a hundo. Bets a hundo, shows the hand, wins it up. So yeah, I would just bet a little bit bigger on that turn. If I were Bruce, try to really charge this guy who is kind of like riding the wave. Could easily have a hand that could just call you twice. All right, still 6-handed. Jack for Bruce Lee and 9-9 for KP. Probably going to see an open and a call or a 3-bet. Is he going to 3-bet? He goes 160. Okay. Bruce Lee with the 160 is scary because he's not like a very frequent 3-better, especially for that size. 4x 3-bet off of an 8x open because this is not a straddle pot. There is no straddle from what I can see. Maybe it was because Mom looks like he's in. No, it says 3B. Mom's in the third blind. KP is UTG. And he just raises 8x, which is big. Bruce Lee goes 4x on top of that, which is also big. So alarm bells need to be going off in KP's head. Mom really reluctantly folds the 5-5 to the cold 3-bet. All right, still staying 6-handed. Quan's card did not scan, but it looks like we're going to a flop 6 ways limped. The best hand pre being an ace-3 offsuit. Our best hand that we can see. Super Eddie turned a gut shot straight flush draw with the 7-8 of spades in the middle, 5-4 in the hand. Bruce Lee is going to call his turn bet. Wow, he's going to call the turn bet with the top pair, and Super Eddie will river the straight flush. He rivers the straight flush. High hand in the gold room straight flush. Very nice. Some good luck for Eddie today, too. You play long enough, and you will go on these streaks. Hoping that you guys can see me with a tower of chips like this someday off of just some really good positive variance. I don't have to play good. I just want to get to run good. Playing good is hard, man. Running good is easy. All right. I didn't see the action pre. It looks like a KP raise from the BB to 50, which is very strong and good. Bruce Lee will flat the ATO. KP is going to c-bet out, what, 75? Bruce Lee going to flat with the gutter and over, or no? Speculative call from Mr. Lee. Very speculative call. I'm kind of surprised that Bruce had like 25, 26% equity on the turn, and then he's going to think wiser of it on the, I said on the flop I meant, and then think wiser of it on the turn. All right, Jack is back in with the bounty hand. He's going to open it up to 9 BB. 9 BB slash ISO over Eddie. Quan will call with the 97 suited, and we will go heads up to a flop of Jacks with the 5-5 ace flop. Must be nice, bro. Must be nice. That's actually really sick. That's really sick. I don't know why the graphics are messed up. It says Jack has $62 left. He's got clearly like 700 right there. And Jack hits the bounty. Mom raises 15. Felix now with the Jack. Last time Mom had 5-5. Bruce Lee had Jack. Now Felix is going to 3-bet to 60, which is a very reasonable amount to, you know, like you can set mine this obviously, where before he got cold 3-bet to 160 was not nearly as easy of a set mine versus someone who had like no money behind really. So I'm going to take one off or no? Mom will take one off, protect himself against the c-bet versus ace king, ace queen, and he will turn a set of fives. He will turn a set of fives. 90 something percent equity, right? No, probably 80%. No, probably about 90% equity. Yeah, 90% equity on the flop for Felix. And he, well, damn, they gave Mom the check mark. That must mean that both Jacks are already folded. That must mean both Jacks are already folded. And Felix is now drawing down on the turn from 90% equity to 0% equity. The story of Mom, who now jams. Felix is gonna vomit. He calls, sees the bad news. They run it twice. That's that. That is crazy, bro. And you know what's wild too is when you're playing like that, like in the middle of sessions and such, this doesn't feel like incredible variance. It just kind of like feels like what's supposed to happen or what's possible to happen. But that's just, in this one video alone, we've seen a lot of luck on Mom's side, and then in other videos, and then in real life. So I'm just curious if like this heater ends at some point and they go on like a 10K downswing, or if they just are luckier than other people. And that's just how life is. Super Eddie betting on the turn with the flush draw. Going to get called by Quan's top pair and gutter. JM's going to come along too with the 6. Pretty speculative on JM's part. Not really a JM play from what I've seen typically. Now Super Eddie on the river is going to bet out. He's going to think about it, and now make a bluff with his busted up draw. Quan's going to snap him off, and JM's going to muck. JM's going to overcall? Bro, what are you doing, JM? What do you think he called him with? A worse 6, maybe? Because even like 7-7, 8-8, 9-9, TT, I don't know, Jack X. It's a weird call from JM. Like, he's usually more on point than that. Right, no graphics, no cards. Mystery hand all around. Puerto's going to raise you 43 out of the big blind. Jack's going to immediately call. I'm guessing middle of range hand from Jack. Broadway, pocket pairs, suited aces, suited connectors. We're going, what, 4 ways to the flop, looks like? Off of a Puerto open, pretty strong open. If he c-bets, he could easily have 2 pair here, straight, set. 2 pairs less likely, but like Jack, 10-10, king, queen. Ton of action. Big bet and 2 calls. The turn doesn't bring in any draws, and Puerto looks like he might. Did he check? No. Okay, he did check, and now Jack is going to bet 320 on the turn, and KP's just going to call? Puerto folds. Wow, what's going on right here in this hand? Queen on the river. Jack jams. It looks like he's ready to show his cards. Almost in like it's a weird way that he's doing this. Jack 10 for KP and Queen 9. Wow, and Queen 9 for Jack. That's like actually crazy to jam that river with 2 pair and to get called by worst 2 pair. That is a pretty wild hand. And so Jack bet the turn too with the open ender and pair with straight draw, trying to represent like he already had it, which was very strong. It was a little weird to call the flop and then bet that big on the turn. I was like, what do you have? Because like he probably doesn't slow play his sets on the flop, probably doesn't slow play his straights on the flop. So it just didn't make a ton of sense, but at the same time, it still felt very strong. So, but like I said, Jack is a very solid player. That was a very good bet on the river as well. And he just, in a slight way, kind of got lucky too to run into that exact type of hand, because he could easily could have had King X, could have had what would have been 7X, or 8x or whatever it would have been for the bottom card. I want to say 8x, right? Yeah, 8x or king x would have made the straight on either end, or a set. Probably not a set either from KP, Loki. So I get it. I get it. Very well played. All right, Bomb Pot and Cucaracha. Let's skip through. All right, Puerto with the Ace Deuce Jack with Jack 10, and Quan back to picking up premium hands with the Ace Jack offsuit out of the third blind. Going 4 ways to the flop, 100 in the middle. Someone raised to 20, and everyone else called. No one's queen. Now Ace on the turn. Quan will hit top pair, but KP is going to also be chopping given the paired board and the queen kicker. It's going to go bet, call, fold around. They're going to chop this pot up. We can just skip ahead. We don't need to see this. Oh, and Puerto had the ace as well. My bad. Forgot. So case ace on the turn. All right, back to 8-handed. Jack raises to 25 with queen jack off. Mom out of the 3 blind will call with jack 3 suited. Going to go c-bet small and take it down on the top pair board. All right, we are back with Baby Z and me, and next hand, take a little break. KP with the suited ace jack, Mom behind them with the king queen offsuit, but it's going to be, oh, I'm sorry, who? I thought I saw someone raise. No, it's Eddie just calls with the 76-0. Quan will raise with the 42 suited in the 4.3k stack. I wonder if they are naturally this aggressive or if they are simply riding the wave. And then KP 3-bets, it looks like, to 160. Wow, big 3-bet, but solid play. Oh my gosh, Zoe, Jesus, you're crazy. Dog just like jumps down, changing position. Puerto with the ace king offsuit. Bruce Lee and KP are in. He just limps from the hijack. He might be feeling a little tilted. Bottom 2 pair for KP, top 2 pair for Puerto with the nut flush redraw. This is a tough spot for KP because he knows Puerto's action probably. He's gonna almost certainly go. Oh wait, no, Puerto has much more than $90. Yeah, these graphics just are messed up sometimes. I could see KP fold during this river here. Yeah, I could see him folding this river here. Great play. You know, the straight's there, flush is there. Puerto's not like the most aggressive player in the world. They are more of like a call down player than a raise you player. So that can be tough when you're facing a lot of aggression on a board like that. All right, Quan is going to raise the cutoff with ace-10 offsuit. Mom calls on the button with a 98-0. Bruce Lee out of the big blind with the 66, and Puerto with the 10-6 suited. Going 4 ways to a 9-5-4 two-tone flop. It's going to check over to Mom, who will take a little stab with their top pair medium kicker, and it looks like they will take it down. Maybe Quan will float one from out of position. Jack is out. They played a lot today, so shout out to Jack. Good watching them. And Quan is going to think better of it. Sometimes people make like a bad thing about making like a bad call, loose call, speculative call, and then the act of like someone getting up and going or someone coming in the room or there's that like disrupting the flow of the hand is enough to like snap you back into reality and be like, wait, what am I doing here? Just fold. What am I doing here? All right, Quan is going to raise to 25 out of the first position. Mom will call with the 53 off. Bruce Lee with the bounty hand is going to call out of the SB. And Puerto will call with the Robbie out of the third blind. 4 ways to a 9-10-5 rainbow. Don't ask me why I read it in that order. 3 on the turn. Bruce Lee is going to lead out since nobody else stabbed, and he's basically drawing dead to Mom, who turned 2 pair. And Bruce Lee with the all in. I don't think this is getting through. I don't think this is. It might. Looks like Jack 10. Looks like Jack 9. Looks like maybe 8-7. But I just don't see. Like I was talking about this earlier at one point, I think. But for like these under $300 amounts, I just don't see Mom knitting it up. You know, you said donation. You know, it's like I just don't see him knitting it up. He says donation, he calls it the 2 pair, and he takes it down. Bruce Lee does not show that he was just going for it with the bounty hand, but that's always a factor in play as well, too. You got to consider. That's always a factor in play. Nice little extra incentive, too, is that it puts Mom on 2 bounty alert. Are they taking a little break of sorts? All right, well, we will return when the action returns. Looks like they're taking a little break. All right, we didn't lose much time here. Looks like Chill Jack is going to be joining. They got 4-handed, and I'm not sure. I heard Mom say something about the bounty. I'm not sure what happened to his buttons, but it doesn't look like I see them right now. Anyway, 4-handed, Jack 7-5, all clubs. KP with the king of clubs. Puerto with the best hand, 4x on the river, is not even in the hand. Sorry, the graphics are not really up to speed at the moment. It's interesting because like the camera is switching, but the bets are not picking up. So anyway, so Puerto with the queen, Mom with the flush draw. We'll try to piece this one together. It looks like limp call from Puerto. Mom is going to likely stab on this flop with the royal flush draw, 2 overcards. What? Did he min raise? Click it back at him? At first I thought it was just calling. Such an odd action. So it goes 35, and I think he goes raised to 80 maybe? 75? I can't tell. 75 or 80, whatever. Looks like 75, from 35 to 75. Puerto with the kind of click back on the flop. Mom is going, so Puerto checks, wait, does Mom check to him? And Puerto checks his cards in real time, always good to know, it's a bit of a tell. And then he bets out on the turn with another $70-ish bet. Mom is going to call and then check blind on the river. It's a very interesting spot. I wonder if Mom's just like showing him mercy or something. I guess so, because he easily could have led. He easily could have check raised the turn. Plenty of things. Nice hand from Mom. Let's keep skipping through and trying to get through this. I only have 3 hours left in this recording and then another 4-hour recording left. So that means 7 hours left. So we are over halfway through this 16-hour stream. I'm pretty happy with my progress. I've gotten a little bit quicker at breaking some of this stuff down, and I will hopefully only get speedier and better over time. But yeah, production not keeping up right now is hard for me to follow. They're probably taking a break too, to a degree. I don't know how the camera angles will change though, but it's not really changing a lot right now. So we're gonna skip through and just try to like, okay, cool. Now, like when it starts changing again, like I can follow a little bit easier, because at least if it changes the action on the player, I can see the bet amounts. You know, they don't have to all be displayed on screen, because like seeing the cards and the bet amounts is plenty. All right, we've got 5-handed action. Puerto is going to raise out of the SB with the ace-4 offsuit single bounty alert. He's going to get called in like every spot. JM with the 86 suited, Mom with the king-7 of the same suit. Hey, did Quan call with the jack-2 diamonds? Hard to tell. And the 5 pairs the board with the 8, and actually JM is best here with the 8-6. Backdoor straight flush draw to go with his top pair middle kicker. And JM ships that with about $150 stack size, maybe 156 it looks like. Puerto is going to call him off with the ace high, and they go once or twice, doesn't matter, yada yada, just figure it out. All right, looks like JM doubled through, got about a $500 stack now. Surprised to see them let their stack get so low, but been there actually for the first time the other day. I bought him for like 600. I kept kind of tapping off to like 600. I was like in the 700, maybe got to 800 at one point range. Like just kind of kept going lower and lower and lower. And at one point I was at like 350, 370, and it's like, oh man, I'm just gonna try and like double up from here versus like topping off again and again and again, just because it felt like at that one moment that it would be easier to kind of double up through a shorter stack. And then I think that lasted for like 2 orbits, and then I added like 600 on or whatever. All right, 2-card poker, Bad Beat Brian in the box. We got Super Eddie gonna limp from first position. Puerto on the buttons gonna call with the queen 3 offsuit. KP out of the 3B is gonna raise to 25. I thought it was 35. 35 is way better. 25 is tough there because you're gonna get a lot of action, a lot of callers out of position 5 ways. Going to the flop of ace 10 jack 2 pair helps with your open for sure. Not a ton of hands to get action from though, unfortunately for KP. I believe they're gonna get everyone to fold around to them. Hell of a time to have the 5 deuce off. Terrible time to actually have the ace 10 because you can't get any value from it, and it's a super vulnerable hand on that board. So like even when you do get action, your chance of realizing your equity is low, and your chance of having the best hand at the river while realizing your equity is also not low, but it's like it's tough on that board, you know? Whereas like if it was ace 10 3 or 7 or whatever, it's way better. All right, KP with pocket 5 middle pair third pair. Sorry. Pocket 5 third pair. I said middle pair third pair. I meant to say third pair and a gut shot. That's really what I was trying to say. Puerto with the overcard and gut shot. Quan now turning top pair with the jack 9 off. Bet 60, gonna probably get a call from KP, and then probably go check on this river here. And Quan shows KP the bad news. We got a little 6-handed action. Puerto in the straddle, it looks like. Mom will open to 4x to 5.5x with the ace 9 suited. And he's going to get action from Super Eddie with the king 3 offsuit. Wow. And from Puerto, Eddie gives Mom action. So that's just like kind of, I would say it's worthy of noting that it's not just like an Eddie thing. It's more of like an Eddie in his relationship with other people thing. Like he's going to give action to the people that give also action / that he likes. Mom will bet his top pair and nut flush draw, take it down. Straddle from Quan, double straddle from Mom. Super Eddie is going to come in with a 60 raise probably, an 80 raise with the ace 8 offsuit. 4BB for the 8. Mom is straddling UTG. It's going to start on KP with the action. They open limp the 73 suited. Super Eddie will raise over them with the jack 9 suited. And Puerto is going to cold call the KK. Wow. Trying to avoid the ace on the flop, and it does not happen. But by playing there's no way they're folding here. Yeah, I was like, by playing passively, they may like get themselves in a situation where they make a bad fold, but then I'm remembering who I am talking about. And Puerto is not going to just like fold to 1-bet for sure. Like if he barrels down, I'm sure he will. But in this exact moment, that outcome felt very likely. Now, once that 9 hits on the turn, that kind of like seals the deal for Eddie to lose the pot once he decides to not barrel it off. It's tough to barrel off turning your hand into a bluff in that kind of situation, but it's just worth noting that if he didn't turn showdown value, he might have kept betting and might have actually won the hand. My KP UTG with the ace jack suited, gonna raise to, is it on a straddle? No, because he's under the gun, so he's just gonna go 6x like last time. I think we saw him go 8x here with the 9-9 when Bruce Lee 3-bet him 4x. Super, sorry, KP bets 55 with the top pair top kicker. Super Eddie's going to look him up at least once on the Jack 6-5 two-tone. Looking him up twice. Just because KP kept it small, though. KP keeps it small. Board got a little mid, but I think you can still bet again. Wow, really milking him, huh? Really milking him. Really getting max value from Eddie by betting like, by betting, what was it on the river? That's like a really small bet. That's like 1/6 or 1/7 pot-ish, close. So very good sizing for getting max value, honestly. Like really in a situation setting and player versus a player where you're not likely to get raised simply due to the fact that you bet small, those are great bets from KP there. Those are great bets from KP. JM gonna jam with the AK suited. Super Eddie might even give him action because he is it feels like it's gotten to that point of the night where Eddie is now going to be the action player. He's going to like drive a little bit more. I can feel these tonal shifts in the game and in certain people. I'm not sure if it's because it's his game, because he's playing all day, getting a little tired, getting a little bored, or if it's because he's got a lot of money in front of him, or what it really is. But he just is looking at this moment to be a little bit more willing to gamble it up than what you would normally see from your standard Super Eddie. But we all have different modes, different gears. I don't know why people want to go. People love going twice in this game so much. I find it to be very boring. Just because when you run the hand normally, it's going to be a chop like 1 to 2% of the time. When you run the hand twice, it's going to be a chop like 60% of the time, it feels like. And that's just like not as fun or exciting. I understand that it's a way to lessen variance over time as like you're just running more instances in the same equity situation. So it doesn't affect the equity, it just affects the variance. But I don't know. I feel like variance is a part of the meta of a live game of like who gets stuck, who doubles through, who might be on winner's tilt, who might be on tilt. Super Eddie betting with the 8-8. Mom going to call him down with a 10 and win a decently sizable pot. But yeah, this is like several hands in a row going the opposite way of Eddie's direction. He's kind of slowly chipping down with each of these, mid-pair call downs and loose gamble before the flop. Triple straddle, everybody. The action's going to start on KP from the small blind. Wow, Mom gets ace on the triple straddle. Ace on the triple straddle. Super Eddie calls with the king 8. He's getting action this hand, bro. Puerto with the 64 suited. Quan folds. He's going to probably go, 200? Did Puerto raise to 80? Oh, Mom's definitely going big. What did Mom go to? What's in the pot right now? Mom just called? No way. Eddie donks out for 200 on the king 3-3. Mom is feigning, I would say, with this no, he checked down. Wow, okay, because he didn't seem like he was genuinely oh man, but he also didn't seem like he's the kind of guy to do that to Eddie, try to play him like that. The triple straddle ace, and Mom very, very graciously takes his foot off the gas, doesn't punish Eddie, doesn't punish Puerto. He realizes that he's had maybe some good variance today, and he just doesn't want to be, even though it's Eddie's game, he doesn't want to be a bad winner, a sore winner, and just take every little penny like we've talked about. He's leaving a little bit on the bone for later, leaving a little bit on the bone for other people. He's not being completely cutthroat when he has the equity to do so, which is very, very admirable, and it just kind of goes to show the type of person that Mom is, which we've already established is not only aggressive, lucky, but a very chill person. And that's the most important part too. Whenever I comment on someone's good fortune on the poker table, it's literally simply to comment it. It's just something that I've noticed because we've only talked over in the end, a very, very, very small sample of hands. So you're going to see a lot of this kind of stuff ebb and flow from every player. You're going to see swings, ups and downs, big ones too, even probably from us at a certain point, depending on how much we end up playing on these stream games. So I'm only here right now as a commentator for the most part. So don't think that whenever I call someone lucky, I'm saying that they're not skilled in any way or anything like that. I'm just commenting they are very, very skilled, very, very nice, and also they've gotten very lucky. That's not a bad thing. It's just a poker thing worth talking about. Super Eddie raising with the 99, going to take it down. All right, let's try to finish up this 11-hour broadcast. We can jump into the 4-hour one. JM raising to 20, getting a few callers. Gut shot 2 overs. He's going to probably c-bet, and he does not c-bet. Interesting. That's a missed bet, I would say, for sure. 9 high boards are hard to hit, even though it favors the opponent's range a little bit more than him. Turns 2 pair, bets it anyway. Or bets it. Sorry, turns top pair, bets it. Cool. JM with the straddle. Super Eddie's going to call. KP is not going to gamble with 70 deuce off. Checking it down here in this little tiny pot. And 10 high is going to... Oh, sorry, 10 high flush in the end will win it. Yeah, skipping through these small hands, too, is also very important for getting through a stream like this. So triple straddle on for Quan. He's got the 53-0. It looks like it's going to go effectively limped 4 ways to the flop. Mom is dominating Eddie's suits with the hearts. Puerto with the best hand pre-flop and post-flop with the king... Or sorry, with the queen... the king 4-3 with the pair of 4s, middle pair, second kicker. And for some reason... Oh, sorry, never mind. Puerto does bet. And for some reason, Mom calls. Hearns better second pair, wild. And then Quan also, I think, called with the bottom pair and backdoors. They're going to probably check it down. Mom's going to win. I mean, like, that's just like that kind of good fortune I'm talking about. Like, that's very lucky, bro, to call on that flop and then hit a jack right there. And then to have everyone else have nothing, no king, check it down and win. Like, that's fortune, you know, good fortune. It's not unreasonable. It just is what it is. So JM is, straddle, another triple with Mom this time on the button. JM is going to call with the 55. Puerto raising 120 with the 10-10. Mom will give action with the 73 suited, and JM will also see a flop, even though they've got a bit of a shorter stack. There's like a very tall order for them. Like, they really want to hit a 5 in these kind of spots because it just sucks to put in like $80 or whatever. Sorry, yeah, he put in $120, like a quarter of your stack, basically 20% of your stack, I should say, and then missing and folding, and that's tough. You just really don't have the equity not equity. So you don't have the EV, you don't have the odds, you don't have the implied equity, the implied odds to actually call there with the 5-5. It's really better to just jam right there. Look, what do these guys have? Yeah, Puerto does have the 10-10. He would have snapped him off and would have destroyed him, but it is better to probably jam there. Hope your opponent has overcards or that they just fold against Puerto raising 120. His folding range after that is probably pretty damn small to your 600 shove. So it's like, I think you really do just have to fold more often than not in those instances, unfortunately. Okay, cool. Looks like Quan takes down a small one with some aggression. Nice hand from them. They've been playing very well. They've been slowly building their stack too from their good fortune. Like, they've built up another 1K just from playing hands, and nothing crazy has gone in their favor variance wise, but they've still been building up. So like, shout out to them. They've been putting on a nice show today. A very nice show today. Looks like Puerto with the best hand here on the flop. They're going to go down to the river, and he got outturned, but then out rivers Super Eddie, who it says he won, but I guess he did. All good. Keep it going. If it's a big pot, we'll make sure we get 100% of the details right. If it's a small one, it's okay. Just keep it flowing. On the river here with 2 pair. Mom is going to snap it. Oh, he does not snap it. He snap folds. 2 pair, but it was a 4 flush, 4 straight board versus a very tight player that is not unreasonable to fold there. So they're doing $10 bomb pots now, but we are still going to be skipping these regardless. Back with the 2 card, 2, 3, 5. Straddle from JM UTG. Eddie's going to double. Puerto's going to triple. Looks like they got the straddles on now. Wow, the game's getting big and good because we are effectively at this current point playing 2, 3, 5, 10, 20, 40. Those have been the stakes for the last few orbits. Very high stakes out of nowhere, The unlimited straddle really does allow the game to blow up out of nowhere. There's also an optional button straddle for $100, which people can take, and that can make the game kind of just explode out of nowhere as well. So you just got to be very ready to play some really big pots with really low SPRs just completely out of the blue, even though you've been playing deep stack the whole time. 6 ways to a 5-4 deuce flop. It looks like KP with the top 2 pair, but Puerto is going to take a shot at it with the 2 overcards and a gutter. It's going to probably fold around to KP. Super Eddie's going... Wait. I'm confused right now. Either cards got misread or KP misread his hand. I'm going to guess cards got misread, and he didn't actually have 5-4. Super Eddie is going to call with the open-ended straight draw, which is in a weirdly dominated position right now versus 10 high. In an oddly dominated position, bro. Puerto's going to check back 10 high and win. Puerto's going to check back 10 high and win with a better 6. That is actually amazing. Now, we've seen before, this is actually the second time, we've seen Puerto has a, what's the word? He's willing to check back a bad hand and lose the hand. That's worth noting because when players like that then do end up betting on the river and betting big, their range is so, while of course it's polar like a lot of people's will be, it's so weighted towards value because a lot of their actual garbage is going in their checking range. It's not going in their betting range. So even though they miss, even though they have 10 high, even though their odds of winning the pot are very low, it's still very difficult for them to, show up up with bluffs when they don't actually put them in the aggression slot. They put them in the passive slot. And a lot of players are not going to do that. So it's just worth noting the people that will and will not do it. What was this action pre-flop? This is really weird. So, another 40 straddle. So, yeah, we're playing 20-40. Puerto raises to 220 with the ace king, and Super Eddie just giving action, bro. And his stack is dwindling, man. He was at like 2,500, 3K, I think, at one point, and now he's at about half of that. So I do not like to see my homie super gamble, but when it's your game and you are looking to play it your way, I can't say anything else about it. You do you. But I do like seeing good, solid poker. I will not lie. That is like kind of what I'm here for. Bet on the turn. On the river, he's probably going to go check, and Eddie will win if I had to guess. With the domination coming through. Little luck for Eddie. Give action, get luck. That is the way the poker gods favor our little game here. Looks like the straddles are on again. Single, double, triple. 40 on the button, starting with KP out of the SB. You got a little king six offsuit. We're gonna just flat. Okay. Seeing all the action, they want to get involved. I don't blame them necessarily. It's just kind of dangerous because a lot of time people are gonna come along with like a solid hand like Quan here with the ace five suit. Probably gonna raise. They're pretty aggressive and they seem smart enough. They seem capable enough. They realize that it's the modern day, not computer hand, but you know what I mean. So they are, not surprised at all to pounce on this with the ace five suited, effectively making it like 6.5 BB, like just about that. KP deciding, he had 10-9 suited. It said before he had a different hand. It said before he had. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh, JM with the K6. My bad. I read that wrong entirely. Yeah, I was very surprised to see KP open call with the King 6 offsuit. So that makes a ton of sense. Even then, that's, also dangerous. Also dangerous. Just like same concept, as people are going to treat it as a relatively aggressive situation, I'm just going to raise with their good hands, and those raises are going to be very big, and you're going to have a very small SPR, and you're not going to be able to play the hands like suited connectors and such. And he's got like $20 worth of chips hiding under his rail, and he can't even see that. It's funny because this rail is like very tall, so chips will easily get stuck under it in that regard. It's actually very funny playing on this table where the rail is like so big for the LED effect that you can see between the rail and the felt. It might look like just like reflection or whatever, but that's a light going on. I mean, I guess it's obvious it's a light, but still, just because it's white, it looks like it's kind of just like a white part of the table, All right, Super Eddie with the top pair, second nut flush draw versus Puerto's bottom pair, and he turns trips. Turns trips. What a turn card. Puerto saying, yeah, you got that 4 last time. I'm going to get the 3 this time. And I think they said something like check it down. And Eddie ended up not getting there. Puerto has the top pair. And it's not like Eddie would have probably called a huge bet on the river anyway. But maybe something went off in his spidey sense. Maybe he thought he was beat to a better king. Maybe he thought that he actually hit the 3. Hitting the 3 is a very weird read. So he probably thought he was just behind kicker-wise. KP, first position, is going to raise 45. JM is going to flat on the button with the ace jack suited. It's always like fun to see like what players opt to right there. Like I definitely opt into flatting there a lot, but a lot of players are going to 3-bet the ace jack suited. So it's just kind of like good to know who will, who won't. Excuse me. New player in on seat number 4, my preferred seat. Don't ask me why. I just feel like I've had good results, and it's just like a mental thing, a preference thing, but there's really no actual strategy or logic behind it. So action is on. Skip ahead. We got a 10-7-6 flop, 6 ways. Super Eddie with the flopped nuts with the open-ended straight flush draw, betting and getting action from Puerto, Quan, and KP. Quan with the top 2 pair. Lucky for Eddie that board pairing card does not complete one of Quan's 2 pairs. And now we are going to see a bet from who? Eddie's just playing nice, I guess you can say. I think he flopped the nuts and just wanted to see it. Just wanted to win the pot. Maybe didn't want to lose the pot. Everyone plays poker for different reasons. Whereas like my reason is obviously to make money, first and foremost. So like from an EV, like my decisions and my actions are going to always be derived from EV, I'm of course not going to, like I said, try and be the absolute biggest nit in the world and like never give action and this and that. Like you do what you can, but I'm not the casino, I'm not there to donate. I'm really not. I'm there to chill. I'm there to have fun. I'm there to interact with people. I will treat the service staff well. I'll tip the dealers. I'll tip basically everyone I can. I'll hang out with people. I'll give my trinkets. I'll talk. I'll this, all that, and I'll play cards, but I'm going to play to the best of my ability. And a lot of that does involve pretty I don't know how to word it, because I don't want to say solid play as in like I'm such a good player, but it involves not really getting out of line, very often. I'll put it that way. Whereas a lot of these players, all they want is for you to get out of line. Here's where I'm happy to get out of line. I don't mind straddling. If we're doing the triple, double, quadruple straddle, I'll obviously happily partake. But like I guess where I would kind of say draw the line for that is like I'm probably not doing the $100 button straddle. I'm not really looking to just gamble to that capacity. It just is such a huge EV give up that you really have to have kind of A, deep pockets, and B, be willing to handle those swings. And at this exact moment, that's just not the life I'm looking to live. Noah is in, brand new player, 7 high board, and they're going to get some big action going. Super Eddie's got the ace king high with the NFD. I feel Eddie's gonna hit this hand. Yeah, I don't know how to word it, man. And Noah bets on the river. Eddie just shows the hand. It doesn't even say call. It's like, yeah. So I just hit that, and that just like is what it is. Pretty optimistic shove from Noah there, bro. Seems like he just didn't want to check and fold. I would check and fold, or like bet bigger on the turn so you can like not have to have that decision. Like just bet bigger on the flop, jam the turn, and then you're good to go. But yeah, that's a very optimistic shove on the river, because you're really only going to get called by hands that are better than you, and you're going to get ace high to fold a lot. So what you're effectively doing is, like, if you check, you're going to get the answer you want. Like, they're going to shove on you and you're beat. And I guess sometimes you, like, ace high jammed on you there, I guess. Quan, it's been a while since they picked up an ultra premium, so I felt bad. So it's been like a full 20 minutes or so. All right, so they got their ace king suited now. Gonna raise out of the BB to 45, it looks like. Folds around to new player in seat number 7. I think we're gonna say Robert is their name. And Quan will take it. Oh no, sorry. Super Eddie will give action with the 74 offsuit, and he will get there on the flop. Check, 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 and he will river triples. Wow. Eddie is on a roll, on a run from up to down to back up again to 3.1K. Shout out to Super Eddie. Let's go. Like sometimes people say this like jokingly, but truly, literally, without any sarcasm whatsoever, it absolutely could not happen to a nicer guy. So you'd love to see Eddie getting a positive swing of variance in his favor. And speaking of, he's going to open to 25. Call. JM's going to jam in 1080. And Eddie's in a calling mood, bro. I wouldn't be surprised if he gave him action here. He's in a calling mood today. I would not be surprised if he gave him action. JM said, I have a really good hand. I don't even know if he wants the action. I think he doesn't even mind picking up the pot right now. Folds around to KP, who's probably going to let him have it, expecting, what's his name, JM to actually show the goods. And he had it. He got there. Or he had it. He gets the pot. But Eddie would have gotten there ace on the flop. But shout out to JM. Nice answer. All right. Puerto with the king 10. Robert sharing the king 10. But a couple of limps. Sorry, one limp. Puerto opening. Quant's going to put in a speculative call with the 84 offsuit. Super Eddie will probably give some action because he's in an action-given mood at the moment. We're going to go for... Oh, sorry. I skipped that. We were already 4 ways to the flop. 9, 4, 6, two-tone. Hits nobody. Still kind of favors the... Really, favors Super Eddie 30% and Quan. Oh, Quan is the pair. I'm surprised Eddie had so much equity. I guess double gun? No, single gutter. Backdoor? Interesting. I don't know. Maybe because of folded cards. I'm just kind of surprised that Eddie has this much equity on the turn, or on the flop. Puerto now picks up a good chunk with the king of clubs, 10 overcard as well to go with his current holding, and I think he's just going to take it down, right? Takes it down. Shout out to Puerto. All right. 8-handed full table, 9-handed, sorry, 8-handed, yeah. Basically full table. So we got 3-bet from Rob, sorry, was it? Super is going to open UTG to 3x. Puerto is going to call, and Robert's going to put in the aggressive 3-bet with the 42 suited. Wow. Mom will flat their button. They are not going to let that go very easily. Super Eddie out of the UTG will be cold calling, or not cold call, will be defending his open, and Puerto is going to come along as well, getting great pot odds. Jack 6 offsuit, not a very great hand though. Oh, but they do have the single button, and they flop trips. Shout out to Puerto with the top trips. No kicker. They're going to probably, they do check. I was going to say they're probably going to bet because they are a decently aggressive player, but I guess checking to the razor makes a lot of sense. Check, call. Check, call is nice. ace from Puerto, because like they don't really have a hand that wants to kind of. I mean, they want to get all in, but the hands that they want to get all in against are going to bet for them. You know, like the aces, the kings, the queens are going to bet all in for them. So Robert, knowing he cannot win with 4 high, is going to put out what, 300, 350, 250, 200. No, what do you say? 250. Yeah, it looks like 250. That is such an aggressive bet. He picked up 350 at first, and then Puerto is going to smooth call the homie. I guarantee it. That's just his style. Smooth call the homie. No reason to jam on him. Did he really? Come on, man, proving me wrong. Proving me wrong, man. I would have loved to see a call check on the river by Puerto. Would have been so nice. Would have been so nice because he just like, once again, the hands that you're not going to miss any value, bro. He's going to jam king, king, ace, ace, queen, queen on the river. If he has a better jack, he has a better jack. He's probably not betting 10, 10, 9, 9 this strong. If he is, it is what it is, you know? And like maybe you can get some value by jamming on those hands, but maybe he also bets those on the river too. But he's just, if he has air and he wants to bet against you, like that's like the real thing. But he's brand new to the table. Maybe he's never played against him before. I can see the cards. I completely understand, and I don't want to make it seem like it's like the most obvious slam dunk thing in the world. But I definitely do like the call there on that type of board. Like we kind of have it like so locked up, and it's so hard to hit, and it's so easy to have air. Like, you know, even though aces, kings, and queens are going to value bet, like he still does have ace, king, and ace, queen, and ace, jack in his range. And if he's betting the turn, the odds of him betting the river are like decent, you know. Where if he checks the turn, then of course you lead the river. All right. So who was Robert again? Robert is the dude who just reloaded. My bad. Homie, like aggressive homie. So so straddle from Puerto. Robert raised the 40. Probably could have raised bigger given that last hand where he just like kind of was super aggressive, make it look like he's steaming, tilting, all that kind of stuff. He's gonna go 5 ways to the flop, 2 suited 5s, an offsuit ace, and a jack 10 suited from Puerto. Wow, 5-4 suited on the flop from mom is going to get that straight draw, or that nut straight right off the flop. That makes sense too. You know, it's been like a solid 15 minutes since mom's had the nuts. So you don't want to go too long before the favored players have their big hands. Make sure mom and Quan keep getting the nuts. It's just so funny how like the streaks work that way, you know? It's so unbelievably funny. How disgusting is it, bro, when you get bet, call, raise. Wait, KP jams? It's a weird one. I think he probably thinks he just has like that part of the board locked up and he's up against like overcards and or maybe like a pair. Oh my god, dude, KP is in such bad shape right now. Luckily for Robert, all this action allows him to get away from the hand. That is bonkers. Did they go 3 times? Hilarious, dude. 3, 5, 3. I guess instead of being the anything goes player for me, like I'll go once, twice, whatever you want to do. I gotta just start going once all the time just to balance out all this multi running. Once all the time. New player in seat 1 now. All right, we've got, looks like back to no straddle. We're playing regular poker once again. These games are like being on the ocean, and sometimes the waves are just like crashing down on you, and sometimes it's still water, you know, nice sunny day, you hear the birds chirping, and other times it's just a complete storm, a complete and utter mess. So prime hand does not scan their cards, and they raise/called versus Super Eddie's 3-bet out of the BB with the Queen 10 flopping an open ender. Noah's got nothing, gutter, Puerto's got middle pair, and the mystery player who has maybe never played on the stream before is going to put in 55, get called by Eddie, get some action, but he's only got 200 behind. It looks like Eddie turns top pair, and that's going to be, oh, never mind. I thought they were going to get in with it. Eddie bets $25. Homie jams, and he has 10 as well. They both are going to chop it up. Bit of a dangerous spot because he could easily be value betting with hearts there, but of course you are not going to be folding because the odds of him just kind of like having some, he could have nothing. He could have hearts or he could have nothing, and then he could have what he had there, which is just going for either really he's going for value probably, but it's half value, half like get someone to maybe fold a 9. Probably not, but maybe. You would need to have so much more money for someone to even consider folding there. Like that's really the only part about that. All right, 4 ways. Small hand. Sorry, what was it looks like it checks to no and he bets. No, I'm sorry. The pot's just hard to keep up with when these hands aren't following everything. So Puerto wins. Nice hand, Puerto. All right, 1 more hour left of this broadcast, and then we have the second part of this, which is only 4 hours. So we are like 66% done with the actual stream/day itself. They played for 16 hours in one day. That's crazy. I think Eddie told me that he played the entire time, which is just bonkers, bro. He has been there the whole time, which is crazy. Not really taking any breaks either. You know, maybe like a little bit here and there with him and Bruce Lee switching out in the beginning, but like for the most part, he's been here the whole time. All right, heads up on the turn. 233 in the middle. Single liner to the straight. 3 of a flush. Puerto with 2 pair. Mom gonna check back top pair and lose to the 2. All right, 8-handed action. Jam's going to raise to 20. No, he's not. That doesn't make any sense. He's got no cards, bro. It's tough when these graphics don't match up, but okay, so looks like Noah raised to 25 and Super Eddie 3-bet to 50, I guess, with the Queen 3 off. Prime Hand still doesn't want to scan his cards. That's typical new player stuff. They have Ace King. They are going to chop. All right, Strata from JM. Production, tell Brian to tell him to scan his cards. Production, because I think he literally doesn't know. Because he's putting his hand in the same exact spot every time, and it's not where it should be. All right, full-handed. Puerto and Robert, both with the Ace Queen offsuit. Red Ace, Black Queens. JM with the 7-7. Prime Hand scanning his hand. Thank you, sir, with the Ace 8 offsuit. Quan with the King 10 offsuit. Actually has a decent bit of equity simply because his hand is not blocked, and he's dominating Mom. So what was the race? So Robert, Puerto calls, Robert opens, Quan 3-bets on the button with 2 Broadway cards. Actually a very solid play. Oh, this is hilarious, bro. I was just gonna say this. It's actually a very solid play in situations where players are going to under 4-bet. But that's actually wild that came into my brain and this actually happened. Because I was truly expecting Robert to call most of the time here. But maybe they've noticed that Quan is a bit more of an aggressive player and they are just going to apply the pressure and maybe try to take full advantage of Puerto being in the pot. So really, really nice play from Robert, who comes back over the top for pure value. I can just sense that this is for pure value. They really, they're not saying, I'm not saying pure value as in they want Quan to 5-bet jam, but they don't mind when they call probably, and they are hoping Puerto calls. And so now Puerto is going to be putting in $500 pre-flop with a hand that he open limped with. Good job, Robert. Good job, Robert. If he knew that they were matching hands right now, that would be very funny. This kind of board favors Puerto. If he bets too small, Puerto's just going to flat. There's no reason to bet this small against a player like Puerto. They are going to float you every single time, and you're never going to know where you are on the turn. Really? This dude proved me wrong twice in a row. Twice in a row. I thought for sure he was going to check call and then check the river, and then I also thought for sure that he was going to call on that flop too. And both of those instances favored Robert. So nice hand, Robert. After coming in and trying to bluff into the trips, he's gotten some good variance back himself. Very aggressive player as well. So always cool, always good to see. So no straddle on this hand. Eddie raises under the gun to 20 with the Queen 7 suited. Puerto calls with 6-5 off. Quan calls with 4-3 off. Mom calls on the button with Queen 4 of hearts. And I believe we're going 4 ways. Eddie first to act on a 10-9-5 rainbow board. And that looks like a bottom pair for Puerto is going to be the best hand. He is going to bet with it on the 10-high flop, hoping that everyone missed, and he just takes it down. Nice hand, Puerto. He is certainly a bet when he hits Oklahoma bet type player, where it's just maybe not the best logic or reason every time, but he's never letting people get free cards against him, which is certainly an attribute of a player. It's hard to just kind of realize your equity when someone's always betting their bottom pairs, their middle pairs, their top pair, no kicker. Very interesting style to play against. So we've got a raise from Robert to 40 with the 98 suited. Then it says all in from JM. It's not true. So I think that we're going just 6 ways here. Open ender for Robert, but now trip 7s for Super Eddie on the turn. Check around. Check the Eddie's going to bet, then call from the open ender, call from JM. Oh, they say he's all in, but he's not. Sorry. So he's just got the gutter. And then quads from Eddie. Quads from Eddie. He's had a straight flush and quads in one session. It's hilarious, bro. Straight flush, quads, has won some very insane pots. Tipped huge. What a roller coaster of a day for our man. JM with the AA. Mom's gonna open it up. Looks like Robert opened it up. UTG. Mom's gonna 3-bet the HJ to 65. Prime hand's gonna cold call with the king queen suited, and JM is gonna move in with the 250-ish stack and probably get called in many spots, Loki. Eddie has ace 8 offsuit. He's gonna let it go. Puerto's gonna fold. Robert's gonna get out of there. Mom will definitely call, and this prime hand gentleman will probably also call because he's getting really good price, bro. Does he also go all in too? Yeah, he's just if I'm gonna put in this much of my stack, I might as well go all in. So prime hand's actually in an okay position versus Mom's hand to actually win the side pot between him and Mom, so that he kind of doesn't really lose any money throughout the hand, which is basically what happened right here. Mom lost that to both players, and then Mom hits on the turn on the next hand. So I think this is so much math, bro. When they go twice, this is why I just think it's so dumb, bro. 3 ways, side pot, chop it up, this and that. Just so much work for the dealer. Make all the other players wait. and it's for $250, effective all in, $400 for the other guy. Like, it's not even half of a buy-in. Like, they start off at, like, I think $1,000 cap before they end up going to match the stack later on in the night. But it's just such a small amount. Like, to run it twice, bro, the pot should have to be at least like 1,500 2K. At least 1,500. Like, there should be a minimum in the pot to be able to run it twice. That's my opinion on the situation. All right, 3 ways to the flop. Everyone's got big cards. Flop is bringing low cards. Although Puerto now has a flush draw, and he just bets 300 into. Oh, I guess there was maybe it was a three bet pot. All right, looks like we're about 6-handed at the moment. Mom straddles UTG. Quan is going to. Oh, sorry. Eddie is going to call other direction. I'm reading it backwards. Robert raises out of the BB to 50 with the king queen suited. Very standard play. Mom calls. Eddie calls. Puerto calls. We're gonna go 4 ways to the flop with a lot of people sharing cards. 10, 6, deuce, rainbow board. No one connects. 9 on the turn. Robert is still in the lead, and they river a nut straight. Do they see that they river the nut straight? Because they just checked immediately. Mom bet. Super Eddie calls. And Robert, do you see you have the nuts? Okay, now they raise. It goes fold and probably fold. I think Eddie called with king eye. And Robert doesn't show to keep the veil on. You don't want to give people too much if you are playing purely for profit. 5 ways, a whole bunch of baloney in these hands right now. Gonna check around. Queen on the turn. King 6 deuce flop. And who bet? Puerto bets with the gutter. Okay, Mom's gonna call with the second pair. Robert's gonna call with the top pair. Going on to the river. River deuce. Check. Puerto checks down to nothing. We've seen that several times. Very good to just know. All right, dealer switch. Looks like we got a new player in. JM called from first position with ace king offsuit. That's very odd. Makes next to no sense unless they expect some big action behind them. They're just going to jam over, which would make sense, but okay. But instead, everyone limps. And Robert is in with the middle pair and flush draw, which is pretty much the best hand at the moment, equity-wise. Super Eddie's got the top pair, though. Some pretty decent chance to come to take the lead at some point. So Robert's going to hit the flush on the turn. Super Eddie does have the queen diamonds redraw, but it is a slim percentage at the moment. Robert with 87% equity. Heads up to the river of ace of clubs. Bad card for... Actually, it's a great card for Eddie, who should not be betting that on the river. I'm very curious why he bets that. Ace king turning his hand into a bluff, maybe, but he bets small though. That was more of a I'm having fun kind of bet, I guess. Also interesting / curious to note that Robert does not go for thin value on the raise, as it's hard to get called by a significantly worse hand there, and when the opponent comes back over the top of you, it's just such a vomit situation. Like, you really don't even want to expose yourself to it. I completely understand that logic from them. We've gone 3 ways to the flop here. Must have been 3-bet pre-flop. Yeah, 3-bet pre from Noah. JM calls, probably raised 20 then called. Super Eddie called with the 7 deuce suited. King high flop for JM with stop pair, good kicker. Noah has a double gutter here and a backdoor flush draw, but they only have about 2 hundo. So now on this turn, they are going to jam. Beautiful turn card to get, man. Like, they can represent the ace. They have an additional, they picked up the flush draw outs, and they take it down. Nice hand, Noah. Beautiful turn card and a great bet. All right, Robert with an ace king offsuit. Mom is going to be on the button, though, with the king jack offsuit to contest them. So Robert raises, Quan calls, Mom calls, Prime calls. Johnny, new player in seat 2, is going to call. We're going to go 5 ways to a queen 9 deuce 2-tone. Looks like no one's really hit any. Oh, sorry, Johnny does hit top pair with no kicker on the queen 6. Out of the 2-seat, new player with some positive variance for them right out the gate. Mom is going to call with their overcard and gut shot, and they'll probably fold on brick turns, as in turns where they brick out. Now, when check 2, wait, did they bet? It's hard to tell. It looks like they bet, and Mom folded. That's what it looks like. Pretty aggressive bet when that turn card comes in. Oh, looks like Mom is out. And Chill Jack, Mr. Boat, is in. Wow, Chill Jack picking up right where Mom's luck would have left off with a suited ace jack. Noah with a king 10 of the same suit. Puerto also has spades. So the entire royal flush is taken up pre-flop. All right, so Robert raises. Chill Jack is going to come in with a 3-bet hand number 1. Noah's going to cold call with his suited Broadway. Puerto is going to cold call with his suited queen. And Robert is now going to overcall, given that he has great odds. And we've got a king high flop for Noah. He's only got $200 behind. Probably going to just go with it. 500 in the middle at this point. Everyone checks around. Noah jams, and I think that's going to... No, Puerto hits the 6 on the turn. Puerto hits the 6 on the turn. Crazy. That's a bad beat for Noah for sure. Definitely a cooler situation, bad beat type feel, you know? Bad beat type feel. Oh, and he hits the king on the river for the second run out. Wow, double bad beat, bro. Chopping it up, going twice. That's a little crazy. That's a little crazy. Wow. It's like, I'm lucky. No, I'm lucky. No, I'm lucky. All right, Puerto with a single button raises and gets Jack heads up. Puerto with top and bottom pair. He's going to go check. It's going to go check, check. Jack will now hit his straight on the turn, but Puerto has an open-ended straight flush draw to go with his top 2 pair. Chill Jack raises to 300 over Puerto's 100 bet. Puerto's definitely going to call. Snap calls that. Easy play. And we go off to the big river here. 6 on the river. Puerto fills up. Puerto fills up. How much does he bet? He bets 500. Chill Jack snap calls and sees the bad news. Wow. How lucky is that, bro? Mom gets up when he's about to get cooler, too. I mean, get out of here. If he was in that seat, that would happen to him. And wow, crazy hand. The luck continues even when you're off the table. Nice hand, Puerto. He has been playing a lot today, and he definitely deserves to hit a big hand like that. That's exactly what I was talking about earlier. When you need to get really, really lucky, while your opponent gets really lucky, and you just happen to get them, you know? Nice hand, Puerto. And on a 2-button situation now. Now they're in with the Jack-6 suited hand that they just won a big pot with. Or they chopped, I guess, yeah. All right, prime hand's going to jam. It's going to probably take Puerto out of the running of the bounty situation. He's actually probably just going to take it down, truth be told. He's got king high, backdoor straight outs, and the nut flush draw. Nice hand to prime. All right, we've got a straddle under the gun and a double straddle from Jack. The action is going to continue. Jack's another great guy. Very, very nice person. Love having them around. Their name is a little ironic because they can definitely get tilted. So despite being chill, and they are very chill. Low-key, it's actually very funny. Like you wouldn't think someone as chill as Jack would get tilted, you know? Prime with the king jack suited. Johnny has the queen Puerto with the ace jack offsuit. He's got about 400 in front of them, looking to make a double up. Puerto's probably going to call. He already called 77. I can't picture. Hey, he proved me wrong a 3rd time, bro. Proved me wrong a 3rd time. Wow. Kwan's going to let it go as well. Makes sense with the 8 high. And sometimes my read of people is just not there. And yeah, it's actually funny. Puerto's proved my expectation of his actions incorrect the last 3 times. Is that 2? No. It's just a chop. That's a chop. Another chop on a small pot. Super Eddie's going to raise to 50 with the 99. Robert is going to call with the king jack offsuit. 7-4-3 flop. Eddie bets. Robert folds. Takes it down, I assume. Yep. All right, next hand. Kwan with the ace queen offsuit. JM with the king queen offsuit. Super Eddie with the jack 10 suited is going to put in the very small weird 3-bet to 60. Don't like that personally. Kwan might actually 4-bet here. Yeah, he's going for the raise. It makes sense because like nothing so far really makes a ton of actionable sense. Plus Eddie is playing relatively loose right now, and Puerto's with the 5-2 suited, which does not count for the bounty game unless they had suited on today. Normally it's offsuit. So either I'm mistaken or Puerto is just going ultra gamble mode, or the card reader's got something wrong right now. Look at that flop for Puerto. 600 from Kwan. Puerto is going to snap him off. He's probably out of the hand. Red cards, black board. He is calling him? Why, dude? I wouldn't even want to put in this much effort, let alone the money. Look at all the chips he has to assemble for this. Why, dude? Yeah, don't call, Eddie. Just fold, please, bro. It hurts to watch you do that. Don't do that, please. Thank you. All right, Puerto. Oh, okay. So Puerto just snaps him off. Turn is brilliant for him, bro. It gives him the straight. He still has the flush draw. Kwan reasonably checks to Puerto, who's going to probably bet because we've seen him do this before where he has a big hand. He just kind of like bets, you know, a little bit of a Texas style situation, or really more Oklahoma style again, because he's going to bet smaller. He'll probably bet smaller, like not an all in 700. Wow. I'm sorry. How much is in the pot? 2,200 is in the pot. He bets 1/3. That is crazy. Is Kwan going to call? Kwan calls? He's imploding right now, bro. He's imploding right now. For Quan's sake, I hope he doesn't hit an ace or a queen on the river. For Quan's sake, that's wild of a call, bro. I know it's just 1/3 pot. Now he jams. Great jam. Great jam from Puerto. Bro, and like how many times have we seen Puerto check back nothing? A lot. He'll check back with like 8, 9 of spades here. Jack 10 of spades here. He will check that thing back, bro. So I can't believe he's considering calling him here, man. This is an actual to go from like whatever he bought him for 1K ish to like up to 5K to if he calls this, he's down to he folded. If he called, he would have been down to like 16 or so. Wild, bro. Wild. Puerto on a run. 5K stack for the man. Look at that, bro. Good for him. Once again, been playing all day. Deserves some positive variance. That turn call was a little wild though from Quan. Very, very speculative turn call. All right, back to the 2 cards. What do we got going? Okay, so limp pot so far. No straddle is on, and we've got new. So Eddie is leaving, I suppose. Okay, he told me to play the whole day. Slash, I mean, he's been playing the whole day so far, but this is definitely a whole day session, bro. If you only play 11 out of 16 hours, like so, I'll give you the whole day thing. Oh, this is crazy too. So like, this is like a nice little time to. This is a little swap, and then we can swap the recording as well because it looks like we are at the end. We've got done 11 full hours this full stream. Holy cow! I can't believe that we've covered this whole thing, and it's actually been like easy, fun, and I really enjoy doing this. So thank you, anyone who's listening to my voice right now. Thank you so much for being here because this is a crazy project for anyone to do. So let alone like that, and then for someone to want to watch it, listen to it, be with me here. Thank you, love you all. Really appreciate you guys because we are going to finish this up. We only have 4 hours left on the full stream, and that means that we're 75% of the way done. So this is where I kind of skipped to before. Puerto is on the turn betting 135 with the top pair. Johnny has the unknown holding, and he's going to let it go. So it's all good. All right, new player in seat 5. I believe it said Liddell. I think I've met them once before, and we will get to commentate on their play on the next recording. We will be right there. We are back. New recording, new action, new browser, new video. For some reason, the browser that I was playing the last video through just stopped working altogether. So we're going to just keep it running. But I do believe that we didn't lose any time. So Eddie's still kind of like finding his way out, saying GG to Puerto and paying respects to his given up seat. So I believe we've got a straddle from Liddell and a double straddle from Puerto. Robert UTG will not put on the triple straddle, notably. They will open, though, to 70. Juan will cold call with the Queen 8 suited. They may be a little tilted after that last hand, that big hand with Puerto. Johnny now with the 8th deuce suited. Might even be thinking about a jam play or something like that, you know? A lot of money out there. Puerto's going to call out of the double straddle with the ace 4 offsuit. We're going to go 3 ways to a 10-10-6 rainbow board. Robert is going to c-bet with his 2 overcards, backdoor straight draw, and take down the pot. We've got a single straddle situation going on. The bounty hand is in Quan's possession. They raise it up to $45. Chill Jack going to cold call the 55. Out of the HJ, Prime is going to call with Queen 10 suited. Folds over to Puerto, who's going to call with the 10-6 suited. And that's a hell of a flop for Prime when they have the flopped straight and gut shot straight flush draw. That is a hell of a hand. Puerto with the open-ended straight draw, drawing pretty slim in this spot here. They are drawing just to the chop or running, or I guess just sit. Yeah, no running, nothing, just the chop. They're drawing just to the chop. Prime goes all in. Puerto calls ass. They're probably going to. Oh, they really chop it up. He gets 3/4. Puerto gets 3/4. Wins 1. Oh, wait, no. He has queen high flush. My bad. Pure double for Prime. I seen that Puerto got there, but forgot that Prime had it onto the queen high. All right. It looks like a 0 straddled hand, folded around, or limped around, I should say, to Puerto, who raises to 25 out of the 3rd blind. Going to get 4 callers here. We've got an ace, jack, 7 two-tone board. We're looking at a decent chunk of equity for Noah with the bottom 2 pair here. Puerto with the second best hand and the backdoor nut flush draw to kind of go with that. Now, Johnny's got middle pair and he's realized that he's got some equity, but he's probably not in the best situation. Noah's going to jam. Puerto's going to probably call. And we got a pretty small pot. We got a one-time run out. Thank you guys. Jeez. Thank you for running at once. Really appreciate that. Lots to skip through. More poker to talk about. That's what I'm here for. All right. Quan only calls with Jack Jack. Wait. They got the graphics wrong. There's no wait. Quan is only. Did I miss some hands? Where did Quan lose all his money to? We might have lost some hands in translation, y'all, between the two videos. Because I don't remember seeing Quan go down to $700 from 5K. We've only been watching for 8 minutes. Were they at that to start the video? Oh, I'll come right back to the 8-minute mark. Let me see his stack, bro. Move, chill, Jack. Yeah, he did. Between the videos, he lost it because he was still at his 3K. What happened? Was the graphics wrong before, maybe? I don't know. That's really weird. Back around the 8-minute mark. He was up to about 5K, right? That's what it said at one point, unless it was inaccurate. All right, we've got a chill jack raised to 45. Noah just calls on the button with queen, and now Quan is only going to call two. This hand could have gotten completely out of control pre-flop, but instead we got a 5-way situation. Chill jack with top pair now betting a hundy. Noah calls, Puerto calls with the bottom pair, Quan calls with his overpair, and Jack has no idea where the hell he's at right now. Looking around like, I don't know. That's why check. And then bottom pair does not fill through. I think Noah's still got the best hand. Yep, checking it down with the queen. Could have gotten very crazy pre-flop. I mean, it's kind of funny. Noah effectively doubles up right there. Like, he really won about as much as if he kind of just got all in pre with the jack and won based on that flop bet and how many people called. Jenny with the sandwiches. Shout out to Jenny. Makes the best sandwiches in the casino. All right, we've got a straddle from Chill Jack. Gonna get a bunch of limpers. Johnny with the unknown holding. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players on a King Jack 9 rainbow board. Let's see. We got top and bottom pair for Robert. And now just a couple gut shots around this and that. Top pair for Liddell turned. So they're probably going to stick around for at least a single bet. Robert bet out with his second and fourth pair. It would be a conservative fold, but like, it's not like the most unreasonable thing. I guess it is the most unreasonable thing to fold that top pair on that turn. It just doesn't feel like great, calling, because like, you got absolutely no kicker. You're calling there to hope to either hit a deuce or to hit checks. You want everyone to check in just to win, You really don't want to see any more action. Nice hand from Robert. Prime with the 7-7 under the gun. Gonna make it 15. Noah's gonna 3-bet, it looks like. It's at 3x from the hijack with the suited king. Pretty aggressive. Fold around to Prime, who's gonna give the flat, I'm sure. Take a flop heads up. 5, deuce, 3. Check call from Prime with the pocket pair. Noah's got top pair, decent kicker at this point. This might actually go check. Another value bet from Noah. He's getting called down. Check on the river there. Just a thin bet, but you know what? He's going for value against like ace king, ace queen, ace jack, ace 9, not ace 10 at that point, ace 9, 8, 7, 6, like all the hands that have an ace and a wheel draw and or gut shot with the 6 in that case. I guess this 6 is also a gut shot, but you know what I mean? Like the non-wheel gut shot. Okay, we've got fold, call. Makes it 20. Robert makes it 20 on the button with the jack 9. Oh, we got a whole bunch of garbage hands in here. 10 queen with a flush draw flop. Doesn't look like much action going on here. Open-ended for Robert, who's going to see bet and probably just take it down. Very nice, sir. Very nice. Noah destroying the sandwich. You love to see it. Respect, bro. Crush that thing. Leave no prisoners. But you don't want to get all loosey-goosey at the poker table eating a sandwich. So this is some legendary advice here. Noah's might be getting loosey-goosey here, eating a sandwich. Let's see. Homie takes a sandwich, takes a stack, and he's like, I'm out. I'll see y'all. Goodbye. Nah, Noah's got a real hand here. He raised it up with a real hand here. He did not call. I don't know why it says call. There's much more than 17 on the flop. I think it's like 3 ways. He raised it like 30 or 40 pre. Wow, bottom set for Johnny. And Noah's got nothing to really give him action with, but he's still gonna double barrel though on a good turn card for him. Very good turn card. Liddell gonna go with the seat switch from 5 to 1. Interesting. It's interesting who has their own preferred seats in this and what they are. I would way rather have the 5 seat than the 1 seat. Johnny check calling, and he's gonna probably go for a cute little check on the river as well. I don't think Johnny's got $500 in chips, dude. These graphics have been way off tonight, but it's all good. Did he jam? He jammed. People have such a fear of, and Eddie's coming back in. That's why. Makes sense. On multiple regards, that he said that he played all day, and I was like, that's not really all day, but yeah, now it's all day. He's coming back in for sure. Wow. Robert is going to take his stack and bounce. Looks like he's got about a little 4K-ish, 5K-ish. Played very well, very aggressive. There's so many chips. Not like dollars-wise, like, yeah, it's a lot of money, but it's just like, damn, it's like physically so many chips. All right, heads up pot. Puerto versus Johnny. Nope, no heads up nothing. And another seat switch. All right, we got some musical chairs going right now. You don't see as much seat switching in the streamed games. I feel like it's just what's the way to word it? It's just not as done as much as like the public, but I guess it's like because like there's usually more of like an assigned kind of seat position, like a preferred seat, preferred this, preferred that. But I guess as the seats become open, it's reasonable to just switch. On other streams though, you just don't you usually see more like assigned seating, I would say. But I guess when you have like alternates and such coming in, it's kind of like do what you want. A whole bunch of nothing right here. Oh, but nothing beats nothing. Nice bet from Liddell with the best hand technically, but he by betting you do prevent yourself from getting bluffed, you know. And Jack is absolutely the kind of player who will bluff you off your hand. So that's a nice like it's a weird way to word it. It's like a bluff prevention bet, but I definitely like that hand. All right, Noah with the queen. Let's see what they can get out of it. Single straddle from Liddell under the gun, folds around to JM. Noah's gonna put in the raise to 45, 55. Hard to tell without the graphics. Going off of just the chips from a mile away. 45, I heard Brian say. Okay. Puerto's going to call with the... Can't see his cards. Okay. For some reason, he's like not in the hand, but in the hand. Did it say 6 ways? Really? Everyone's in? I was going to put out a pretty sizable bet on the 8-6 deuce two-tone with the queen. Liddell with top pair here. That's a tough decision. Wow, and he just calls immediately, huh? Like, I mean, dude bet like into a lot of players, and he bet pretty big too. So like, that's you might want to consider it a little bit, but okay. So just snap calls. And will he improve? He does have a decent bit of equity to improve on the turn. Now, like that's like the worst card for Noah, killing his action and the last card Liddell wants to see. So he's probably going to fold to any future action. We've already seen Noah play in a weird, like kind of committal way with that 10-10 hand on that completely horrible river where he's still jammed. So I wouldn't put it past him to take that same approach and double barrel on this turn and just like get the weaker hand to fold low key. He like just doesn't want to check and face a bet. Wow, he's actually giving Liddell a pretty good price. So there's based off of what was the previous 45 in the bet, 200 on the flop, about 600 in the middle, 650 in the middle. He's giving him about 4 to 1 on his money if he wants to try and draw up with a with an 8 or a 9 here, or like maybe then represent spades when they come in. He really is opening the door for Liddell to make some plays here. It's a tough spot because it looks like he hit the ace or has queen, king, jack, and he raises. Wow. And these snap calls, dude. Snap calls. So it just, here's the real problem with this situation is I guess like I didn't notice it, and I'm not sure if, I'm sure Liddell saw his sack in the snap, but he really doesn't have enough behind to force a fold on a spade river, and I guess not even in this exact situation either. So wow, he jams with the 9. This guy says, fuck it, I call. And I don't think Liddell wanted to see a call. I think he was hoping to get a fold. And then Noah is like a baller running it once, and he holds. And he gets the double. Nice hand to Noah. Very speculative from Liddell. I'm not sure if they know each other, if they have history, but he snap called the flop and check raise on that turn. Okay, interesting. New player in seat numero uno. Oh, and the new player in the box, meaning double board and cucaracha, which I will be skip it through. Right, looks like we are back to 2 card. Straddle from UTG from Chill Jack with the ace-5 offsuit. Noah on the button with the offsuit, the original Robbie. Eddie with a pile of chips. He must have won the cucaracha. Fold. Over to Quan, who is... I can't believe the roller coaster Quan's been on, bro. I cannot believe that, bro. From like 1K to 5K back to 1K. If all those numbers were accurate the whole stream, just insane. Insane. All right, we are 2 ways, 3 ways, 0 ways. What's going on here? Hard to tell. Jack 7-3 flop. I believe it's Eddie and Noah, but we can't even see Eddie's cards. So Noah's got the top pair, and none of the cards that have been scanned can beat top pair. We're just going to go ahead and assume, what does this guy in seat 1 have? What is it, a drink? Is it a trinket? It has nutrition facts on the back, so I assume it's a drink. Oh, he probably said you can't keep drinks on the table or something, but it looks like he put it in his pocket or something. That's an interesting little thing. It looks like he's going to use it as like a car protector or something. Bill didn't see what Eddie had at all that hand. That's fine. Maybe a better jack or maybe he river to king. Hard to tell. All right, let's go. Production, please. So straddle from Chill Jack again. Is that what I'm looking at here? We got call, Eddie raises, Puerto calls, Liddell folds a 97 suited. Oh, no, sorry, because Puerto, I was going to say that I was going to expect him to probably call with a hand like that, but Puerto actually 3 bets with the king jack offsuit versus Eddie's Early position open. Or sorry. Late position open. He's on the button. My bad. I'm tripping. Hard to tell when things aren't changing around. But at this hour, keep in mind, this is on a day where they've been going all day. So at this hour, not only have I been doing a lot of this, but they've been here in real time for about 10, 12 hours, 11 hours. So I cannot blame them not having someone else to kind of step in and fill in. So we've got seat 1 will straddle. Noah is going to call. So if we're going to get raised, call. All right, I am going to need the cards, though. I am going to need the cards to actually do this. Like, that's like one very pivotal thing. All right, JM jamming. I heard something about defense on the button. Maybe it's a 2-button situation. Got 2 buttons for Puerto. We've got the 62 suited. Gonna call, try and get that bounty. We haven't really seen a lot of bounty. Like, people getting the bounty. I mean, I think it's only $20, but still, like, it just does happen naturally sometimes. But it really hasn't happened maybe like once or twice. I think the last time we saw it was when Quan got the ace on the double bounty, if I remember correctly. All right, we're going 4 ways on the protection hand. JM is double protecting it with there being a dry side pot. There's nothing to even bluff at now. Like, so if you're bluffing, you're almost like, there's an inherent extra side pot, which is like your bounty side pot. So you can always bluff to try to take that down. But Puerto here with no pair, no draw is fine to take a turn card, and he actually turns a ton of, sorry, not a ton of equity. Where's his equity at? Oh, because James got top pair. So he turns some equity, but he's going to need to fill up on the, not fill up, but he's going to need to hit a deuce or a 6 on the river, which he does not. Eddie actually getting there on the end with the 10 for the defense. Don V, I believe it says, is the new player in the pot, and he's considering calling down. Who had the 7-9? I can't. Sorry, 7-6. Oh, I guess his hand was read wrong. I was like, why are you considering calling down with ace high there? But when you river the straight, that makes plenty more sense. All good. That's not even a production error. That's just like a card reading scanning error. Okay, Puerto with the 10-10 is going to raise it up. And it says Liddell called with 7-5 suited, but he is not at the table. It looks like he walked away, so I don't think that he called. Quan, I do believe, would call with the king jack offsuit on the button. We're going to go heads up to the flop of king, queen. Check. Sneaky check back. Oh my god, sneaky check back is gonna burn Quan. Maybe burns Puerto in the end, who's got because Quan has the open-ended straight flush to the royal draw, and he does not get there, but Puerto's got the boat now. Wow, that sneaky check on the flop burned Quan in the end. He calls. He has it. Yeah, he definitely called. Calls 330 down to next, from 5k to next to nothing. Absolute insanity, bro. It said that he still had like 2.9k after that hand with Puerto, where Puerto had the 5-2 suited and he had the ace queen. So I don't know if at some point the graphic got it wrong, but just his ride today has been absolutely insane. Couldn't miss to now can't catch a break. Looks like a straddled hand that has been limped around. 7-5-3 rainbow flop. Super Eddie with the top pair. Don V with the middle pair. Puerto with the single gutter. Yeah, the 7 doesn't help him because he's already got the deuce on the bottom end. 5 on the turn, giving Don V trips. Wow. Huge equity boost in that. Super Eddie with the top pair, going to bet. Don V is going to probably just call. Oh, he raised to 175. My bad. He raised to 175. Very face-up type raise, but Eddie is in an action-giving mood, and he will call that down and says, let's go. River boats up for Don V, and Eddie's been paying off, so only a hundo? He's definitely calling that. You said chop it up? I don't think so, bro. We're chopping up pot and giving both halves to Don. Sitting down and hitting hands. Very nice feeling. It's always sick when you, like, your first hand, your first few hands, your first orbit, you just, like, start winning, and you, like, the whole session just feels like a breeze. It's funny because we are humans like that, and it's like, it really shouldn't make any difference whatsoever, when negative variance hits, when positive variance hits, but that just is how we naturally do things. So I can say both things. We shouldn't do that, but it's easy to do that. One of these sessions I played over the last week, sat down literally first hand. You guys will see it. First hand, one of my sessions was a double up. And it's like, that just feels amazing. It feels so good. Now I got smacked around the rest of the session. And I actually played that might have been the day that I played the best of all these streams, because I made some really incredible folds. But yeah, that was an interesting day. Okay, we've got an interesting pot going here. Sorry, forget me. We've got Chill Jack raised to 40 out of the cutoff with the ace 4 offsuit. Liddell is going to, we got a Super Ready called, Puerto called, and Liddell is going to squeeze. That's really what it is. Squeeze to 210. He's got about 1.1k behind, and he is up against Puerto, who does not look like he wants to fold the 87 offsuit as he counts out his call while Eddie makes his decision. Okay. Eddie had fold. But Eddie's already in. My bad. Eddie called with the Doyle, giving Liddell some action here. He's got a nice chunk of the equity, 47%. What's going to happen on this flop here? 994 with a flush draw. Check. This can easily go bet in Liddell's favor. I think he understands texture and such well enough. He bets 240. That's probably enough to take it down here if I had to guess. Did Eddie just ask him how much he has? Is Eddie going to pull a move here on Liddell? Let's see. Eddie jams! Putting Liddell on nothing? Puerto is out of the way immediately. And Liddell doesn't snap fold. Liddell doesn't fold immediately. He starts looking Eddie down, looking him up and down. He picks up his cards like he's going to fold once, picks him up twice, fidgets with his trinket, and lets it go. Eddie shows or Eddie doesn't show? Eddie doesn't show. Wow, what a play from our man. That's wild. That was a crazy play in a lot of regards, bro. It really was. I thought that bet and play and everything was really good and solid from Liddell, and I thought it was enough to take it down. He read the board texture very well to realize that this shit just doesn't hit people very often, I can still represent everything that I had pre-flop. Aces, kings, queens, jacks. And Eddie said, yeah, but you also got ace, king, you also got ace, queen, and I can represent 10s, 9s, 8s. Sorry, not 9s. 10s, jacks, 7s, 8s. And get you to fold that ace high with the rare 9 in the mix too, because 9x is going to favor Eddie more often than the 3-betters range. That's for sure. That's absolutely for sure, especially with how he's been playing tonight. He has a lot more a lot more 9x hands in his range, like 10-9, 8-9, suited offsuit. Doesn't matter. I mean, he had 10 deuce offsuit that hand, so clearly he can have 9x in that situation. Very crazy hand and great play by Super Eddie. Super Eddie now getting all in the next. I didn't even see his actions. I'm still kind of blown away by that last hand. That's really well played by him, and I haven't seen that play by him before. I've not seen that play by him before. So I'm sorry. Single raise pot, it looks like on the flop here. We're going to go. Eddie's going to jam, just open jam. Okay. Johnny's going to call the 2.5x, 3x pot size bet with 2 overcards and a flush draw. Eddie takes the first one, and John takes the second one. Or Johnny, I'm sorry. And Johnny takes the second. Crazy plays from Eddie right now. Eddie is on one, huh? He is in ram and jam mode. Very dangerous player type to be around, because they are either going to double you up or bust you. All right, so Strato from under the gun. Noah opens. Eddie 3-bets the jack 9 offsuit. Chill Jack's going to cold call with the 10 king offsuit, and Noah will overcall, trying to hit that set 7-7 deuce flop rainbow. Doesn't really get much more drive than that. Checking over to Eddie on the button, who's certainly going to bet at this point in time. He's playing very aggressively, very aggressively. It's 300. I'm sorry if I said 200, but it's 300. Jack gets out of the way quickly. Eddie says, "I'll show you my cards." That's funny. Noah clearly doesn't believe him, but doesn't want to commit the money. Noah just said, "I don't think you have anything." This is funny. They got some back and forth going on, and Noah does eventually fold. Oh, and that was a bounty situation too. I didn't even notice the layer of meta going on right there. That was a 2 bounty alert. So that was one reason why Eddie was going in with the 3-bet. Got it. If this is like a game where you're like legit, I don't want to say rich, but like you got money and you don't even care about it like that, like I could easily see Noah jamming there with the pair of 3s. That's crazy, bro. I did not know. Yeah, that widens Eddie's range up dramatically. So funny, Liddell just asked Eddie if he had a 9 that hand, and Eddie said, "I legit don't remember." And I actually believe it at this point, because Eddie's been playing all day, had a couple to drink, and he probably doesn't even remember the hand itself, / like the board. That's like what he's really saying. Now, if he asked him, "Were you bluffing or not?" then that he could remember. But he did have Doyle, so maybe he is being coy. Eddie's not that kind of player though, to be like, "I don't know, I don't remember." That's not his style. 2-card action in the house. All right, sorry for any blip in the action. I was starving, so I had to go get some food. We've got our last 4-ish hours. Sorry, not even, bro. We got about 3 hours left of real time here. It's going to take me probably about an hour to complete this. So let's finish this up. This has been a great stream. We had a raise on this hand from Puerto from the button. It looks like everybody else called. Unknown hand from Johnny again. Another new player who hasn't been scanning their cards every time. That's all good. It's going to happen in situations like this. Still at 2x speed? I am at 2x speed. He just took a long time to check that flop. Looks like 2 pair on the turn for Liddell, if this has been read correctly by the card reader. Queen 4 offsuit is a pretty weak hand for him to defend before the flop, and then he goes for the check raise on the turn. Is that what it is? Am I seeing this all properly? All right, that hand definitely read correctly. Johnny now. No idea what they have. They bet. Eddie called, and they look like they're in the tank a little bit here. He probably has like either a king or a flush draw because he looks like he's doing some math. Nothing too strong, I'm guessing, unless they're really Hollywooding it up right now. Maybe like a king 9, king 10 type hand. Dell scoops in a nice one. Nice hand. Straddle from Chill Jack, UTG. We get a bunch of callers, and no one has a card above a 10. We are 6 ways, 5 ways, and Quan is going to jam it in 350. Probably going to get it through. Super Eddie calls with the 96 off. Wow. Calling with the 960. As he wants to go once or twice. He's got absolutely nothing, and he's going to prevent Quan from easily winning the bounty. He's going to prevent Quan from... He probably thinks that 9 high is not good right there. 9 high is good. And 9 high is good again, sir. Double 9 high. That's amazing. Quan came in, took about 1K, up to about 5K, down to 0, and is out. What a wild ride. That may be the single craziest, like 2, 3, 4 hours of play that we see from someone in a long time on this stream. That's really, really a wild ride up and down. Really a wild ride up and down. All right. 20 Straddle from Puerto. Johnny with the ace 4 suited. Thank you for scanning your hand this time. They're going to put in the call. Chill Jack calls with the 65-0. Eddie's going to call with the 83-0. Puerto's going to check his option. Ace 10-5 rainbow flop. Johnny with the top pair. He's out for about, what, 60? $60. Hey, are you really considering calling here with 8 high? He looks like he's considering calling with 8 high. Trying to win a second bounty button. Bounty. And he does go for the ultra gamble of call 60. I'm not really sure what he's even looking for. Backdoor wheel outs, backdoor, even that, yeah, so it's 7 and 9. It's just the wheel outs. He would need a backdoor pair outs really to like make anything happen. All right, I'm not going to spend too much time on this hand here. Johnny bet turn wins, cool. Straddle, double straddle from Liddell. Action's going to start on Don V, who calls with the ace 10 offsuit. Probably could have raised there to at least like 40 or 50. Then Chill Jack is going to actually raise with the ace 5 suited, the solver hand. Super Ed is going to call with the jack 8 off, and then Don will also call with the ace 10 off. And Chill Jack is actually in the lead with the 5-4-6 rainbow board middle pair top kicker. Jack bets 2 hundo. Eddie quickly calls with the gutter and 2 overcards. 1 liner to the straight now out there, and Jack bets another 2 hundo. I think he's honestly betting like value / protection against overcards. Like I think he thinks he has the best hand right now. / knows. I think he knows that he probably has the best hand right now. Nice hand, Jack. All right, straddle. Call. Raise to 25 by Noah out of the SB. It's pretty small in a straddle situation. Okay, Puerto with the ace king off is going to bump it up to about 130, it looks like. 135. Noah with the suited 1, 2, 3 gapper is going to make the call from out of position. Pretty loose and surprising by Noah, honestly. Puerto with the top trips, top kicker is going to probably c-bet and take it in. Excuse me, I'm sorry. And Noah floated from out of position? Wow, okay. People make decisions that I just am not expecting. Oh, okay, no. He does, thank you. That makes way more sense. They just wanted to see the run out. I was like, and then how did we get to the river with that queen high hand? But just wanting to see the run out makes way more sense. Straddle from Don V. Call. Around 6 ways to a ace 7-4 all clubs flop. We got Super Ready with the 6 of clubs, Johnny with the 9 of clubs, and Don V with the 3 of clubs. No one has an ace though. 2 deuce of clubs on the turn is gonna solidify this one for Johnny, who's got that 9. Unless he's for some reason folds the hand, he does have the check mark already. So it goes bet, call, and Johnny might actually relinquish the best hand here. Eddie bets with the 6. Don calls with the 3. And then he gets the... Oh, was that on the river? Okay. It might have been on the river, where boats were possible as well. Nice hand to Johnny. No raise to 25. Call. No graphics. I will not hesitate to kind of call it if like the graphics are, not being there, just because like we've gotten our fill's worth of this day, y'all. We've seen some crazy action from a lot of players, some really insane hands, some really insane ups and downs. Like Eddie's gone up and down, Puerto's gone up and down, Mom went up and down, like mostly up for them at the end. Quan went up and down. But yeah, just like a lot of wild rides, a lot of wild play, a lot of good poker. This was a really, really fun stream to cover. That's why even though it's like 16 hours of footage I'm going through, at no point it feels like work because it's hard to kind of get it done, but it's fun the whole time. I really do enjoy watching and commentating on the play of a casino that I really love to be at. I love all the people here, and I like to play in this game myself as well. So it's really nice to get to see both sides of things. You know, not only being at the table, but when you are in the booth, so to speak, and we get to see all the cards. All right, looks like right now no one with a 10, couple of 9s out there. Noah has an 8 middle pair to back his up. Actually, 3 9s out there, 3 people with an open and a straight draw. No one with diamonds, although 1 diamond holding in 3 players' hands, so runner could get there. From Liddell with the 3rd pair and 9, gonna get a few calls. Chill Jack with, I'm sorry, did Chill Jack turn a set of deuces? I think Chill Jack turned a set of deuces. Eddie is betting the river 45 with his pair of 3s, which is very speculative. Liddell's gonna put in a loose call. Chill Jack is gonna not knit roll him really, but like only calling there is like hilarious because it's like people are gonna think they have a chance. He fast rolls at the end there. Thank you, because like he doesn't want to expose himself to someone having a straight, someone having a flush, this or that. So like raising is gonna be tough. It's hard to get called there by worse. So like knit roll is probably the wrong word because like that usually means that they take a long time with a hand that is like very an obvious call. But that's more of just like a underplayed hand. So knit roll is the wrong term for sure. But that's just really an underplayed hand, or so it feels like. You know, like you should probably be leading the turn yourself right there. Like everyone calls, and then you should bet the river yourself. That's like more standard is for that kind of hand. Okay, back to some 2 card for the last 2 dealers probably. No, maybe 3 more dealers if you include Dave here. So we got straddle, double straddle, it looks like. So we've got Jack raising and then call, it looks like. Maybe 3 ways, Jack, Eddie, Puerto. Can't see anyone's cards and I can't see the board. All right, board is Jack 5-7 and hard to see what's going on. Gonna need some cards. It seems like the hand after the bomb pot cucaracha is always like a little bit messed up, and then they get their bearings back. All right, Don V with the 52 suited non-bounty hand. Johnny with the King 4 suited. It says 3-bet, but I'm not sure if that was a 3-bet. Super Eddie with the King 10 suited is gonna raise to 120. Noah is gonna call with 2 unknown cards. 7-9 Jack on the flop. Noah checks. Eddie's gonna bet 3 hundo. Last time he made this bet, Noah folded with the 3-3. So who knows what his holding is right now? But he probably doesn't want to fold to Eddie again. It's a very good board for Eddie's hand, obviously, and he would have turned the straight. Wow, but yeah, I can still see Noah wanting to look him up just because of the way that he's been kind of playing out. Shout out to Andrew switching the microphones around, running the chips, helping the crew. Everyone's very solid at the Lucky Lady. All right, we've got looks like straddle this hand or no straddle. It's hard to tell. I see call 5, but I see $10 out in front of everyone, so I want to say straddle probably and call. Maybe small raise from Eddie to 25 out of the SB. On 5 ways to the flop. 9 deuce suited from Puerto. Deuce for Liddell. Queen 7 two-tone on the flop. Can we please switch back to the cards so we can get the action? This is annoying. Chill Jack hits a queen. Bets takes it down. No, he bets and gets action from Eddie, and that's gonna win it. I'm assuming. Oh, he goes all in. Eddie is considering it the 5 high on the end here. Probably not. It's really hard to see the board. I'm guessing that Eddie wasn't just tanking with king high. I don't see cards in Eddie's hand. Oh, there they are. I don't think that the cards have read properly right now. Maybe they did read properly. Maybe it was king 7. Maybe it was king 7 instead of king 5. But like, I don't think he was just chilling like that. All right. Puerto with the ace 3 suited. Liddell ace 7 off. Johnny king jack off. Jack 8 suited for Noah. And it looks like we're going to get a raise from Puerto out of the SB. Everyone else will call. We're going to go 4 ways. And 7 deuce two-tone. Puerto with the overcard and nut flush draw. Liddell with 2nd pair top kicker. No heart to go with it though. Noah with the gutter and backdoor diamonds. And single overcard. Deuce on the turn is kind of an action killer for everybody, honestly. It's not a great card for Puerto to want to continue barreling, but he looks like he might actually do it. Very nice bet. Putting out about 300. Should almost certainly take it down. Wow. Liddell says, hell no. Liddell says, I do not believe you, sir. And the board bricks out. What will Puerto do? He checks back. Liddell checks the 7, takes it down. Nice hand by Liddell. Did not believe that turn bet was an actual deuce or a big hand or this or that. Did not believe it was a 10. Did not believe it was a deuce. Thought this is a draw, an 8-9, a hearts. And they were right. No straddle this end. Noah sizing up with ace 10 offsuit. Eddie is in call mode with the Queen Jack suited. Kind of surprised to see that he didn't 3-bet there. He's been pretty aggressive actually these last hour and a half. We got a bunch of callers. Ace, Jack, Deuce, Rainbow board. Gonna check around and know who's gonna put out a smallish bet, 45 and a 123. Super Eddie's gonna flat with second pair, backdoor clubs, and it's on Chill Jack, but he's going to fold his 8 high. 3 of clubs in the turn, giving Super Eddie many more outs. Noah, what the hell? Wow. Noah beat Eddie in the pot. That's crazy. I think it went bet like 145. No, sorry, bet. It looks about 120. Eddie jams over the 120, and Noah beats him in the pot for 1.1k more. Says, "Yep, I'm good. Like, doesn't matter what you bet. Like, I'm calling whole stack. Let's go." And he actually has a very nice chunk of equity in 74%. So it is up to Eddie to hit a queen, jack, or club. Run it once and run it twice. Noah is going to double up through Eddie. Wow. Big pot with an ace 10 offsuit. That's the turn, and then jams. So I think gets jammed on and calls. Wow, nice hand from Noah. It's there on both boards too, / holds on both boards. Okay, back to regular poker. 0 straddle on. Noah raises to 15 from under the gun with 10-9 off. Super Eddie is going to 3-bet to 45, 40, it looks like. 40 with 5-5. Interesting. Puerto calls Jack 7-0. Chill Jack is going to call the K deuce suited. Noah will, of course, overcall with the 10-9, getting an incredible price at this point. Ace, King 4, Rainbow. Chill Jack with the best hand here, and 84% equity on an ace high board. Turning 2 pair, and now 88%. Even more. Chill Jack bets 100. Super Eddie calls with his gut shot and pair of 5s. Board bricks out. I do not think Eddie's going to be calling down here. Nice hand by Chill Jack. Okay, straddle and double straddle from Puerto. Liddell will flat with the ace 3 suited first to act. Chill Jack, Noah, Super Eddie are all going to call with 7-5, 8-9, and 9 deuce offsuit. Puerto will check his option. We got a deuce 5-6 flop. That is a nice little pair for Jack. Gutter and 2 overcards for Noah. Liddell has a gut shot and overcard backdoor diamonds. Puerto with bottom pair, Super Eddie with bottom pair. A little tiny bit for everyone on this board. A little tiny bit for everyone on this board. Jack about to fold the best hand. Jack about to fold the best hand. Wow. Best hand and a button. About to fold the best hand and the button. It's hard to know, obviously. All right. Very loose and speculative play happening at the end of the night here. Eddie is all in with his turned 2 pair. Noah now has top pair and a gut shot. Would have chops in the end, it looks like. No, would have gotten there with 2 pair. A very big bet from Eddie. Very exposing himself to getting beat by a different hand, like a set or 2 pair, better 2 pair, straight. So close situation. Tough spot. Straddle, double straddle, triple straddle. $40 to go. Jack is going to call out of the SB with a Jack 8 offsuit. Fold over to Eddie, who's got the 22. He's going to raise or call? Call the 40. Puerto raises to 95? 95. Dell will call out of the double straddle with the Queen Jack suited, and the triple straddle player, Don V, is going to also call with a 10-3, baby. 10-3. All right, we got 5-way action on the triple straddle pot, raised to 2.5x by Puerto. 9 ace deuce with the flush draw. Super Eddie bottom set. Puerto second nut flush draw. There could be fireworks here. Did Eddie just jam? I think Eddie just jammed. Eddie just jammed and Puerto called. Eddie just jammed and Puerto called. They do it twice. They run it 2x. Heart on the first run out and boat on the second. Chop it up. Wow. Puerto just gets there on the first one. And that was about, what was that, like a 4x overbet on the pot? So yeah, about 500 in the pot, and Eddie jammed for like, what, 2k? About a 4x overbet on the pot. And Puerto's like, yeah, man, I got a flush draw. I call. The real play that hand is to bet like smaller on the flop, like 300 or so you can still get value from ace X. And then on non-heart turns, then you can jam and really put someone in a negative EV position. But it's still quite a bit of value from deuce there. Quite a bit of value. And just open jamming it with like the way that he's been playing is like actually a really good move. Really good play. So very, very nice hand from Super Eddie there. He was trying to make it look like it was a Florida bet, but that was definitely in Texas. Big hand, big bet. There was no craziness in that. Looks like a straddle pot? Double straddle pot? Yeah, double straddle pot. I'll call. Puerto raises it up to 80 with the Jack 7 suited. Liddell has got a nice hand here with the Ace 10 offsuit, and they're going to apply some pressure to Puerto. They've been seeing how aggressive they are. Super Eddie has been playing kind of wild as well. He may even cold call here with the King 8 suited. He may even cold call with the King 8 suited. Now he's going to play tight. He's going to play tight. No, he's going to call. He's going to call, and Puerto's going to call. Three-way action to the flop. King, Queen, and 10 of two-tone. Eddie with top pair is going to jam it in. No, he bets 190. I'm sorry. I thought I saw him jam again, bro. I thought I saw him jam again. He bets 190. Puerto's almost certainly going to call with his open-ended straight draw. Two flush draws out there, but no possible flush yet. Liddell's going to call with his third pair top kicker. Interesting float there. It's a pretty low equity situation for him. Puerto gets there in the end. Super Eddie's going to bet into a very loose bet, very speculative bet, trying to get paid by like Queen 8 or Ace. I don't know. Did Puerto jam? Puerto jams. Wow. With the J-bone. With the J-bone. Nice hand, Puerto, on a beautiful, beautiful run of cards, man. Up to a stack of over 5K now. All right. Dealer change. Skipping a little bit ahead. He straddle probably from Dunn. He's been straddling. Then Puerto makes it 52. Liddell's going to 3-bet to 275. Chill Jack with the King Queen of clubs. Doesn't look like he wants to fold. Really doesn't look like he wants. It looks like he's about to jam the whole damn thing in there, bro. He's just going to cold call. Jack is not folding his hand right now. He's either jamming or calling. This is wild. Such an aggressive play with the King Queen suited. What he is going to muck. Okay. Because he just looked like so dead set on, committing right there. From an equity perspective, he was honestly doing fine. Wow, Jack is going to be tilted as fuck seeing this. Oh my god, he's going to be so tilted. That's crazy. Interesting. Call, and then Chill Jack only calls with the Ace Queen offsuit. Not like him whatsoever. Maybe he's expecting a Puerto raise or something because he's been very aggressive for the last orbit or so, and he's going to back raise up to some degree, but we just got a limped pot of Jack, 10-3, Rainbow, 10-6 for Liddell is the highest equity hand out there at the moment. Middle pair, no kicker, checks around. King on the turn, Chill Jack with the nuts now, 94% equity, going to bet out $40. Try to get a little axion. Super Eddie is going to call. Everyone else is going to fold. Probably should have folded it himself, but I'm going to get a little bet. Probably a full, but no, is Eddie looking to pay off right now? Eddie raises? Wow. Eddie raises, huh? So what did Jack bet? Like 100 and probably 30? 120. And Eddie's going to raise to 300, it looks like. There's the 300. Only 180 more. Too small. You can't really get him to fold too much here. Jack is a pretty sticky player. Eddie knows this. Did he raise? Wow, he jammed. That's a pretty loose jam, Jack. You're probably, see, that's what I'm saying. He's sticky. He's very committal. Like he wanted to go with the King Queen suited last hand. I guess he's just trying to go against like King Jack, 10x, King X, but like, man, that's very, very speculative jam in the end because call's like the play. Call's the play. Like when you jam there, you're gonna get called by boats a lot and getting top pair and stuff to fold. So like trips may not even call you there, because you're representing the straight. Straddle from Jack, raised to 25 from Noah. Super Eddie's going to call because he's been playing Loco. It says he's got 1K, but I only see 600. Puerto with the King Jack off. Don V also King Jack off. Johnny with the 63-0. Chill Jack calls with the Ace 8 off, and they're going to go 6 ways. Such crazy poker right now, bro. Noah opening under the gun, 6-handed, hitting 7-7 King flop, and he gets the 7. That's crazy. So he bets. He's going to get called in 2 places by King. He's going to probably take him to Value Town, if I had to guess. He's letting them off the hook by betting so small here. Letting them both off the hook. Puerto and Don V, both with the King Jack. Going off to the river. If it's not a 3, Jack, or King, Noah's going to scoop. Okay, no, sorry. The 3, for some reason, my brain was not working right. I've been doing this a long time as well. Obviously, 3 gives Noah the boat. But now it's a bit weird, though. It's like, what do you really have? Noah bets 3 hundo, Puerto snap calls, and Don V is in the blender right now. They have no idea what's going on. Not no idea what's going on, but they have no idea where they are in the hand, and he folds, so he does know where he is. Nice fold, Don. Nice hand, Noah. The aggressive pre-flop raise paid off that hand. Very nice comeback from Noah. It's like a limped pot here, 5 ways. No one's got anything big. We're just going to skip on through, keep on going. Johnny and Liddell both end up topping with a jack each. Liddell raised to 25 with ace deuce off from the cutoff. We're going to get 3 callers with Queen 10, 6-9, and 4-4. Jack flops open-ended with a 9, Jack 5, 2-tone, and turned the nuts. Unfortunate for him, though, very little out there to get paid off by. Noah's got second pair, does the meme, but just like doesn't really know where he's at. Slash, his hand's too good to fold, too strong to fold, not good enough to raise. And now Jack could consider checking the river here, low-key. Like, a lot of draws brick, and he could just try to snap it off. Noah does not look happy that Jack bet 200 into 200-ish. We're doing the whole fold and show thing. Cool. And Jack has, once someone says, just the nuts. Nice hand, sir. Looks like straddle, double straddle. Action's going to start on the button here for Johnny with the A7-0. They don't call? It's a really conservative fold, bro. You got A7-0, it's on the button, been double straddled in front of you. People haven't been playing the double straddle too crazy here, as in like raising every single time. So you might be able to get in for just the 20. You could even maybe min raise to 40 or raise it go 2.5 to 50 if you really want to see a flop. You are in position on a button specifically with an ace. And only five-handed, you know, and a whole bunch of people put money in blind. Puerto, Jack, and Noah all turn the gut shot. That's crazy. Probably gonna see a whole bunch of action, but low-key, I'm just gonna skip through because it's gonna get jumped up. Wow, and Jack had the redraw too. That's crazy. Jack had the free roll redraw. That's dirty, bro. Dirty. All right, straddled hand, but there's 25 in front of Eddie, who raised with the ace-8 offsuit. Everyone calls. King 4 for Puerto, ace-3 off for Liddell, king 3 off for Noah. A whole bunch of overlap here. Everyone's got everyone else outkicked. So what happened exactly? Oh, the flop is not showing yet. There's ace high on the flop, and Eddie jams it all in, it looks like. And Liddell called. Oh, so two aces, and I think they're just gonna be chopping this up a lot of the time. Wait, what? Ace 10 versus ace what? I don't get what just happened here. Hard to tell. Ace 10 though. I don't know how that wasn't a chop. Okay, we're just gonna keep. I am getting pretty worn out. I would love to finish this. We got about an hour and 20 minutes of actual footage left to get through. So let's just plow on ahead, and we are almost done. All right. Chill Jack raises UTG with the King 9 suited. Gonna go 4 ways. Come on, y'all gotta update the graphics for me. Ace, deuce, 5, all clubs. Don't see any. It's getting a little tough to follow. We can do it. We can ride it out. Although it looks like the game is kind of ending, wrapping up, huh? Is the game ending, wrapping up? Have I been spared? One more hour of play? Nope. I'm still here. The game starts right back up. It makes sense though. Some people are like getting kind of stuck, and they might want to like Eddie's getting stuck now. Liddell, I don't think has done super good this session at the moment, so you can see 4-handed, 5-handed still continuing. And, Jose is going to come into the booth now, and Chung will exit, and they're going to do their Bampa, Cucaracha, all that stuff, and they're going to leave Jose to fend for himself. They did Bampa, they did Cucaracha. Now we got some 4-handed action with Puerto on the button to start off. I don't know exactly the dynamics, but it looks like we got raise. But yeah, like I've mentioned before, the first hand after the Cucaracha is usually a little bit messed up. So Super Eddie's got the nice little ace 10 off, Jack 8 for Puerto, bottom pair, backdoor spade draw, and a gutter ball. And Eddie hits his gutter while Puerto hits the 2 pair. Eddie jams it right in his shoulders. Says, "Here you go. Hold on to this, my friend." He checks him. The hockey player just skated right up and bashed him right in the shoulder blade into the glass. And Puerto with the call. Once, twice. He goes twice, I believe. 10 for a chop on the first board, and the second is going to be, okay, so 3/4. 3/4 for Eddie. What a first run-out card. Wow. Basically, Eddie takes back his stack, and then, Puerto matches Eddie's stack. Eddie takes back his, then they take half of Puerto's stack that he matched from Eddie's. Give it back, and we proceed. A lot of getting quartered in double board bomb pots and in running it twice. You'll see a lot of that. All right, we've got the, single straddle on, double straddle on, it looks like. I don't even know what's going on right now. I don't even know how you can have enough people to double straddle. Either way, we got a King 9-10 flop, 65 in the middle. It was probably raised, honestly. Single raised. Bet on the flop with the flush draw by Liddell. They turn it, and they get the check mark. Anything to get paid off by? Super Eddie's got a pair, kinda, but does not give any money to the 7 seat. Okay, I still don't know what's going on with these blinds right now, because it says Liddell straddle $20, but I don't know how he can straddle from being, he looks like he's in the third blind. Either way, Jack calls, or I think maybe Jack's rattled, and then it was his option. Jack's rattling the button makes way more sense. And then Jack has Jack 10-0, Liddell has 4-4, Puerto with the ace-9 off, who I think maybe Puerto raised, and then Jack called. That actually makes way more sense because of the graphics. Super Eddie with the queen-6 offsuit, Jack 8-5 two-tone. This is a hard board when you don't got nothing on it. Chill Jack with the top pair, next to no kicker, because once you, like, if you get contested with the Jack, you're probably be, well, in this game, maybe not. In this game, maybe not. In a reasonable game, you do have to start worrying. This game is not exactly reasonable at the moment. That's the cool thing about playing in situations like this, in stream games like this, and in private games like this. They can go from reasonable to unreasonable, back to reasonable, back to unreasonable, all in a very short period of time. So it's just about getting lucky at the right time and kind of like committing your stack at the right time as well, like realizing the times when top pair, top kicker is like the absolute nuts, never folding, and then also realizing when, like, you know, you guys are so deep that you just can't felt like even like bottom two pair in some situations. So it's like really like riding that energy, feeling like if the gamble is still in the air, all that kind of stuff. All right, we've got, are they doing like maybe 2 blinds or something? And then, I don't know, because it says $10 to call. I don't know, they might have changed the structure a little bit. But either way, Eddie, it's on you, sir. All right, Puerto raises on the button to 45. Jack calls with the 96. Eddie's going to overcall with the king 8 offsuit. 3 ways to king 9-7. Piece for everybody. Eddie with the top pair. Chill Jack with the middle pair. Puerto with the bottom pair. Couple backdoor straight draws all around. Wow. Bet raise. Did Jack bet 35 and Eddie raised 600? That's a big raise. That's a crazy raise. What did you just show him? The king or the 8? You showed him the 8. Oh, he showed him the king. Okay. He said Eddie's just playing his own game right now. I think he quite literally doesn't even care. So yeah, I don't know what they've done to the blinds right now, but like as you can see, Puerto put out 20. I think they might have just changed it to 5-10. I think they might have just changed the game to 5-10. Like literally, that's all that I can see. Instead of it being 3 blind right now, like that makes the most sense, I suppose. Puerto calls, Liddell checks, going heads up to a Jack 5 deuce. Monotone, Puerto with the queen of the flush, but Liddell with top pair, no kicker. Puerto bets 80, Liddell calls, and we're going to go see a turn. We got 5 of diamonds. Going to go check real quick, and Liddell will win this hand unless for some reason he folds at any point, but he's going to try to bet very small for value in the end there. Puerto is maybe thinking if he can somehow bluff at this hand, but he thinks better of it. Liddell shows, gets shipped the pot, and we move on. Yeah, it's got to be 5-10. And then Liddell just put out the 20, unless it's like 5-10-20 mandatory. It's either 5-10 or 5-10-20 right now. Jack will open the button to 65, it looks like, with the king-queen offsuit. Very nice. Eddie calls queen 10 off, Puerto 65 off, Liddell 10-4 off, and then the ace, Jack 3 two-tone flop. Kind of misses everybody. But Jack is going to c-bet. Very nice choice. Eddie's going to probably float one because he's been on one at this point in the game. So, like, wow, he actually does let it go. He is that whole, like, energy thing that I talk about, that whole meter thing building up and going down. Just his gamble meter was not there at that turn right there. So let's see. It's at least 5-10. If Jack straddles, and it's probably a 5-10-20 game at this point. Nice way to, he looks to Jack as if it's his action. So then I think 5-10 is what they did. 5-10. Yeah, it's a nice way to boost up the action at the very end to try to, you know, make playing shorthanded and for like a limited period of time like actually worth it. Because if you keep the stakes the same and then no one has a chance to straddle, the pots are gonna be small, everyone's used to playing a little bit bigger at this point, the game's kind of gotten to that point. It's almost like in a weird way like a tournament where it's like raise the blinds, you know, like we've kind of like gotten there, like everyone's ready for it. Then it keeps the momentum going, keeps the game interesting. So very smart move by all the players. It's like a check. Eddie bets 10, or bets with his 10-10, 300. Chill Jack is going to probably float one, maybe float one. Let's see. I'll skip ahead. These guys are taking forever. Jack folds. Okay, I'm playing at 2x speed and it's still taking forever. Super Eddie with the ace, four-handed in a situation like this is a pretty strong thing. Raises to 40. Gets called by, wow, Puerto actually folded their hand before the flop. But you don't see that a lot. With Jack 6 offsuit. Energy, guys. Meters. Up and down, up and down. We've seen Puerto call a lot more with a lot less. So it's just like unlucky in that instance for Eddie. Watch it be a Jack high flop or something. Queen 3 deuce and Chill Jack actually with the middle pair. If he bets out and Eddie raises, he's probably gonna get action from Eddie. Like Eddie's gonna probably get action. Oh, so he clicks it at him, bro. So he's definitely gonna get action. But I was even saying that off of like a 3x to 4x raise, he probably would have called 3x to 4x. He decides to not play the rest of the hand and show Jack his cards. Night certainly is winding down. All right, three ways. Ace, king, king on the flop. 9 high and 7 high across the board. Start skipping through some of these smaller hands here. Still jack with the ace, queen suited. Super Eddie with the 10-8 of the same suit. Puerto and Liddell also share a suit. Queen 8 for Puerto, 7-4 for Liddell. We've got a raise from chill jack and a four-way pot going in here. Nice little $400. Up for grabs. King 8-6. Two-tone, technically. You're playing a four-color deck. To me, the tone is the color, not the actual suit, but I guess you could say if you want to call it a suit, then it's two-tone regardless. All right, so what the hell's going on here? Super Eddie bets with the hundo. Puerto calls with the better kicker on the second pair. Liddell call with a gutter, and he hits? I was like, what was that call by Liddell? And then he hits? That's crazy. And then he jams, I assume? How do you... That's a very, very, very optimistic call on the flop. And it says he's only got 449, but I think he's got more than that. Can we see his stat, guys? Can you just show me his holding? Okay. Oh, he does have about 449. Okay. Okay. That's fair. Eddie's picking up his hand. Like, can you believe this? And Jack didn't even look. He didn't care. Wow. Eddie pays off. Drawing dead. Doesn't matter. Turn to the gutter. Crazy, crazy. Almost, 9 doesn't help. Almost looks like it gives him a better straight, but it does not. Liddell with the double through. They needed that to get closer to even for the night. Yeah, that's definitely a miracle turn card. What is the raise to? What is going on here? Tell, no graphics. Everyone's getting tired. I'm losing my energy. Production's losing their energy. Jack's running out of energy. Maybe we go three-handed for a little bit longer here. I promise to do the whole thing. It doesn't mean I can't skip through a little bit more when things get a little slow. Got a bet from Chill Jack on the flop with the top pair. Puerto's going to call with the overcard, backdoor diamonds. Bet and a fold takes it down from Jack. Okay, so they're going to stick around and play a few more hands. Super Ready with a couple of 10s. Straddle, straddle. Air call. I guess double straddle. Yep, call. Ace, king, high board up against a couple queen highs, though. Liddell will take a stab. He's probably going to float. He's been a floaty kind of player at the moment. Puerto thinks better. Turn queen. River 10 for Super Eddie. The Miracle River card now for a little bit of payback. Straddle pop. Puerto now with the 2 10s. Liddell with the 2 6s. Two pairs in four-handed is very rare, so let's see what happens here. Puerto raises 135. Liddell is going to cold call. Makes sense. Eddie has not scanned their cards yet. They are indeed going to call. With the mystery holding, ace high board. Puerto bet 200 and takes it down. Jack is officially out. Handshakes are all around. Liddell's got the 7 deuce off. Eddie is not scanning their cards anymore. I don't think they realize it is that time of the night. Their chip stack is in the way, and production's probably not in the booth to even tell them. Maybe they are. Who knows? All right. Call 30. We're in mystery mode. We do not know what Eddie has, and we never will. All right. Straddle on the button. Super Eddie is going to fold. Energy is exiting the building. Puerto still has that fight in them, though. Min raise. Call from Liddell. Puerto flops a pretty great board, actually, but it goes check, check. He lets Liddell get a free chance at a turn card. Bets 100 wisely on the turn now. And then Liddell's going to try to raise? Raise to 270. Wow, and he's going to get Puerto to fold the 4. Very nice raise, sir. Very nice play. He probably didn't read Puerto for as strong as a 4. Honestly, he probably just read him for, like, betting whatever. If he did and he was going to fire the river, that's a really nice play. Okay, straddle 240 from Super Eddie, it says. Maybe they've gone 1020. 1020 straddle 40. Eddie will check his option. Kind of him with the ace 8 on the button. He easily could raise there. Puerto with the best hand now, but Liddell's got the spade draw, and he gets there on the turn. Small pot, though. Nothing to really bet against, unfortunately, for him. And it's also like not really the kind of hand that can bet comfortably for value. It's more of a check call hand than a bet for value hand. All right, we've got about 20 minutes left, not even 16 minutes left of footage here. So probably not too many hands left. Puerto's putting the straddle on. We got 8-3 offsuit versus 10-3 offsuit versus Queen 5 off. Straddle hand is the best hand. This type of poker is honestly like simultaneously some of the most boring and most interesting possible because the intricacies are magnified. Every hand increases in value, but at the same time, people are not going to get many decent hands. It's going to be hard for anyone to get anything versus anything else. And also, like, the energy is clearly winding out. And, like, you know that you're probably not going to get too many big all-ins or anything at this point. Like, for there to be an all-in at this point, it would require a pretty massive cooler. Like, the energy that we had, like, an hour and a half, 2 hours ago, where it was, like, big bets all in, all in, all in, where Eddie was, like, jamming a lot, and, like, Puerto was getting involved a lot, and Noah was playing a lot of hands and everything. It's, like, just very different, you know? What a crazy day. What a crazy session. What a crazy 16 hours of footage that we've gone through. Once again, if anyone can hear my voice right now and you've heard me this whole time, y'all are absolutely insane, awesome, and I love you. Truly, because this was very fun to make, very fun to do, but I love watching this kind of thing, so I don't expect anyone else to really appreciate it and love it to the degree that I do. I'm just out here making these because I know that the Lucky Lady provides some awesome gameplay, and we don't really get to see it as much without the commentary. You know, like it's hard to stick around. So hopefully I can get enough people to stick around and watch Puerto here with the 2 pair versus Liddell's top pair. Backdoor diamonds are not coming in, but they need a 7, 4, or queen on the river. Can they get there? 7 comes through. 7 comes through, and what was it go check on the river, I believe? Yeah, it looks about right. I was going to say, like, it would require a big cooler, but I don't think they're getting all in on that turn. Not in this instance right here. That is not the big cooler I was talking about before. But yeah, I really do love this casino. I don't think did I mention it in this stream, but I recently got my media pass for the Lucky Lady. It's my first casino that I've got a media pass to. So I am officially affiliated with them to some degree, you know, and I really love playing here, being on the stream, doing these videos, and then I can even make like my own vlog type commentary gameplay now at the other tables, or even at this table if I wanted to, but it's kind of like a little bit less of a point to record at this table with the RFID, but it's still nice to get different camera angles, I suppose. But yeah, I would probably use that in the rest of the casino if I was to record. So when I'm going to record, I will definitely make some vlog type things now that I have the actual media pass. But this is a really cool place to play. I'm super glad that I found it, and I am happy to cover this stuff, and I would love to do this until they have their own commentator at the very least. Put it that way. Cover some of this stuff until they have their own commentator at the very least. They even said at one point that I think that I asked if I could commentate on their stuff, and they said no, you need to be an employee of the casino and or production staff, like DGAF production. And I was like, oh, never mind then, because like I'm not really looking to apply to be anyone's employee at the moment, but I would love something like that to commentate on a game like this, given that I have some insight to some of the players. You know, I could easily be in their booth doing this in real time instead of here. Although here I do get to save a little bit of time skipping through the action and such. It's like for me, even though we went through 16 hours of footage, it did not take me 16 hours. It probably took me about I don't know, maybe 8 hours to get through it all. Puerto with the ace queen, Eddie with the 98. All right, looks like we got probably a few more hands here left. 7 minutes left of the actual VOD. Puerto with the open ender, bottom pair. Liddell with the overcard and gutter. It hits the top pair, but Puerto hits the straight. And he will give a quick little payoff to the hundo, it looks like. Good game there. Puerto with the ace-king off. Liddell with the 85-0. Super Eddie with the 62. And the 85-0 is actually in the lead right now. And we'll take it unless he gets bluffed off. That's how these can be. Ace-5 off. Oh, sorry, ace-5 suited for the Super Eddie. The Super Eddie. that tracks for the Super Eddie. And he will take it down with his pair. Ace-ace for Puerto. Liddell in the straddle here. Puerto raises. Liddell calls. Super Eddie's got the mystery hand. Did he make it? Did he 3-bet? Did he click it at him? He clicked it. Puerto calls. No. Sorry. He jams? Oh my God, bro. Oh my God. Puerto raises. Liddell calls. Eddie jammed. I didn't see the all-in button. My camera was blocking it. I just saw the click back come out. Liddell folds. We have no idea what Super Eddie has. I think they say 2 times. Ace King for Super. Dude, something about this room, I swear to God. And this is an actual ultra cooler. This is an ultra cooler. Dude, I've seen Ace King versus aces in this room so many damn times. So many damn times. It's like actually wild. It's actually wild. And that's going to kill the game. I said it, exactly what I said. I was going to take an ultra cooler, man. What a day. What a day. What a hand to end it off on. Beautiful tip from Puerto. Incredible gameplay all around, man. Incredible gameplay all around. That was awesome, dude. I'm not going to keep y'all. Thank you so much to anyone who's here right now, whether you skipped through, whether you've been here. Love you all so much. Thank you all so much. We will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.